Panthers actually. That's Chirnside Park hosting Surrey Park here at Kimberley Reserve. And as always, we're streaming on the SEN app and Facebook and YouTube, which you can find on our socials. I'm Ryan Long, hosting the pre-game show today, and I'm joined by media manager Matt Fodia and Josh Ward. And Wardy, you're an ex-Surrey Park player, so how excited are you to be back with the team on a Saturday watching the Panthers play?
Pumped, very pumped, Ryan. It's great to be out here at Kimberley Reserve. Very nice ground as well. Never been out here before, so it's an exciting game. Great to see my Panthers once more, and yeah, can't wait to see how they go against a really good Chirnside Park side. Yeah,
it's a beautiful ground actually. We've been surprised by the weather today, much better than last week. And Matt, we haven't been out here for quite a while, but it's quite a bit of an underrated suburban area. We were talking about you've got the shopping centre just behind us, you've got the Sporting Globe, and then across the road from there you've even got the Precinct Bar, which I've been to a couple of times, which is nice. Do you like being back out here?
Oh, it's a bit of a homecoming. Lived over the road. No, the ground is looking incredible. Last time I saw it, it was caked in sand, so it's good to see grass as the predominant surface out here at Kimberley Reserve, and there's a bit going on with the facilities to our right. Obviously this is audio at the moment and Lee hasn't got the camera on him, but it looks like they're just getting a nice little upgrade out here at Kimberley Reserve. And it should be an interesting game. I don't know what kind of game we're going to see in terms of style of football, because to be honest, I haven't watched Surrey Park since what was it, July last year against Forest Hill in what was a pretty scrappy game. It wasn't really a great spectacle, and then I haven't seen Chirnside personally since. Jeez, I don't know. I honestly don't. Know how long. I think last time we've done a game, Chirnside game, would have been 2015 or something like that, when they played Fenchurch or something like that. So we haven't seen this new look Chirnside Parkside play. And obviously with live streaming, streaming of games, filming of games in Division 4 only really coming in this year, the only part I've seen at Chirnside is their win over Forest Hill last week. So I don't know what to expect, but it will be exciting, the Panther off, because the winner will probably put their first foot towards getting top 2 spot. I think this is a massive game for Chirnside Park, just for the belief and the momentum that they had. Obviously, we've talked about it a lot over the last few years, of just how draining that losing streak would have been over the course of multiple years. And to come back last year, I think it was just a lower division, just to be able to get a bit of confidence back in some of the lower sides that they were able to beat. And now this year is their chance to really cement themselves in that top 4. And they did it the perfect way last week against Forest Hill. Obviously, that is a massive win for their confidence. They didn't beat either Forest Hill or Surrey Park last week. Josh, do you think they're in the right spot for a chance at a potential premiership at the end of the year, or a potential grand final if they can get things right?
I think they are. I put them as a bit of a dark horse this year in the Division 4 preview, and yeah, they showed last week against Forest Hill. I also think it are definitely going to be up there come finals time, that they can definitely be a grand final side. Yeah, it was a very impressive victory against a bit of a different Forest Hill lineup, and a couple of their new recruits did really well as well, and a couple of the old suspects, Kieran Urquhart, Ben Slattery, Grant Stevens, Dan Bedome, who's still kicking after all these years. They all did pretty well, so they all did really well. So it was a really good game and a really good victory for Chirnside Park. Massive confidence booster, as you said, Ryan.
Yes, exactly. And joining us just shortly will be the Chirnside Park senior coach, Dave Newlands, and I think he's here right now. So, Dave, it's good to have you in the studio with us. Thanks for joining us and giving up your time.
No worries.
And just how exciting it's just to be able to be back at home at Chirnside Park. It's been a long time just to be back here, and the weather's all right for today's game. How exciting is it?
Yeah, no, it's good, mate. It's good to be back here and playing against a good side and see how we go. Good test today for us against Surrey Park. So supporters, everyone's up for it, and I think they're more excited. You guys are down here, which is great. So yeah, it's good.
And it was a great win last week in the wet, in the rain, and the conditions. We haven't, any side have not been able to really train in that sort since we've had such a warm summer. How good is it today? Is it a different sort of mentality when you come back to this is sort of the games that you're playing in the practice, the sort of conditions you're playing in your practice games? Do you handle that any differently in the pre-game leading up to it?
Yeah, well, probably, obviously last week was a lot of kick and take ground with the weather, so today you might take on a few of those 45s. It is pretty windy out there. I just walked through the middle and it's pretty blowy, so I think I think once we both settle down, you'll probably see us go to our game style, which will be trying to play attacking football most of the day.
You're one of the few clubs in the lower divisions with under-19s. And the junior club's pretty strong, so always had strong numbers, maybe not always in the A grade or Premier Division, but always had good, strong numbers. How bright's the future? I saw Matt King obviously got in the team of the week, selected by yours truly, so I had a bit of a role in that. But it was good to see, straight out of the under-19s and a strong performance in the ones. How bright's the future at Chirnside with the youth? Yeah,
it's very good. They've got a good youth program here. We train with the under-19s on a Thursday night and try to do a lot of work with them as well. So, we've got another kid playing on the wing today. He'll be debuting from the under-19. So, Matty King's obviously a product of a year and a half of a bit of in and out football, and he did make the right call last week. He dominated. He played really well. So, it's good. It's I think when they set the results and the turn-in, obviously, of last year, they want to commit and see that we're going in the right direction this year.
And you had a couple of new recruits as well, some who've come across from Moolbar, Croydon, who debuted last week as well. How impressed were you with them last week?
Yeah, good. They played really well. Bonus with those boys, they played a lot of football together previously, so it's something not too different to them. So, they did everything we needed them to. Unfortunately, Ozzy Sutherland hurt his knee in the last minute of the game last week, so he's not available this week. But it was good. It was good continuity. I was lucky enough to coach those guys at Moorbuck as well, so they sort of know what I'm about, and they fit in really well.
And just on that, with him out, he was such an important player last week, and he was in your best. Does that sort of change the structure up in the middle at all?
It does. We've quite blessed this year to have a bit of depth. So we actually had guys playing the twos last week that were constant ones players last year. So just gives them the opportunity, and I'm maintaining to the guys. It's about being a great teammate, and if you come in and you play your role, well, it's hard to get out of the side. So once you're in, you're in.
You've been in the role for just over a couple of years now, and obviously only played pretty much, 9 games, maybe 10. What's been the biggest challenge, obviously, outside of a pandemic and keeping guys half engaged in footy, but sort of on field, I guess, what's been the biggest challenge? Because it's obviously a well-known fact that the club had, they probably had 3 rough years, one with the pandemic and 2 where they couldn't get a win.
Yeah. I think it's just obviously last year helped with the belief. They're mates. I think that's the most important thing that's made it a lot easier is they're all mates, so they all get along with each other. And once they enjoy coming to training, being around each other, it was quite easy to keep going. But 2019 when I first got here, that was a pretty rough year, something I've never experienced before. But it also allowed us to look at players in different positions in a higher level and see how they go when we had to recruit and what we need to do. So, but the motivation levels, the boys are really good being mates, so made it easier.
And then Josh already sort of alluded to obviously getting recruits from Moorbuck, and you've spent time at Moorbuck, but it's a pretty tough area. Like, I'm sure Surrey Park will probably talk about the fact they're near Ball and Doncaster and the Maffett clubs, but you're in a pretty highly populated area with Moorbuck, Croydon and Lilydale, all in Division 1, and Lilydale have been in Premier Division before, all the top flight. And then you've also now got Croydon North that have popped on the doorstep. Not probably quite as much direct competition, but they'll get there. How do you think the club manages it, and what's a key focus to make sure that, some of those guys don't try to wander up the highway?
I think it's about giving them opportunities. A lot of players will leave clubs for opportunity to play higher football. Obviously play at 2 o'clock run in the reserves level. So about being given an opportunity, also make their time here enjoyable, make them want to be able to be a better player here, but also see what we're trying to do. With doing that, we seem to be able to hold a lot of players, and to be honest, they're one set of mates that have come through high school together as well, so it's made it probably easier in that aspect as well. But to recruit players here, I think when the results started to turn, we started to turn, and obviously people started ringing us, which was great. So, yeah.
And just on the last time you played, I know it's hard since it's so long ago, and obviously both sides have had different changes, lost players, brought players in. You only lost by probably a couple of goals. Thinking back in the game, was there any sort of key area that they beat you in that was the difference in the end, or was it just couldn't run out the game to beat them?
They jumped us really heavily at the start, so I think after half time we really got back on to our terms, and we're actually coming home really quick. It was more they just got the really good start on us and spread very well at the first quarter, and that's where I think I was one in that first quarter. They really just put us to the sword and got away from us where we just couldn't get back.
Yeah. And there's been also a bit of focus on, obviously last season, Daniel Bedome's just such a dominant figure up forward. And again, he kicked 3 last week. But just looking at the stats from last week, you were able to find some other goal kickers. I think King may have kicked a couple as well. And a few others were able to hit the scoreboard. How important is that to be able to find other options and give Daniel a bit of handout when you do play a side like Surrey Park who have got a pretty strong defence?
Yeah, it's for me it's really important because I think you never want to rely on one player because obviously with this COVID years as well, he might miss 7 days in a row being not being able to play. So you've got to be able to have other options. So we pride ourselves on being able to not only get our midfield, we've got an expectation on what they should be doing, but also our forwards as well. But bonus with Daniel is Daniel's about the team, so he'd be happy not to kick a goal as long as we keep winning. So that's his philosophy, and he's the forwards coach, so he sets it up how he likes to run it, and yeah, does a great job, which is good.
And you've got a bit of depth in midfield now. You're not you've got players like Ben Slattery, who won the best and fairest last year, Austin Sutherland, Callum Harper running through now. And was that a key area in improving this off-season as well?
Yeah, definitely. I found last year, once we Ben and blokes like Josh Clavan and Robbie Johns as well, by the time they even need to rest and have a spell, Shane Hall's another included that. Our second midfield to come in probably wasn't as dominant, and that's where we got scored on heavily. So we've tried to counterbalance that by recruiting in those sort of players, and it held in as good stead last week against Forest Hill.
And then where do you think this group can take it on field? It's obviously, there's the context of 2 years ago or 2 seasons ago, the club starting a winless run. So we don't need to get too greedy too soon. But where do you think this group can take the club?
I think expectation for us is obviously we'd like to be a finals contender. We believe we're good enough to be a finals contender. And then once we're in there, obviously anything can happen from there. But the belief of the boys now is you can actually play good football against good sides and really compete. And then if you get the opportunity to play in a major finals, well, you should be able to do the job when you get there.
Oh, perfect. Well, thanks so much for giving up your time, Dave, and good luck for the rest of the game. And we're looking forward to it.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. That's Cheers. Dave Newlands, the Chirnside Park senior coach. Great chat with him, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the club goes today. We've also got David Jensen from the Surrey Park Football Club a bit later this afternoon. But before we get into that, might have a look at the ins and outs of today's game. As he just mentioned, Trent Russell is in this week, and along with Aaron Burt, who's a handy in for the club, and out is Stone and obviously Sutherland, the recruit from Moolbach with a bit of a knee injury. So that's a big loss, been important in the best for last week. And then with Surrey Park, in comes Jarrah Buru, who kicked 4 goals and was best on ground last week in the reserve. So that's his third senior game in the last couple of years. Riley Tempany's a big inclusion, and Hamish Birrell. And out is Higgins, which is a bit of a loss, and Durand and Gavin. So what do we make with those? Much of a difference?
The big in, I guess, across those 4 is or those that you mentioned is clearly Trent Russell to me. He's pretty experienced. He played most recently at Yarra Glen for 3 or 4 seasons, but he has played some football with East Ringwood and Mooroolbark in his younger days. So that's a good standard of football. You know, a lot of people would look at Yarra Glen and think, oh, it's pretty much a straight swap. It may be stepping up a level or stepping down a level, so on. But he has played East Ringwood and Mooroolbark. So for them, that's a big one. And Bert's been a fairly regular name for Chirnside over this sort of tough periods. And as Dave mentioned, it's about trying to make sure they're not reliant on just 3 or 4 guys. It was interesting that Daniel Bedome's the forwards coach, so obviously he might be setting it up to benefit him as much as he doesn't mind kicking 0 goals in a win. But yeah, I think Russell will be key today because Surrey Park, Josh, are pretty potent when they get their forward line right. So to have an experienced defender down there who can use the footy will be very key.
It is a very potent forward. It is definitely a very potent forward line. You know, you've got Aburu coming in, a massive 4 goals on the weekend. That's pretty handy inclusion, and you've got multiple options down there as well. But one of the bigger losses for Surrey Park, Austin Sutherland is a bit of a loss, but Josh Durand, I thought he was one of the better players last week down back. You know, he and Kenworthy, they both intercepted and distributed really well, kick-started a couple of attacks. So I feel like that's a bit of a blow, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. He probably would have been the one to go to Bedome because he's the number 1 defender, and it now makes me wonder who can go onto Bedome and if they can shut him down.
That's probably been the big difference this off-season, that obviously we haven't really mentioned, Josh, just how many players Surrey Park have lost over the off-season. They have brought in a couple of very handy recruits from Premier Division, which is both playing today, Fox and I've forgot the name off the top of my head, but
Kentworthy.
Yeah, so both experienced players, really handy players. They were both good last week, but they've lost a lot to retirement. A few others as well who just aren't in the side at the moment. Some of the names I've got here: Jordan Winter, Dempetrio, Pollock last year. Some of these I think might still be on the list. They're just not in the side today. And he kicked 28.
Snibson.
Yep.
Snibson. Pritchard's left as well.
Blackburn.
Yeah, there are a couple of big losses, and Matt Pollock. I think he's still down at Surrey, but I think he might not be. He's not feeling the greatest at the moment, from what I heard. But yeah, they've lost players like Snibson, Darcy Griffiths, Blackburn, Logan De Shepper as well. I was impressed with him last year in ruck, and James Pritchard. So when I spoke with David Jensen in the off season, he said it was going to be a different looking Surrey Park senior side and senior and reserve side, and yeah, it is a fairly different looking side, but yeah, it's still pretty impressive, and they've got a couple of good players returning. You know, Patrick Hatch played with them in their first final back in 2019 in over a decade, and Damien Smart, he's back as well. He was named best Surrey Park's best, so he's a massive inclusion from what I've heard as well. He killed it in the pre-season as well, and Kenworthy and Fox, they're two massive inclusions. Kenworthy, I thought he was best on ground. I watched the replay, and he just added so much composure down back, and Fox, he provides that X factor down forward and through midfield as well. So they've replaced those players pretty well, and it's going to be a real test for them. And this new side this week though out here.
Yeah, and Matt, you said I think in the pre-season that this was grand final or bust for them. Is that still your thought, even with the losses that they have and the people they brought in? Are they still the side to beat
for Surrey Park? I'm maybe starting to swing more towards Sylvan, although I still think Sylvan are top heavy in terms of a lot of their pickups are forward half players, and I think that's something that, and it'll be interesting to see how Coldstream go today in Division 3 in their first game against Warrandyte, in that both, they obviously had a lot of forward half players in their super side last year, and I think Sylvan will rack up some bigger scores than Surrey Park by the looks of it. Surrey Park are a bit more even across the ground. Like you said, you look at their team, there's no real standout player anymore. I think when we came last year, there was a couple of names that sort of jumped off the page at you. Looking at that one, there's a couple of familiar names, but none where you go, this guy's going to win the league medal or something like that, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a challenger. I still think they've got to make at least the grand final. We saw Forest Hill look like they're maybe not as good as everyone expected. I know they got a lot of recruits from Yea, but Yea weren't exactly pulling down trees in the outer east. So, they're good players, but they're not used to winning games. And then you look at Chirnside, and Dave obviously mentioned, if they make finals, they want to win it, but it's not priority number one for them either. For Chirnside Park, this is a part of a process for them. And then, so I still think Surrey Park should be aiming for top two, and maybe they can tempt some of those blokes that said they want to have the year off footy. If at the halfway point they're 6-1, you might be able to get on the blower and try to get a few guys down to training and bolster their stocks. But yeah, it's an interesting situation for both clubs, because Surrey Park need to strike while the iron's hot, and the iron is hot at the moment, whereas Chirnside are just heating theirs up.
And it's massive that they've got such a strong under-19s, and they were in the Premier Division last year. So I think they're the club that if they can get into a Division 3, they can hold their place there with the players coming up.
I don't know, the under-19s, have they got any this year, Josh?
They don't.
They don't. That's a bit of a worry after having them in Premier Division. You could put that down. A lot of clubs have struggled to get 19s up this year because it's technically 19.5, so there might be a gap between your 17s or what do they play in Yarra Juniors? They play 17s or 18s?
17s.
Yeah, so there's still a bit of a jump. So hopefully we see a return to more clubs having under-19s next year. But yeah, that's a bit of a worry to Surrey Park, because that was one of their strengths when looking at this prediction from my point of view, was the fact that they had youth coming through, and if they got up, they would have sustainability. So it'll be interesting to see how they go.
And there's a few sides that are obviously in that boat, but we're about to take a break now in just a minute. So we'll have David Jensen, the coach of the Surrey Park Football Club, a bit later this afternoon. We'll also be going over a few of the games this weekend, massive weekend preview. It's the last week before the Easter weekend break, so a lot to get to. But yeah, so there's plenty to look forward to. And you're listening to the E&L Eastland Match of the Round. I'm Ryan Long, Matt Fodiat, Josh Ward. We're at Kimberley Reserve, streaming on SEN.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your foot.
Back to Kimberley Reserve, this week's EFNL Eastland match of the round, Chirnside Park and Surrey Park. It's a battle of the Panthers in Division 4, both sides 1-0, so looking forward to today's game. But as we've said, there's a big weekend of footy for the EFNL. We've got one weekend before the Easter break, so plenty to jump back into, and it's headlined by the return of Premier Division. Obviously, they had the week off last week, and one game that I really want to look at here is Doncaster East versus Vermont. It's where half our media team is at the moment. BWS and Brashanshaw are joining the game. But
I reckon one of them will be enjoying something else. But
yeah. Well, on that person, he did make a big promise in the season preview about Doncaster East, about this game, and I don't have the audio for it right now, but I've actually got the transcript of what he said here.
The transcript? We are pulling out the big guns today. The transcript. This has got to be a pre-game first. I've got Lee over my shoulder. This has to be a pre-game first, Lee. We've never had a transcript before. We've transcribed one interview ever, but I don't. Go on, Ryan. I like it.
It's throwing him under the bus if they lose, but he said, biggest game the club has ever played. They'll beat Vermont round 1. Going to call it right here, right now. So
he's not the only person who's told me that. He's not the only
right?
person. I think they're a huge chance, but it's as I said on the weekend forecast. So if you haven't listened to that yet, you've got an hour before the first bounce here, so you might be able to squeeze some of it in. But I did say on it, Josh, that until Vermont start to show they've really slid, I'm not tipping sides like Doncaster East to beat them, even though I do have Vermont 4th, so I don't have them winning it. But I think until otherwise shown, you have to back Vermont in. They got so many brownie points, but it's Doncaster East's home record compared to their away record last season was much better. They ran a lot of good sides very close at home, and from all reports, they've improved again with their recruits. But like I said, Vermont's depth was always the thing that got them over the line. And I know they've lost a lot of players, but their depth has always been their strength. So it's going to be it'll be one to keep an eye on. And I'm sure if Doncaster East do... Sorry, just swallowed a bit of water. If Doncaster East do get up, we'll have the phones will be running hot in the media event.
We'll be hearing a lot about it from BWS for the next week, I reckon, or maybe even for the entire season if Doncaster East.
Well, he's usually under a rock until Saturday, but if Doncaster East beat Vermont, he'll be coming in the office every day. If he's signing up, volunteering. No, it'll be exciting. We've got obviously those two out there, and Brash will be tweeting, and BWS will be no doubt somewhere.
And they're a much better side than the 2-7 that they were last year.
Yeah, a lot of coaches
should have won a lot more. So, and a lot of Josh, you've spoken to a few coaches during the off season as well, and they've said, I'm sure that Doncaster East are a much better side that they're concerned about this year. But just on Vermont, no Wale Buxton. Obviously, he's gone to the Northern League.
Yeah.
So. That's a big figure because we watched him a couple times last year, and that game against Blackburn was just that dominant in the ruck there. So, where around the ground do you think they can beat Doncaster East? Because as you said, Doncaster East have brought a lot to the club over this off season.
They have. I think maybe through midfield they can beat them because they've still got such good depth. You know, Matt Arnott is making his debut today for Vermont out there, and you've still got players like Robert Ross running the ruck and Lockie Johns. We all know how great a player he is. But the thing is, Doncaster East's midfield is possibly their strength because you've got Zach Clark in ruck, Chris Phelan and Josh DeLuca at his feet as well. The Subiaco Waffle Premiership 2018 trio who just killed it that year, and I think if they are to win, it'd probably be midfield, but it's going to be a real test. And I said it in the weekend forecast. I think they can win. I think they can pull off a surprise because it's out on their home deck. And yeah, this is a different Vermont side. They slightly struggled at the start of the year. They lost against, they only just lost against Bourne in their first round last year, and it could be a similar story. But yeah, it is a very interesting clash. But yeah, I think Doncaster East can pull off a bit of a surprise.
And as Matt mentioned, you guys were on the weekend forecast yesterday, so you can find that on Spotify if you've missed that. So you've done your tips there as well, but just quickly, Matt, I'm assuming you've gone Vermont?
I'm going to go Vermont, like I said. Until they show me otherwise, you have to tip them to beat these sides, but I do think Doncaster East are that team to take the 6th spot and will take advantage of the top 6 in Premier Division.
And Josh, are you the same, or are you going Doncaster East today?
Yeah, I'm going to go Doncaster East.
All right, and I will probably, with you, Matt, just on Vermont, just probably the reliance on them, they're too reliable. They get over the line. But another big day for a club is Park Orchard. So it's a big congratulations to everyone involved. Their first game in Premier Division. It's their debut in there. And they had obviously a really strong season last year in Division 1. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see them in a final series, but they play a very fast attacking style of football. Matt, what's the jump like from a Division 1 to a Premier Division? And Park Orchards, from what we do know about them, do they have enough to sustain?
I think they'll stay up. I think you look at Doncaster East, I guess the year off sort of slowed that up, and a lot of sides did say they were, the best bottom side we've had in years, but they were bottom after winning back-to-back flags. So I think that just shows how big the step up is. There's plenty of divisions where you could argue where is the biggest step up. I think the smallest one is definitely Div 2 to Div 1, and like those middle 3 divisions, like Div 3 to Div 2, Div 2 to Div 1. I think the top echelon of Div 3 would easily beat the bottom echelon of Div 2, and then vice versa with Div 1. I think your Ringwood, your Heath Monster Base, and South Belgrave, all 4 of them could go up, and I don't think they'd be outclassed at all by most of the clubs in Division 1. So I think it's the two ends of the spectrum, from Div 4 to Div 3, and this one from Div 1 to Premier Division, where the biggest gap is. It's Park Orchard. It's all about, I guess, it's a nice soft opening for them, if you know what I mean. That Doncaster East last year, with all that momentum, played, unfortunately for them, Blackburn. who coming into
Really
it,
strong side.
where people, people had them as one of the teams to beat in the division. It didn't end up that way, but a good side. Park Orchard's a bit more of a soft opening, playing against a North Ringwood outfit that leaked goals last year. So I think we'll see in a high scoring game. I think I lent towards Park Orchards. I can't remember.
I think you did, actually.
I think I lent towards Park Orchards just because they were playing at home.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a high scoring one. It'll be very exciting to watch over feeling there'll be plenty of goals. But yeah, I think they'll be fine. You got the percentage is a key indicator. They had a higher percentage last year, so they were clearly up to level. It's not like they just won a flag. We've seen in years gone by your Knoxes and so on. I think Knox 2017 off the top of my head won a premiership, but they weren't absolutely blowing teams out of the water week in, week out. And we've seen that Wanturna South and Bayswater are other examples, and they come straight back down. So, yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see how they go. And they've got to beat those sides like Rowville, North Ringwood, Doncaster, Berwick. And luckily for them, they start with one of those rather than starting with a Vermont or a Baldwin.
And the side that they play, the Saints, the great Robbie Nahas, who spoke a lot about executing the fundamentals and fitness and being the issue last year, that they weren't able to run out games, and was part of the reason that they got blown out in a few of them. They add Jalore to the list. Josh, can they match the Saints? Can they match the Sharks' scoring power? Do you think this is going to be a one-sided?
I think they do have the firepower to potentially match Park Orchards, but yeah, it's just it'll be interesting to see if they can run it out. Like you said, Ryan, that was a massive problem for them because they were conceding such high scores in certain quarters or certain periods, but yeah, I think they do. It'll be exciting because they're gone pretty young as well. They've got a couple of debutants, including club debutants Jordan Trelaw and Aaron Ferrito, who, from all reports, is a highly rated midfielder from the outer east. So yeah, I think Trelaw helps them a lot. Schilling is a bit of a blow, although. Yes, he was their leading goal scorer. He scored most of his goals in the first couple of weeks before being moved down back. So, but yeah, I think they do have the firepower. But yeah, I'm just worried they won't have the legs to run it out. And yeah, they might concede yet another 100+ score this week.
So it looks like everyone on the Sharks there. Now, just quickly running through the other games this week in Premier Division. Berwick, South Croydon. Anyone confident enough to tip the Wickers?
No.
Norwood, Doncaster, everyone gone Norwood?
I think you have to. If Norwood, like I said, they want to start competing in that higher echelon. They want to jump from 5th and 6th to 2 and 3, and you can't lose to sides like Doncaster. I think they should honestly be 10 goals or bust. Yeah, I know that's harsh given we haven't seen anyone play yet, but Norwood should be beating side like Doncaster comfortably.
They did lose to them last year, though.
That's the thing, and that's where, like last year, they could have easily won the minor premiership, but they dropped games to Berwick and they dropped games to Doncaster, albeit coming out of mini lockdowns. But so were the opposition, so it shouldn't be an excuse.
And they're just games you can't afford to drop in a division like this. And next one, Rowville, Noble Park. Rowville obviously
big crowd apparently. We've got a man on the ground out there. Tyler Lewis, my co-host at Pace and Pens. Josh, he's out there covering Rowville and Noble, and he got there. He asked, "Where the hell is he?" He's never been to Rowville, never been to Seabeck Oval before. He's out there, but crowd packed in, absolutely packed in. Bumper day, Kyle Martin's 150th. It's a big day for Noble and Rowville, but I think Noble will win it, and I think by a margin.
Yeah, and I think that depends on quite heavily on what sort of VFL players Rowville will have, Josh.
Yeah.
But as we said, Noble Park very defensively dominant. I'm assuming you going the same way.
Yeah, and they've had some potency up forward as well, and again through midfield, Chris Horton-Milne and Shane Allen making his return, and Horton-Milne, I think he's making his return to Noble Park as well. So, two very handy inclusions, and yeah, I think they'll be too strong for Rowville. I know they've got Lockie Wynd playing as well, Anthony Brolick, who's come back full time. That's a handy inclusion in midfield, but I think Noble Park are just too strong all across the board, and yeah, they'll get the win.
And the last one we'll leave for now, which is playing next Friday night, Blackburn versus Baldwin.
Friday night? We're not going that late, are we? It's not a night game, is it?
It's a night game, isn't it? Blackburn Baldwin.
No, surely not. I thought it was just a 2:20 one.
I thought it was just a 2:20.
On a Friday? Oh, it's Good Friday, isn't it?
It's Good Friday, 2:20. 2:20. They are playing a night game against Park Orchards, I think, the first week of May. So,
there you go.
So wires crossed, but yeah, that'll be an interesting one. Yeah, like you said, we'll talk about that one next week. What about Division 1, Ryan? Division 1 and 2, we better keep flying through.
Keep going through. One to look at is Wanturna South versus Montrose. Obviously, Wanturna South, a big win last week against Beaconsfield, who a side that you've both rated quite highly. In the second half, they had 13 scoring shots to 3.
You're pretty happy with yourself, aren't you? After putting them ninth, aren't you?
Well, I've been copying it for all my other predictions, so I've got to have something. Have we underrated them? And is this sort of a perfect time for them with the list they've brought, the people that they brought in the last couple of years? Is this a perfect time to make a run at finals?
Have we underrated Wanturna South?
Wanturna South, yes.
I think maybe not underrated. I think we've forgotten about them to an extent because we did all the talking about them this time last year because they'd done all that recruiting, and then we jumped on their bandwagon a little bit, and then they disappointed us, and then we've sort of, and as is the nature of the modern day, that we just sort of, oh well, you're done. There's no second chances, and now having a look at it, that win, I still think in weeks to come that win will become more and more impressive as Beaconsfield warm to the competition. They had so many more scoring shots. Lincoln Wong kicked a couple of goals, which was probably the only thing missing from his game last year. This is a big one. They beat Montrose, and you've got to start thinking Wanty South are the real deal because everyone has talked up Montrose's performance last week. So, yeah, have we underrated them? Yes, but I think only because we've sort of forgotten about them.
And they've also got Upper Gully, Mitcham, and Bayswater. 3 of the next 4 games.
Well, they win today. They should
2-0. They could go 5-1.
Well, 5-0 really.
5-0.
The only danger game out of those is Mitcham, and if Mitcham lose today, they might be battered and bruised.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
And Josh, can Montrose really take much out of that loss? Obviously, it's to East Ringwood, who we all rated very highly. It's a typical East Ringwood game, very low scoring, defensive. Do they take much out of that?
They do. I reckon they take a lot out of that game because I think what I heard, it was only that first quarter, and saw that it was only that first quarter that they ran away, did East Ringwood. But yeah, Montrose, they kept up to them really well. Mind you, that was on their home patch and out at Montrose. But yeah, this is I again said it on the weekend forecast. This is a danger game for Montrose because Wanturna South, a lot of confidence after that impressive win against a side that has been really highly rated by a couple. I've put them in the middle of the table, but I still hold them in a bit of high regard. But it's. This is a real danger game for them, but I think they've got enough class that I think that they can get the win out here at Walker Reserve. And the thing is as well, what helps them is that Walker Reserve is pretty much similar to Montrose Reserve, so they'll be able to play a game style similar to what they played on the pre-season or practice in pre-season. So I think they can get the win.
And just skimming through the other games in Division 1, Lilydale, very impressive last week in the loss against Croydon, very inaccurate in the end. They play Upper Gully. Anyone think Upper Gully can win this?
I think they can. I think it would be very... Lilydale are a young side, so they will fluctuate. And Bo Mitchener, he's on their graphic as an extended bench, but on the official one is out. So if he's out, that's a massive loss. But yeah, it would be more catastrophic for Lilydale to lose than Upper Gully. But yeah, so maybe, but Lilydale have to go in as favourites.
And Josh, East Ringwood, Mitcham as well. East Ringwood started well last week. The Tigers, they were pretty close against Mooroolbark until that last quarter. Can you see them pulling off an upset at all?
I don't. It's hard to see them pulling off an upset. East Ringwood, they're just such a strong side and all across the park. And Mitcham, they've got some good players across the board. I think they can potentially push them, but I think it'll be a comfortable win. And it's out at East Ringwood Reserve as well, which is very hard to play at.
And you also got Bayswater Croydon today as well. I think everyone would have tipped Croydon there, and then Mooroolbark Beaconsfield.
The Bayswater one is one to watch.
They did play well last week.
Yeah. Croydon have a lot of players out. They struggled against it. They got lucky to beat the Lilydale side. Yes, they had players out, but they still struggled to be a side that only won 2 games last year or 3 games. And Bayswater were pretty impressive, albeit against Upper Gully. It's a danger game, and it's at Bayswater. So I think you tip Croydon, but you just keep an eye on Bayswater.
Keep an eye on it. And Mooroolbark versus Beaconsfield as well. So that's Mooroolbark's 1,000th game, if I'm right.
Yeah, it is their 1,000th AFL game.
Congratulations to the club there, the Mustangs. Beaconsfield, obviously, they're a bit disappointing at home. How do you see him going against a full-strength Mooroolbark?
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one. I think Beaconsfield, the big ground means that when sometimes sides go to Mooroolbark and get lost. I don't think that'll happen to Beaconsfield, but Mooroolbark, look, I can happily tip Mooroolbark and not be going against my Beaconsfield prediction because I had Mooroolbark higher. So which is a handy one for me. Mooroolbark's side, their depth is a big area that they worked on. When we watched them last year, you wanted 2 mullets. Now they don't need mullet at all. Really, he had from from all reports, I think the Premier Data stats had him having high 20s, but from all reports it was a little bit less than that, and that's just the nature of stats when you're working off post-game footage and so on, not being there live. So I think Murubak's depth is going to be too good, but Beaconsfield are the sort of side. This will be more interesting if they can be within 4 goals today. That'll be a good sign for them going forward that they're in the right division and will be in the mix. If they lose this one by about 10 goals, then we start to have to recalibrate what we think of them.
Yeah, so good luck to Murubak in their 1,000th game. And that's it for Division 1, and we're going to a break. After the break, we'll have David Jensen, Surrey Park coach.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Yes, welcome back to Kimberley Reserve, the EFL Eastland match of the round, Division 4 clash, the Battle of the Panthers. It's Chirnside Park and Surrey Park, and we did have Dave Newlands, the Chirnside Park coach, earlier this afternoon, and we've just been joined by David Jensen, Surrey Park senior coach. David, thanks for giving up your time. How excited are you just to be back at the footy? It's a warm day. Yesterday, last week was a bit harder with the conditions. Better day today.
Yeah, it should be good for footy. Nice seeing day too with the cloud cover, so it should be good to watch. Not squinting at it today. It'd be nice.
And how exciting! Last year you've had a lot over the off season that you've lost a few players to retirement. A few still not out here just with injury and that. It's given you opportunity to play some of the younger kids as well. Is that so? Do you look at that as a positive in the way that you've got such a obviously your reserves have been such a strong side to be able to get some more players into the senior side?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got probably half the senior side's a different side from last time that we were out here, definitely. So it's always good for the young kids. The under-19s team didn't get up this year. Unfortunately, we didn't get quite a lot of numbers, but the majority of them have stayed with the senior club. So there's quite a few of them running out here in the twos as well. There's 3 of them in the senior side, so our future looks pretty bright. We're happy.
And yeah, you mentioned 3 playing in the senior side: Lockie Peters, Tom Smith, and Renan Falahi, who did make their debuts as well last week. How impressed were you with how well they fitted into the side?
Yeah, they're trying really well. They've had a good pre-season. They've got a bit to learn still in regards to playing roles within the side. So, but they're still in the side. So they're very good footballers, and the other stuff will come. So we believe in them, and they will be joined in the next few rounds by some of these boys out here as well, and away we go from there. So no, we're happy with their progress.
Did Kilsyth? Last week, I don't think many of us expected them to win, and they didn't win, but they would have impressed you with the way they come out. That's with all the attention on Croydon North and Nunawading, were you really surprised and impressed by the way Kilsyth went about it last week?
I know they didn't recruit a lot, but they didn't lose many. But the players they did recruit are good footballers.
Yep.
And they're hard bodies. They're much bigger than us, and the conditions suited as well. They've got I didn't see them at all last year, so I really didn't have an opinion. But I was impressed with their brand of football, and they utilised the conditions, and it took us a good half to adjust to the way they played, and then we skipped away in the last half. It was a good hit out.
And you bring in Aburu this week, who had 4 goals and was probably best on in the reserves last week.
Yep.
What's the sort of thing that we can expect from him? He played a couple of games last year in the senior side. What can we expect?
He was almost in the senior side in round 1. He's very athletic. He's got a big leap on him. His upside, if we can get more of his upside, he's going to be a very, very exciting player to watch. So if we can get him playing more consistent with that, you'll see that athleticism, jumping on blokes' shoulders, and he's very, very quick. He's athletic, so it'd be good. We're excited to see him.
And a couple of your other recruits as well, James Kenworthy, Parker Fox, coming down from Premier Division. They looked like they settled into the lineup well last week. Were you impressed with them?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got footy IQ. They bring that to the group. We all learn together from that as well. They've been instrumental at training with new ideas and all that type of stuff as well. So we give them a long leash in regards to putting forward the things that they know. So that helps with our whole group development. So they've been brilliant.
In terms of under-19s, we spoke with Dave. Obviously, they've got under-19s. You guys have got a bit of a gap in sort of the cycle. Are you confident that next year the under-19s will return? Because that was probably a big selling point for your club, the fact that you had those strong under-19s that have filtered through into the senior side.
Yeah, most of our senior side today are ex-Surrey junior players.
Yep.
We've had... And it's been hard work by people on the committee and the junior club and building that link, because obviously our junior program has been really strong for a very long time, and a lot of your premier clubs and they know of our kids, and they do get pinched, the better ones. So that gap, I'm hoping it doesn't hurt us, but they're playing under-18s football,
yep.
So hopefully we get them, the majority of them, in the under-19s next year.
And then in terms of that, you spoke about obviously getting pinched. Is there a little bit of a sense that the clubs, now is there sort of their time your time to strike? When, obviously Coldstream going up opens the division up, and you do have a lot going for you in that regard with, some good juniors coming through and a pretty young side.
Yeah, obviously going through the divisions will make it a little bit easier to encourage these kids to play that little bit better brand of football. But the signs are good. As I said before, the most of the senior side is ex-Surrey junior players, so we're wrapped with that.
And how important is it to, obviously the reserve side, how dominant they've been over the last few years, how important is that to have that at the club, knowing that if you do struck a few injuries during the season, you've got plenty of replacements that can come in?
Yeah, well, we've probably got about 8 out at the moment. So the guys that are playing in, there's a few of them that would probably normally be here. We've been hit with a little bit of COVID this week as well. So yeah, you're going to see that depth tested today.
Yep,
definitely.
And just on, obviously the last 2 years have been so hard for everyone. How have you been able to keep them motivated, just the boys in general, just to be able to keep them? Because a lot of people we've spoken to at different clubs have just people have walked away from football because of the break. They haven't been able to stay back. Have you been able to the boys that have stayed, how have you been able to keep them there and keep them motivated after what we've been through?
Yeah, it was trial and error. It was initially really reaching out a lot as much as we could. We had a Facebook group going, and then that people sort of fizzled out a little bit. And then when we started pre-season, we only had 10 on the track, and up until Christmas we were thinking of just going to one night a week, and so we went from being a lot of communication to less communication, but we kept to our guns, and we just basically let the players deal with things how they needed to in their own minds. We knew that they were going to play football, but they were just going to come back when they were ready.
And just one final one, just on Chirnside Park. You were able to play them last year. I know it's a lot. It's hard to go back to. Obviously, things have changed. Lists have changed. Did you learn much about them that you take into today's game with that?
Yeah, they're a very physical side. They like to move the footy around by foot on the short 45s, and they've got some good midfielders. Their forward line's good, so they're a pretty well balanced side. So they're going to be very, very good opposition today.
Thanks for your time, David. I really appreciate you coming into the studio, and best of luck for the game today.
Thank you, boys. Thanks for having me.
That's the senior coach of the Surrey Park Football Club, David Jensen, and it should be a good game between the two sides, both 1-0 coming into today's game. Both sides are potential finals opponents. Boys, what do we think? Do we like what we're hearing there? They've got a strong junior program that they have had plenty of players, but they do get a few pinched from other clubs. Josh
is trying to claim he's part of that strong junior program.
Well,
I'm not going to allow that. I think Dave kept his cards close to his chest. If you compared that chat with the Dave Newlands chat, Dave was a bit more open. I would say Newlands, that is. They've just called him Dave. I realise I both Dave. I think Dave Newlands is slightly more open and maybe a bit more excited. Whereas I think Surrey Park, you can tell that they're just a tiny bit worried that they might not be living up to expectations. That's what I gathered from that.
Yep.
That they're mentioning, obviously, they've got a few out, which is understandable, but also the fact that already mentioned a few guys' motivation and so on, that maybe they're just trying to temper expectations ahead of what is a big year for the club, because they probably need, as we've mentioned numerous times, they need to start moving up the divisions.
And on that junior program, yeah, I was a part of it. I'll keep on saying that every time you bring it up, Matt. But yeah, it's a terrific junior program. I can understand where David's coming from, because all these players they've played. Some of these players they've played up in the higher divisions in the YJFL, which is a pretty competitive competition too, or junior competition. And I can understand his excitement about some of these juniors, and they've also got that experience in Premier Division under-19s as well. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how some of the juniors coming straight up from the senior lineup go. But yeah, it's. I still think that the junior program will be strong for years to come.
And it's still an exciting list. And Josh, you watched them last week on the replay, and I thought players like Kennedy, who played his 150th last week, so congrats to him. Then you had players like Gale, some of these midfielders that were able to hit the scoreboard, and they did really well to be able to that forward pressure, to force turnovers in their forward half, I thought, and just to be able to score from that sort of opportunities.
That was their key factor in them winning. They created pressure up forward. Their midfielders have got a really good midfield as well. Ryan Kennedy's in there. Daniel Smart, who I said before, he's a terrific player coming back into the lineup. It's got a bit of depth too. Forwards like Oliver Anderson, Mitch Molnar, they can run through there. Parker Fox as well. I reckon he can be a really good midfielder as well, half forward midfielder, that sort of hybrid player. And you've also got Mitch Gale coming through there as well. So that's a real strength. And yeah, I was impressed with them. They were made to work hard, as Dave said. Conditions I did feel like suited Kilsyth, but I was really impressed with players like James Kenworthy as well. He brought so much composure down back, marshalled the troops really well. Josh Durant, who's not playing, I thought he did really well. Smart and Kennedy, I was really impressed by those players. So they're going to be key players today.
I think Surrey Park is still obviously a very strong side. So I think that's quite encouraging signs that you see a Kilsyth who have probably struggled over the last few years, just to see them be quite competitive. And really it was only, I think, maybe a quarter and a bit that they were down on the scoreboard. I mean, obviously they were behind all the time, but otherwise it was a pretty even game. I think in second half, maybe Surrey Park opened it up a little bit. So that's always interesting to see. Matt, just to quickly switch it to Chirnside Park. Obviously, Sutherland's not there in the middle, and he was an important player last week. He's come across from Millbark. Do they still? What's their depth like in the midfield when you compare it to a Surrey Park?
But it'll be further tested today now when we've just found out via the man himself that Josh Clevant is out with COVID, which is disappointing because he had a bit of a breakout game. He had a good season in 2021, but last week with Slattery not in the best players, it looked like Clevant really led the way, kicked a couple of goals, and he was a talented junior. Had a lot of success as a junior with both Mooroolbark originally, then East Ringwood for a couple of years when they had a super side in the under-16s and so on, and has played senior football at Mooroolbark. So I was excited to see how he was going at Division 4 level. So it's disappointing he's out, but they've brought in Jet Carter, who from all reports is both Jet by name and by nature, so which is exciting for them. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting because they've talked, obviously, with so many recruits. I think their midfield depth will be fine. And I think it's a day like today, we're going to see, I think the last quarter will get pretty open. As much as guys have done a big pre-season, the conditioning and have played in these hot conditions, when it's a proper match intensity in warm conditions, it could get a bit, tired and dangerous near the back end of the game. So the depth will definitely be tested. But by the sounds of it, by using the 45s, a lot of their scores may come from that back half, if you know what I mean. So David Jensen's already alerted that Chirnside like using the 45, and Dave Newland's mentioned that they want to bite them off. So it'll be interesting to watch how early they bite them off. Do they bite them off when they're on centre wing towards centre half forward, or do they do it when they're on that back flank and access the cricket pitch sort of centre circles area? That'll be interesting. I think with this size of this ground, it's actually sort of surprising. It's smaller than you think. It looks quite big, but you really are only 2.5 kicks from goal. So if they can get to the centre circles, that's where Badome comes into it, because as much as he's older and he might beat you on the lead, he's still a bloody strong ox. So kick it to his side, kick it to his favour, and he'll beat a lot of guys one-on-one. So I'm interested to see how they go bringing the ball forward. Obviously, we're going to be doing it a little bit more of this after the break, so I'm not going to give my tip yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be an intriguing game.
I do too, and as you said, you talked about Badome last week against their win against Forest Park. I think Forest Park had...
Forest Hill.
Forest Hill. Too many parks in here, but they gave them a lot of space to lead into, and I don't think that's something they're going to have to avoid today. But as we said, we're going to a break just now. We'll be back after the break. We're not too far away from the first bounce. You're listening to SEN, the EFNL Eastland Match of the Round.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live with.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Kimberley Reserve today, Division 4 clash between Chirnside Park and Surrey Park. We're right now watching the Reserves game, Matt. Chirnside Park 6-7-43 to Surrey Park 5-9-39, which is quite impressive considering Surrey Park's recent record in the Reserves.
Yeah, absolutely. And we welcome our listeners on Eastern FM as well, who've just joined us for the simulcast at 2 o'clock. I've just got the AFLW Grand Final in front of me as well, Ryan. It looks like number 16 for Melbourne's going off in absolute agony, clutching. It looks like it might be a wrist or a shoulder injury there. The Crows by 9 points. Look good for the win there, the Crows. Another flag for them. Unfortunately, yeah, they're hogging them. But this one of those Adelaide sides has got, South Australian sides has got to go well. The men are letting them down. So
yes, exactly.
Well, I'll keep you updated if it gets close there. Yeah, Kimberley Reserve, it's looking a picture, isn't it, compared to last week when we stood in, at the bottom of the mountain as it was meant to clear at Batterham last week about 12 o'clock, I was told.
Never did.
It cleared at about 9 p.m. So we're in the comfort of the van, even though we wouldn't need it. It's a balmy day. I know Bruce, the audio technician, of course, he wanted his shirt off, get a bit of a tan going, but unfortunately they want to keep the crowds coming in. So it should be an exciting game, should be a close one, I think, and if the reserves are anything to go off. But there's also Premier Division returns, Coldstream playing their first game in Division 3, Division 2's heating up as well already in just the first 2 rounds. So it's a big weekend.
It is plenty to look forward to, and as we said before, if you'd missed out, we've just gone through Premier Division, Division 1. We might have a quick look at Division 2 here. One of the big games that we want to have a look at here is Heathmont and the Basin. And we were there last week at Batterham, as Matt just said, in really poor conditions, and the Bears lost one that they really should have won in the end. There was 4 points that goes begging. They were in front for pretty much most of the... Ringwood were probably in front, but they controlled the majority of the game, and then were 3 goals up with 5 minutes to go, and lost it from pretty much nowhere. Matt, do they take much from that loss? I think they almost take more of that than Ringwood would.
Yeah, I think the Basin were more impressive despite losing, if you know what I mean, like in terms of going forward. Yeah, like you said, it was one of those weird ones where the whole time the whole commentary team. Sorry, I'm about to burp, so excuse the silence. I did mute it. Apologies for that. I think the whole commentary team just kept saying, the way we were talking, Basin were up by 3 goals, and we were sort of trying to make reasons for why Ringwood were in the contest. But then you check the scoreboard, and Ringwood were either in front or only half a goal down. And then, obviously that last 10 minutes was just pandemonium. And wrote about it this week that it just looked like the Basin's youth showed up there. And that is the one downside of having a youthful core, is that sometimes they can all lose their heads, and there wasn't anyone out there trying to calm it down. It got to the point where all they had to do was just not make any glaring mistakes, and they would have won. And then they went on to give away a free kick in the forward pocket out of nothing. Their bench gave away a reversal, and they gave away a 50-metre penalty. So they did exactly what they didn't need to do, and Ringwood had the composure to finish it off. But I think as the season goes on, and on a day like today, the Basin will be proven to be a real contender, and I think Ringwood will have one of those years where their experience wins them games, but they're not going to be the same unit they have been.
And the upside of that for the Basin is it's round 1. You'd much rather this happen now than in a finals game against Ringwood, which, again, they could meet, and they've had a couple of close ones over the last 2 years. So I think they're going to be fine.
I think they'll cross bars in finals, I think, in my head. I think at some point. I think it'll be one of those final series where Ringwood are the side that no one will want to play, despite finishing maybe in the lower regions of the 5. I think Hawthorn 2016, even, last year when everyone was talking about Richmond, if they snuck into the 8, no one wanted to play them. There's that little bit of, I think everyone's starting to maybe say this is the end of the cycle, but has the old dog still got one good hit in it left? So, it'll be interesting to see how those two clubs fare against each other, because Justin Stanton did mention that they're a bit of a bogey side, Ringwood. They have beaten them, but every time it gets close, they seem to wobble.
And it is a top 5 this year, is that correct?
Top 5.
So that's a good chance for them to make it. And same with Heathmont, who they're playing today. And obviously, an 0-2 start mean little. After last year, they were 0-2. But with Ringwood to come up next, it's a big one for Heathmont at home to try and get a win here. And especially after last time they met, Basin kept them quite. I think they kept them to about 5 goals in a really low-scoring game.
I think Heathmont last year had a really tough opening month, and they've got it again. So I think last year they started with the Basin, then played South Falgrave, then Ringwood under lights, and then I think then Baronia, and they ended up being 2-2. So they did really well, Heathmont, to get out of it after being 0-2. And I think they've got the same opening. They've got the same opening 3. I don't know who they've got in round 4, but. Yeah, it's interesting because it's one of those games where if either side goes 0-2, you're not going to jump off them, but it's just a bad way to start your year 0-2. And it's, with the top 5 it helps, but with Baronia looking to have improved, and East Burwood and Templestowe also looking to be Templestowe definitely, East Burwood maybe in the mix. 0-2 is a bit more dangerous than it was last year. Last year, all you had to do was beat Baronia, really, didn't you? So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. You'd have to lean towards the Basin, just because of what we saw. What we saw last week didn't knock anything off us, and Heathmont, with no Mullinger McHugh, they might still be behind the Basin. But it'll be an exciting game to watch, no doubt. If people are in the area, head down to HA Park, another great facility to watch footy at.
We were there last year, weren't we? Brilliant facilities, and as you said, Justin Sen does like the bigger grounds, and I think they'll be much suited to these sort of conditions, much rather than what they had last week. But you also led into Templestowe and East Burwood, and they were 2 sides that impressed last week. They did beat lower sides, I think, at the end of the year. I think they'll be in the bottom few, but their wins nonetheless, and both should be up and about, and it's a real chance to build some momentum for both clubs. Stuart Wine talked about how it was a high-pressure game, the East Burwood coach, around the stoppages and the emphasis on their tackling pressure, and they're going to need it again this week against a side that kicked 21 goals in the wet.
Yeah. Having a look at the highlights, it looked like the rain did sort of miss Oakley. It didn't seem as wet out there. But I think East Burwood, for the last 3 or 4 years under Wine, have been built off their sort of contested ball. Like their side, they did look like they scored a bit off handball chains and so on. But I think they've been known for big bodies, being physical. They've had some height and some intercept defenders and so on. Whereas Templestowe, by the looks of it, have all of a sudden got this outside game, and they've got some star power. So I think I'm more excited by Templestowe a little bit there when they come against sides like Heathmont and Ringwood, that they might be able to match them with that outside run. We saw Baronia last year. That's where they struggled against those top 4 sides. And I think that might be East Burwood's downside, that when they play the really good teams in this division, they're not going to be able to catch them on the outside. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Templestowe will win that one, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, because if East Burwood are to win it, we need to have a look at, maybe they do have added that outside run.
And we did like how last season the way they set up their defensive lineup against Phillips in that game against Warrandyte. Do they have any sort of similar system when you look at someone like Cloak? I know it's a different.
I think Warrandyte was so Phillips centric early on and in that part of the year, and then in the end they end up winning the game by actually dragging Phillips up the ground and mixing things up, because the East Burwood was sort of confused. Whereas if you look at Templestowe, Cloak's obviously kicked 6 last week, but Nagel's there. They've got other 4s that kick multiple goals. Cloak's a different one too, because he's actually a lot taller. Like, he's a bit taller than Phillips as well.
Yep.
Like, not to say Phillips, but like that reach, and Eddie Rixton, already he's undersized. He's then further undersized. So yeah, getting some help from guys like Max Wills might help, but they might just lower the eyes and use Matty Nagel. And they kicked a lot of goals running into the 50 last week, Templestowe. So it is a danger of sagging back on Cloak, that it opens up that sort of zone about 35, 40 metres out for guys to either lead up into or just the midfielders to take the space.
And do you still stick with Templestowe today?
Yeah, absolutely. Templestowe at home, they've impressed me, the way they seem to be going about it, and the way they're approaching their style of footy. I think they'll have too much leg speed for East Burwood, but look, East Burwood, so far, every time you doubt them in these last few years, they've managed to showcase why they're up to the level. So it'll be an interesting game, no doubt.
Absolutely. And rounding out Division 2, we've got Mulgrave at Ringwood today. Any chance of Mulgrave?
Yeah, so Mulgrave, Ringwood, Baronia, Oakley districts. I'd give Mulgrave more chance than Oakley district, but I still think both these sides are going to, Baronia and Ringwood, the old dogs, they'll come away with a couple of big wins. So it'll be very interesting. Just as like this reserves game, it looks like 2 points difference. Chirnside are in front, so an exciting game. If you are in the area, pop down. But yeah, I think a couple of big wins for Baronia and Ringwood as they go 2-0 in my head.
And the last one, obviously, South Belgrave Knox, probably a similar thing. We're looking at South Belgrave. Although Knox, you'd want a bit of a response after that start last week. I think they had five points in the first half, and they were down by 50 points at halftime. And that's a game right there. So, although you're not going to expect them to be able to knock over a side like South Belgrave away, but you do want a bit of a response.
Yeah, a response. It is the worst possible game to then have a response. They'd ideally want to be playing a Mulgrave where they could possibly come out and win by 8 goals and everyone sort of gets them back to square. Whereas playing South Belgrave, it's going to be hard because even if they lose by 10 goals, it's sort of like, well, did South Belgrave take their foot off the gas? I know South Belgrave are missing a couple of key players. I know there's a fellow, Jordan Roberts, is making his debut for the senior side after winning the reserves best and fairest, so good luck to him. So I think it's a hard one for Knox because it's a lose-lose really. Unless they get within 5 goals, it's hard to get a read on them. Just a quick AFLW update: Adelaide have just kicked their 4th, so looks like they'll win another premiership. Carry on, Ryan.
Well on the way to another premiership, which is quite impressive. 3 in about 5-6 years. So we'd like to see that from the Crows. Rounding up, so that's Division 2. We're about 10 minutes away from the bounce of the Chirnside Park Surrey Park game. But a quick look into Division 3. I think the highlighted one there would be the Waverley Blues Whitehorse game. Waverley Blues went down to Warrandyte last week by 2 points in a really tight tussle in the wet, and I think that's probably today's much better weather for them for a quick attacking side like them. I think they'll be rubbing their hands at home, and they actually beat Whitehorse by 105 points last year. But obviously it's a lot to turn around now. It's a different Whitehorse, as Duncan has said, and I've copped it a bit earlier. But he also highlighted their under-19s that came into the side last season. They were quite impressive. What's different with them this year? What would you say the main difference from a Whitehorse perspective from last year?
Obviously, like recruits they're a bit of hit and miss because sometimes, when you're organic, a bit more like Surrey Park, for example, you're a bit more confident in the guys being, part of the system and so on. Sometimes when you recruit big, you've almost got to, we look at Glen Whaley, for example, it looks like they might be trying to start everything again by just recruiting guys in. And then that means the guys that are left behind are trying to learn a new system. I think with Whitehorse, Jones started his coaching role with about 3 weeks before the season, and having chatted to him for the pre-season article on Whitehorse, and then obviously last Monday on the podcast, it seems like he's got a pretty advanced view on the game, like very intricate, which means it's going to take longer than a month to get into players' heads, especially at local level when you only see them for 4 hours a week, and most of that time, the guys have just come off the work site for a lot of them. So it's hard for them to soak that in. And then also you had the fact that even if you got 4 weeks with them, you then had to miss 2 because no one was let out of their houses in that case. So I think it's just a matter of fact that they've spent more time under him, a full pre-season, and they're just learning the game plan. Chirnside Park got up by a point here. Surrey Park's first loss in the reserves for a while, although they did have 18 scoring shots, so 14. But onto that Whitehorse, Whitehorse improvement has come from that. I think just a bit of continuity with the coaching group, plus obviously adding some highly skilled players into their side. But I'm with you. I think Waverley Blues they didn't lose any admirers last week in that loss to Warrandyte. So I'm excited by them, the way they play their football, the way they go about it. They're young, they're energetic, and it'll be interesting to see how they go today. If they can win by 6 goals or more, I think we'll all be correct in having them right up the top of the ladder.
And they also bring in Perry, which is an important inclusion up forward. So I think that's the thing. I think their attacking style, their scoreboard pressure, I think they're just going to be too hard to match, especially if it turns into a shootout. I don't think Whitehorse quite have the weapons, despite what they've been able to bring in. Some of the other games, though, this Division 3, very good weekend of football last week, and one of those sides that caused a bit of a boil over was Fair Park, and today they play Glen Waverley at home, and a good chance to go 2-0 after Glen Waverley, a bit of a surprise loss to Scoresby.
Yeah, a tiny bit of a surprise, I guess. Yeah, again, I probably fell trapped into the fact that they had so many recruits and that Scoresby, I expected to really fall off their perch. In hindsight, it looks like Glen Waverley might fall into that Wanty South trap from last year, where it takes a little bit of time for players to gel not only at a new club but under a new coach and a new system and everything. And Scoresby, on the other hand, maybe sometimes losing some of your big stars means that the young guys, that underdog spirit can sort of put them together. So a massive win for Scoresby in the context of the year that they've got one against the side around them, and that's the thing that'll hurt Glen Waverley. It's not that they jumped out to a 3-goal lead against someone like, a Whitehorse and then drifted off. They've lost to a side that they probably would have thought they should be beating. So it'll be interesting to see how Glen Waverley go today. Fair Park, they were so exciting last week. It was really good. Again, I predicted them to be right down the bottom. I still think they are going to finish bottom, but really exciting to get that win. And look, if they do it again today, then I've got to eat my hat. It'll be another one of those cases. I might add a Fair Park jump into my base. But yeah, that'll be one to watch too, because if they go 2-0, that Fair Park all of a sudden, the way they're viewed by the rest of the competition, the way they view the rest of their season will be so different. But then all of a sudden games against Coldstream, where I would have had Coldstream favourite, you've got to flip that switch, and it just changes everything, and that's the nature of predictions before a ball's been kicked. But exciting game for Fair Park because they've got that monkey off the back. For Glen Waverley, there's a lot of pressure on them now.
And it is very interesting with, obviously, the double relegation in Division 3. So these are the sort of games, and Glen Waverley will look at maybe at the end of the year, a game against Scoresby, although it may seem like nothing now. That's the sort of wins you need to get if they are going to stay up in a division. And if Fair Park can go 2-0, you never know if they... how they'll go for the rest of the year. But as you said, Scoresby, they take on Donvale at Donvale in Donvale.
Magpie off.
And that's a big one for Donvale, just to be able to get back on track after probably a game you would have penciled in for a win last week against Whitehorse.
Yeah, maybe not penciled in. I would have thought Donvale would win. I think they'll win today. And from all reports, Donvale, they came away from it not disappointed in it. Like, that's how impressed they were with Whitehorse. So that's another thing to just keep an eye on. With the way clubs react to losses, that's an indicator. If a side like last week, French Gully would have reacted, I think they would have been a lot more disappointed than a Donvale are, and that shows maybe where they think other sides are at. So that'll be an interesting thing. Donvale should win that one, and then the other one, Warrandyte should win that one against Coldie. It's sort of a good way for us to get a gauge on Coldie by playing Warrandyte. It's sort of like, all right, if they get within 6 goals, they'll be fine. If they lose by 70 or 80 points, then maybe they're not as good. Maybe the step up is bigger than we thought. So, and a couple of interesting games there to round out Division 3, and as the Chirnside Park side run out onto the ground here at Kimberley Reserve. So Division 3's last year it was the second closest in terms of margin. The only reason it was bigger, the worse than Premier Division, is because Fair Park we're getting on the end of a couple of big losses, which meant that obviously the average was blown out. So I think technically you could have claimed it was the most even division bar one. Now Fair Park have met that challenge. All of a sudden it's a very even division. Yep. So it's going to be one where each week there's going to be a couple of really exciting games to talk about and watch and so on. So looking forward to that division, and then Division 4. Obviously we're at the match of the round here, which is going to be, if it follows that reserves game, it's going to be exciting. But there's Croydon North and Nuttawading, Ryan. That's probably one of the biggest games in Croydon North's short history, because a loss here means will be a little bit catastrophic. I know they've got a lot of players out, but they've built a lot of hype around themselves. They've been pretty bullish that they're going to improve big time. To lose to Nuttawading after a 130-point loss last week in the wet would be really disappointing. Yeah, and I don't think you take much out of that last week against Sylvan in the wet. And I really highly rate Sylvan, but you're right. It is a must-win against Nuttawading, who I think, if you're 0-2 and you've lost to a side that you would have really built yourself up to beat, it's a really hard way to start the season. And I think that's a must-win, as Surrey Park are about to come out as well. And just on Kilsyth Forest Hill quickly. Forest Hill will win that, but it'll be interesting to see how good Kilsyth are with the conditions being drier, whether they're just a physical contested side or whether they can still match it with sides on the outside, but the Zebras should win that. Yes, yep, and I'm with you there. So are we about to go to a break? Yes, so we'll be back just after the break for the first bounce of the game. We're at Kimberley Reserve.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Kimberley Reserve for the EFNL Eastland match of the round. The umpires have just come out for Chirnside Park versus Surrey Park, the Battle of the Panthers. I believe we've got Josh Ward on the boundary line just shortly. And looking forward to the game. It's going to be a big one. Very important for both sides to get some momentum early on in the season. And a big one. Welcome to Matt Fodia back again. You'll be doing the commentary today. We're a bit short on numbers, just the three of us here.
We're short on numbers, and that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes small teams, less is more.
Better.
Less is more, as the great Richie Benno used to say in regarding cricket commentary. So I'll try that approach with football, as they're just about to do the toss here. So we'll cross down to Josh in a second. But yeah, exciting to be out here at Kimberley Reserve. Two clubs that are at different ends of the cycle. Surrey Park just sort of hitting right in their peak. This is now or never for them to be the dominant force in this division and win it. And then Chirnside Park are just building nicely, and if they win one, it might be before their time, but I don't think they'll be worried about that. But it's only round 2, so I don't think that'll matter. They've just tossed the coin, so we'll head down to Josh Ward on the boundary line.
G'day, fellas. It's very windy conditions down here. There's a bit of a heavy breeze heading towards to the left of your screens if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Left of your radio dials. Chirnside Park. Ben Slattery's won the toss. They'll be kicking towards that end. It will be interesting to see if they can take advantage of that win. But yeah, it should be a really good contest out here. For a tip, I'll kick us off. I think you already know my tip. Surrey Park.
Thank you, Josh, and thanks for that weather update. It's a picture-perfect day for football, and well done to Josh. So he's got the shorts on. Nice to see. Nice warm weather.
We've all got the shorts on today.
Ryan, you give us your tip, mate.
You know what? I'm going to go with Chirnside Park. I did rate them quite highly in the pre-season. I did think about changing after hearing that Sutherland was out during the week.
And Clevant, of course.
And Clevant just earlier today. But I'm going to stick with them. I'll stick with my guns. I've got to stay with them. I still think they've got enough depth. I'm very much looking forward to see how their forward line structures around Daniel Bedome, and if they do use him predominantly, or if they do, as Dave said earlier when we spoke to him, try to look for the other options up forward. So I'm very interested, but I think it's going to be quite close. Matt, do you
I'm going to have
leaning?
I'm going to have to go with Surrey Park. I've tipped them to win the flag, so I can't really jump off them in round 2. But I do think it's going to be a close game. Just home ground advantage. Oh, here we go. Shirtless operator from the reserves just running past the media van. I do think it's going to be a close game, just because home ground advantage and those numbers that are out for Surrey Park. So it looks like they're sort of timing their run for the and 5 number changes for Chirnside Park, which is quite annoying.
That is.
And I can't blame anyone else. That is the one downfall of being the lone commentator today, is I can't blame anyone else for my mistakes. So Jake Hollingsworth is wearing the number 7, not 15. Aaron Puckering is in 26. Callum Harper, 79. That's a high number. That is a very high number. Daniel McGee, 20. Lachlan McGee, 62. Jet Carter on debut, 64. And Josh McConnell, 33. Riley Tenpenny is wearing 74 for Surrey Park. Rarely, I think, Riley Tenpenny would have been the second highest number on the ground. But he's been ousted today, bested by Callum Harper. So all in readiness here at Kimberley Reserve. We're only 4 minutes behind schedule. That's got to be a record with the new game times going around. So well done to everyone here at Kimberley Reserve. And if you are watching, we have to thank LKLM Media as well behind the lens, and Big Brucey on the buttons as well. But we're all in readiness here for Chirnside Park and Surrey Park from Kimberley Reserve on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Eastland EFNL match of the day, SEN, Eastern FM, Facebook and YouTube. Stevens won the hit out for Chirnside Park. Might have been a little bit of an ankle tap as Slattery gets the handball out wide for Bo Ringer. Early entry for Chirnside Park on the opposite boot. Direct turnover. Not exactly how he would have planned it out in his head, as big Daniel Badome puts down 16 for Surrey Park in the background. We get a number check on that one as the Panthers, Surrey Park, come out. Jack McLaren takes the mark on right half back. So, good hyperactive early start. Down the line again. Kicks just over the head there of Jimmy Wells. Chirnside. Coming through there is Robert Merritt. Gone back to McLaren dangerously, with Hollingsworth just lurking. So McLaren will look to switch the play. Kick is well weighted and finds its target in Kentworthy, the Blackburn man, one of their leading recruits, assistant coach. Low drilling ball, finds the leading target up there in Oliver Anderson. Gave it off to the runner in Hatch. And that kick inside 450 is intercepted well there by the Chirnside defender and Matthew King, obviously youngster who's been in and out of the side in recent years. Snapped around the body as they exit defence by Shane Hall. But it's all Surrey Park. Kentworthy got 2 grabs at it, couldn't haul it in. And we look like we should have our first ball up of the day, just forward to centre wing for Surrey Park as we go down to Josh Ward.
Riley Tenpenny is actually number 16 for Surrey Park as well. So he's unfortunately not 74, he's 16.
He's gone the other way. Stevens wins the hit out. Slattery's there, breaks through the first tackle, got his handball away into space. Parker Fox should get there first and does with the yellow boots inside forward 50. Oberou's down there. Russell couldn't bring it to ground. Oberou picks it up. Right foot ball is across the face.
Big opportunity missed there. But
he's a bit of a young Daniel Badome there. Similar sort of frame. He moved a little bit better than Badome there. But early score on the board for the Surrey Park Panthers. They're one behind. Chirnside yet to score. Anything you've noticed early, Ryan?
Just the inside 50s there. Surrey Park have just been able to dominate that in the last couple of minutes and get a few entries inside forward 50.
Ball comes out. Brendan Murphy, one of the veterans of this Chirnside Park side, did play with the club years ago, but is Warburton Millgrove Hillsville man, more well known for his bow ringer. Got to kick up the line down the wing. There is the man there in number 79, Callum Harper. Got his handball over the top, and the Panthers, Chirnside this time, linking up well. Ball inside 450 towards Badome, but sitting back in that hole is number 14, Patrick Hatch. So it looks like they are going to zone off and focus their attention on Badome. The kick across the face of goal is not a good one. Doing well there is Samuel King. Sockers it towards the top of the goal square. McLaren will rush it through, and we'll have another rush behind. Roval have got the first 2 goals as well out at Seaback Oval. So good early signs for them against Noble Park.
Almost made something out of nothing there. Their 2 kicks inside 50 have gone straight to Surrey Park players, so they do need to start watching where they are kicking forward.
And Surrey Park looking to switch almost immediately, but haven't quite hit their targets yet. We did say there was a bit of a wind tunnel out there, Dave Newland. So Hatch gives the handball off to the runner, takes a bounce, exits defensive 50, goes long down the line. There's a contest. Stevens is around it. Grattan, one of the evergreen players of the Eastern Football Netball League. Handball chains linked up with Robert Merritt, giving it off to the runner there in Garvin. Goes towards centre forward. Coming out in the 23. Looks to be Oberoup. Got his handball back to Brotto. Maxwell Brotto just chips it over the top. Should be all the Panthers, and it's Burt at centre half back. Nice little goose step, and then finds Brendan Murphy in the centre circles. Dropped something he should have taken. Handball off now to the runner in 62. Lachlan McGee out wide, looking for Hollingsworth. That is out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in by the looks of things. So both sides, Ryan, have had opportunities to take it through the corridor. They've taken them, but haven't quite executed.
You're right. It's probably just been about the composure. I think Surrey Park have been a little bit better in hitting targets. They've looked to switch a few more times. Whereas Chirnside Park, although they've been playing quite fast, it's quick brand football, but they're a bit spraying the ball a bit and just having. I think they just need to take a bit longer to find their targets.
Yeah. So another boundary throw in here on the half-forward flank for Chirnside Park. We've gone 4 minutes, and it's all tied up at 1 score apiece. Both behinds, one rushed and then one off the boot of Jara Obaru. And they've got big wraps on down at Surrey Park. So Brendan Murphy, undersized in the ruck there against Callum Turnus. Coming through is Kentworthy for Surrey Park. Sockers at forward. Ryan Kennedy's around it. Brought up his 150th Surrey Park game last week. Burt on the bottom of that pack. McGee got the handball out, and they link it up through Robert Johns, and it's inside forward 50. Good spoil, but an aggressive spoil there from Murphy. Knocked it further towards his team's goal. McLaren's been in everything early for Surrey Park. Handballs towards the boundary line. Lachlan Peters kept it moving forward, and now they'll clear their defensive lines. But it's a scrappy-looking kick, and it bounced out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So just 5 minutes gone here in the opening term.
And around the grounds, Mitcham, bit of a quick start, 3-4-22 to the Roos 1-1-7.
There we go. And there's been a yellow card out at the tee-back. Well done to Tyler Lewis giving us all that. Surrey Park go forward. Nice intercept mark taken there by the youngster there, Matthew King. Got the purple boots on. You like that from the youth. Goes out wide. Finds the leading man there in Slattery. Quite tall for an inside midfielder. Shows his versatility.
Plenty of experience.
Yep. To Badome. Centre forward. The big fella. Can't bring it in. Picking it up there is Burt. Couldn't take it cleanly. Kennedy got his handball away just in time before he got pinged. Now they're trying to Harper. Second effort is good. Slattery picks up clean hands. Walks through the tackles. McGee off to Harper. Gave it off now. They've got a bit of run. Breaking through the first tackle. Little left football from Bo Ringers. Not very good. So Surrey Park should wrap up their lines. And coming off there was George Haynes. Did well. Did really well. And we'll have another ball up. So again, Chirnside Park have had countless opportunities there, Ryan. Just can't quite execute, can they?
You're right. And they do look to link up. They've a few handballs there trying to get it forward.
Yeah, you can see what they're trying to do. Kennedy got the clearance. Well done by the man in front, Chirnside Park defender.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, Kieran Urquhart. Big frame.
I thought they were about to overturn that.
Yeah, good umpiring in the end. It was unnecessary though. I just have a word to him. He goes long down the line. That's a nice raking left foot kick. Big fly, nice mark.
Great mark.
Coming across the front there, attacked it really well. Samuel King. He's been hyperactive already, the small forward. Had his little socket at the top of the square earlier, ended up being the rush behind, and now he's just backing himself.
And he's one to look forward to. He kicked 16 goals from 7 games last year, so he's another target that if they can't find Badome, he's someone to step up.
So he's going to kick from just outside the arc, which is about 40 metres. The breeze looks to be going right to left goalpost, so he wheels around on his left, starts it on line and loves it off the boot. First one of the afternoon goes to Chirnside Park. They are 1-1-7. Samuel King, he struck that beautifully, Ryan.
Yeah, that was a beautiful kick. I'm really impressed with this kid, and I think that's one of the plays that Dave Newlands was talking about earlier on this afternoon. That one to look forward to up forward 50. But obviously that's an impressive kick from the distance out. I don't know if the wind is going that way. Is it just going just from side to side, I think?
Josh might know more of who it's really favouring. It looks like it's going slightly across the ground. Josh, Chirnside Park kicking with the wind?
I feel like they are. I think that might have helped Sam King with that goal, but yeah, he did strike it really beautifully. But there is a bit of a breeze heading more towards down that end of the ground, so maybe leaning slightly towards the right goalpost. But yeah, I think that did help King's case.
Thank you, Josh. A couple of other scores around the ground. So Rowville 2-1, Noble 2 straight, Berwick 1 straight, South Croydon yet to score, and Park Orchards 1 straight, North Ringwood 4 behinds as they burst out of the centre clearance. Charlie Clavant into Badome. And listen to the crowd go up, Ryan, the big fella. He just tossed his defender aside and he'll go back.
Crowd favourite here.
Well, he's just a big man and people love big men. And he's going to go back. He's got a unique kicking style, and that was beautiful ruck work from Stevens. Straight down and then coming through the centre there. It looked to be Charlie Clavant, Charlton. Burst out, beautiful delivery, and this will be a quick double punch for Chirnside Park. Badome, usually pretty reliable, trots in, left foot, loves it, the big fella. Got another one, kicked boundary 3 last week. He's got his first already. Chirnside 2-1-13, Surrey Park just 1 behind. Josh Ward, boundary side.
And this is what happened with Chirnside Park last week as well. I caught a glimpse of their replay, and in the first quarter, they kicked their first 2 goals in a matter of moments because they got it immediately out of the centre square, and I think that will be their strength today. So, sorry, they need to tighten up in the centre.
Croydon North have got the first two out there against Nuttawading. They're 2-2-14 to zip. And Whitehorse 4-2-26. Waverley Blues yet to score.
Oh, that's interesting. But when you've got a target like Badome there, as soon as you can get the ball out of the middle and he's leading up to the ball, it's very hard to stop that, and he's a good mark.
So up they go again. Surrey Park get a little bit of a clearance out here. Comes out to Tom Smith. Went inboard though, dangerous. And here come Chirnside again. Harper sweeping handball. Will it set up for the runner there, Imbo Ringer? It will. Steps inside. Steps outside. Got his handball off. Murphy's gone the check side. And it's well across the face. Out of bounds on the full. The big fella. Experienced player. Played VFL almost 20 years ago, Brendan Murphy. So been playing football a long time at a high level. So clearly backs himself in from there.
They're certainly not going to play slow, are they? They want to move the ball as soon as they can.
And we like that. We like that, Ryan. It's a day for it. It is a day for it. So exciting stuff already from the two Panther outfits.
Oh, and he's caught.
He's run straight into him there. So Lachlan Peters, I don't know what he was thinking here. He's tried to take on Jake Hollingsworth, the ex-North Ringwood man. Oh, he's just slipped. I think the idea was right, the execution. He's just slipped there, and Hollingsworth has not even looked to pass this off. He's going back to have a shot at goal.
Do you really need to sell the candy there? Do you just...
Maybe I think you just dispose of it.
I think you're getting a bit too fancy when you're in the back pocket.
Shaping up for a drop punt here, Hollingsworth. Just pokes it out at the right goalpost. It just kept going across. Badome makes a good contest, and in the end, Surrey Park get away with that just.
They're very lucky. I think when you're in a back pocket in defence like that, just get the ball down the ground.
Yeah, especially when you're under the pressure that they're under. 3 early goals would be disappointing for them. Turners won the hit out down. It's all Chirnside Park. Murphy's down there. Hands and knees, and they're going to just get another ball up. I don't know who that is bullocking on the bottom of the pack there. Number 20, which is Daniel McGee. So we'll have another one. Coldstream 1-2-8. Warrandyte 1-6. Tap down again. There is McGee. Gave the handball off. Across the face. Badome's got the sit. Should take that. Dropped it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So he's looking dangerous, Daniel Badome. When he gets a one-on-one, he's going to be very hard to beat, isn't he, Ryan?
Well, that's the thing. When you got a chance to, do you put another player down there and just to be able to get in front of him? Because on a one-on-one, you'd back him almost every time. And if they're continuously being able to get it in there, it's going to be a bit of a struggle with Surrey Park.
Yeah, if they kick it to his advantage, he's going to blow him out. Hollingsworth out of the pack. Left foot ball. Just gone straight up. So another chance for Surrey Park, and they're going to rush it behind, that time through Patrick Hatch. So it's all Chirnside Park at the moment. They are 2-2-14. Surrey Park just the one behind, and really have not exited their defensive half since, that Oberu chance, and in hindsight probably had a bit more time to steady. So takes the bounce immediately here, the Surrey Park defender in Kentworthy. He goes out wide towards Smith and Molnar, who did toss the coin. Going up there. And the number 16 for Chirnside, Jimmy Wells did well, brought it to ground. Smith is away. Just got his kick as Callum Harper closed in. Turnus is down there, brought it to ground. Lovely pick up by Parker Fox. He's got a target on Oberu. Around the corner, should find him. In the end, Oberu just sort of a bit laissez-faire there, wasn't he?
Bit over the top. I thought it was a hard one to get there, but Parker Fox, geez, looks dangerous when he gets there.
He was impressive pick up there, Parker Fox. Could he have just kept running and kicked the goal? I think Oberu sort of led to the pocket to open up the corridor for him. So
we did have a bit of space in front of him, so I mean, obviously it's hindsight 2020, but
absolutely, we do love that. So Urquhart does well in the ruck, but it's gone straight down. Molnar missed it coming through. Handball goes over top. Urquhart taps it down again. Chirnside clear their lines. Parker Fox is there again. He is very exciting. He's very quick. Steps in. Little fend off kick, well smothered, coming through.
It'll be a hard
Number
play to
26,
tackle.
Aaron Puckering, sorry.
Parker Fox will be a hard play to tackle. Once he gets the ball, he looks very dangerous. And
he's strong, isn't he?
He's got a bit of a fend off on him.
So Puckering was mentioned by Dave Newlands on the Monday recovery last week, just giving Grattan Stevens a bit more of a help out in the ruck, and he got a hit out down again. Slatter is coming through. The boundary line should win out, and does, as the players come crushing through.
It's an interesting ruck combo. You've got the experienced player in Stevens, and then obviously Puckering a bit younger. And it's
slightly taller, so I think this will suit him, these sort of grappling contests. Stevens probably got a bit more of a leap. So, and that's probably an area Surrey Park look to be down their second ruckman there in the number 40 jumper, Merritt. Not quite as tall, as there's a free kick going the Panthers' way. Just forward to the centre wing for them. Doesn't go quite that far back on his mark. Looks in the Oberu direction. That was Naidu getting the kick inside forward 50. Little toe poke off the ground there is an interesting one. It's clever. Was looking for Turnus, the big ruckman from Falahi there. So it's 1 behind. So Surrey Park 2 behinds. Chirnside 2-2. We've gone 13 and a half minutes here in the first quarter. Eastland EFNL match of the day out here at Kimberley Reserve on SEN on the SEN app, EasternFM 98.1 and EFNL Facebook and YouTube.
The last few times they've gone inside 50, they've looked for Ovaru multiple times. It's just going to be able to get hit him on the chest there.
Yeah, lower the eyes a little bit. In that. So Surrey Park did intercept, but just couldn't quite take it cleanly off the Chirnside Park kick in. Puckering slaps it towards the boundary line. And in the end, they get it there right in front of Josh Ward. So he's got a front row seat here for the action. So tossed in again, Puckering, going up against Merritt, who is giving away almost half a metre, but he takes it out of the back and wheels and goes into the corridor. Good work there, defensive spoil from Chirnside. Molnar's there, lost his footing, apologies. And then we'll have another ball up. Matthew King doing a good job. Has impressed so far as well when he's got his hands on the footy. Jet Carter as well, been brought in. So thrown up again. Surrey Park getting their hands on their footy at the clearances now. A chance for their small forwards to get involved. Kick was missed there by Oliver Anderson. Coming through Turnus, the ruckman resting forward, been pink holding the ball correctly, dropped it. Absolutely holding the ball, and Chirnside get another reprieve. This time, Urquhart got a long left foot kick. You'd hope to open it up to this side of the ground, Ryan, but he's looking to go back towards the coach's box. Merritt's getting across there, brought it to ground. Puckering soccers it forward. Could it suit Chirnside? It will. They just keep forcing it forward. Kentworthy's back there, got his handball away, but to a man under immense pressure, just dropped it. Umpire says play on. Puckering handball over top to Murphy. He handballed it again. Should it sit up for Clevant? It went a little bit further. And they flick it further forward. McGee running through on the right boot. Puts it to the top of the square, but it's across the face. For
that chaotic pressure
behind. So another behind there for Chirnside Park. Carry on.
They're a bit chaotic going forward, but it's putting Surrey Park defence under pressure, and they've just been able to just even kicks off the ground up forward, anything they get the ball moving, and it's worked out all right so far.
That handball from Kentworthy was an interesting one, that low kick. So he's got good skills, Kentworthy. He's displayed there again, but just that decision to give it to a man under immense pressure. So once again, Surrey Park, they're good to this stage, and then they've been making a few mistakes. Out wide again to Patrick Hatch, who's had a fair bit of it early. Goes down the line. They've got 2-on-1. And Kentworthy's done really well. He's impressed so far. He's had a lot of the footy, albeit the ball's been down that end of the ground, but still been doing well when he gets it. Comes inboard, low kick, looking for Molnar. Dropped the chest mark. Got it back though on the rebound. Step back into traffic. That might be holding the ball high. Probably a correct call as well. You could give it either way. Robert Johns is the man who has given away the free kick. So Molnar goes short into the middle. Murphy pressures, but it's a good kick in the end. Surrey Park have it. Puckering close to giving away a 50. Smart. Daniel wasn't a very smart kick. Intercepted there by Chirnside Park in the hands of Daniel McGee. Looks to be dropping back, playing a sort of wingman's role. Chips it short and finds a target. Centre wing. And they keep moving it forward, but it's all Surrey Park here. So both sides have got numbers behind the footy. Well done by McLaren. Handball back to Kentworthy. Steps onto his left. They're going to have to learn that. Clevant. He's a left footer first is Kentworthy. Blasts it to the far wing. McGee gets there. Got a little knee on it. Merritt, who's been playing an undersized second ruckman role, does well. He's got support in Anderson. And then looks like a nice tackle. Umpire's going to ping him holding the ball here. That's harsh on McGee. That's very rough. He's got intent for the footy there, Ryan. That's a harsh penalty, but if they continue to be consistent, we won't mind that. So Surrey Park have another chance, but look at the numbers Chirnside Park have got back there. Jimmy Wells sitting as the loose. Smothered off the boot, and Chirnside have a chance to rebound. Bo Ringer short over the top.
No one forward.
No one forward. Looking for Samuel King, the first goal kicker. Handball over top to Burt. Badome's got a 2-on-1. He pokes it out wide. Looking for the runner here in 64. Jet Carter on debut. Left foot ball under pressure from Smith is out of bounds on the full. So Badome probably wanted that, but Burt's looked up. It's been given down. It's been given a free kick for a hit. It must have been given push in the back because it's not downfield.
Would have been hard to get it at Badome then, though. I think there was...
It was a 2-on-1. He's a big man.
He had two players near him.
I didn't mind that. Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't mind that from Bird. I think Badome himself would be a bit frustrated because he's obviously a man in form, so he'll be backing himself in. But, Jack Carter got a chance here. So the umpires deemed it a push in the back, not late, or else the free kick would be in the forward pocket. So it must have been... The timing was fine, just the execution of the tackle from Smith not up to standard. So Jet... Johnsy wanted it. Jet's going to back himself with the breeze. We saw Samuel King make the distance before. That one wrong side. Stays left. So another behind. So it's all Chirnside Park at the moment. 2-5 or 2-4-16. Surrey Park just the two behinds. So the Panthers, Surrey Park that is, they're hanging on for dear life at the moment. And if they can get through this first quarter, we're just about to tick into time on. With only a 2-goal margin, they'll be pretty happy. It does always take a bit of time, Ryan, to get the ball back into play here.
Across the, is it going across the road there? A bit of a hill down there.
Yeah, there's a bit of grassland down there. So Kentworthy to bring it back in once again. Goes the far side of the ground, looking for the runner there in McLaren, who's been pretty ever-present for Surrey Park so far, and they take it out for a boundary throw-in. So 19 minutes gone, 2-4-16 Chirnside Park, Surrey Park, just the two behinds. Haven't really looked like it, have Surrey Park. So Grattan Stevens is back in the ruck. Tap down was looking for Burt. Good, strong tackle. Umpire says, give it to me. So Aaron Burt's impressed me. He's an inclusion this week, so obviously no Clevant is disappointing for Chirnside Park, and obviously Austin Sutherland as well. But Aaron Burt returning has given their midfield a little bit more inside work. So there's going to free kick going Grattan Stevens' way for a Shepherd. I've never understood ruck infringements. Oberu, good pressure on Slattery, puts it to centre forward. Badome coming through, brought it to ground. That's what you want from the big fella. Samuel King kicked one already, gets to the footy first, only got a left foot, and he's run out of room there on the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in.
Well, there's a loose man. I think that was Patrick Hatch. He was standing in just by himself, and he was the one who got in front of Badome. So obviously they are trying to look to keep an extra number down back, and hopefully for their sake stop Badome's influence.
It's a small ground though. Midfielders can't kick goals here. So Surrey Park clear their lines once again, but again they haven't been able to get clean possession out of defence. Naidu, 2-1s going head to head. Got it out, Kennedy, again slams it forward. Turner's coming up, the big fella, collects it well, needs a runner going past, handballs right over the top, and he got it in Garvin. Garvin just got on the left boot, so it's no free kick, but Burt, once again, basically stripped his man, got a short ball to centre half forward. The mark's been taken. Ring the 39, there is more than just the jumper numbers we've been sent. Puts it in the forward pocket, looking for Badome, he's 3 deep, might have given away a free kick, coming through Clevant. Might have got a shove in the back. Nothing doing. Handball over top from Tom Smith. And Surrey Park escape once again. But it'll be coming right back. Might be a free kick for holding the man. There is going the way of Chirnside Park. It's the man wearing the number 4, who, I'll be honest, I do not have on my team sheet wearing the number 4. So, apologies. And it's gone through from behind nonetheless. So, Chirnside Park 2-5-17. Surrey Park just the two behinds.
Under serious pressure right now.
Our man Josh Ward will be looking for... I think we just need to get the proper team sheet at quarter time, because there's only about 3 blokes wearing their proper jumper.
Blake Daniel wearing the number 4.
Is he? He's down here. He's 29 on my sheet. Thank you, Josh. So, Kentworthy to bring it back in again. If he plays on, he'll be up to about 15 touches this quarter. None of them, though, unfortunately for Surrey Park, have been as penetrating as they would have liked.
They just haven't had many options up forward, many opportunities going inside.
They cannot get any space, can they? This kick's in the Merritt direction. Luckily, he did play on, because it'll be a throw-in, not a free kick for Chirnside Park. As 21.5 minutes gone, I don't think there'll be too much time on, although it does take a little bit of time for that ball to come back into play when you're kicking to the left of screen. So Josh McConnell is wearing 39 rather than 33. Thank you, Josh Ward, down there doing God's work as it's thrown in. Stevens and Merritt. Chirnside are going to dominate the rucks today just on height, unless Turnus is going to ruck close to 100% of the game. It's an open forward line for Surrey Park at the moment, but it's been down there maybe 3 or 4 times and only once cleanly. Josh Ward on the boundary.
Callum Turns has got a bit of an injury problem, so he looks to be fine. He's having a couple of stretches, but that's a bit of a concern if you're a Surrey Park fan.
Yeah, absolutely. If he's out, Chirnside may as well win every hit out going forward at the moment. So another stoppage, just forward to centre. Boundary thrown just forward to centre wing for Chirnside Park. Obery went in the ruck. He might get a free kick for holding the ball. Stevens took it out of there. Just got his handball. McGee. Obery coming through again. Well, does well for Surrey Park, and they might force another stoppage here as the ball's just pinballing around in there. It's been kicked forward by Chirnside Park. Coming up is McConnell. Couldn't quite get there, and we'll have a boundary throw in. So a tiny bit of a stalemate at the moment, Ryan, but so far so good for Chirnside Park.
Well, with the extra number back to Surrey Park, that once they get outside that back 50, there's just no one to kick to, and they've been able to turn it over, and here's Chirnside Park now.
Yeah, so Stevens won the hit out. Harper came through. Slattery tries to burst through. That should be holding the ball, really. He took on a couple of tacklers, but umpire says, give it to me. So Surrey Park are just going to have to find... It's a sort of skinny ground. Again, it's a weird shaped ground. It's not small in any real regard, but it's not massive. And we'll have a repeat stoppage here.
With the way the last 15 minutes have gone, I think you'd take being down just 15 points
absolutely.
at quarter time.
And we'll be interested to see how much the wind, wreaks havoc if Surrey Park can get it going. Although Bowring is coming through, the bounce just didn't quite sit for him. And Surrey Park will clear again, but only as far as Slattery. Got his handball back into Grattan Stevens. Met in a tackle by Kennedy. Did well for Surrey Park. Can they burst away now? Oberu gets it down the line. It's over the head of Urquhart. Sits into the middle. Parker Fox coming through, but good handball. They're away again through Burt. Big collision coming up. Oh, that's Kenworthy. That's bad. That will be looked at during the week. He could have gone for the ball. He's lucky that Burt's okay. I think he'll get away with it on that regard, but it's not a good look. Burt goes in the Bedome direction. He's got 3 on him. Umpire says play on. He'll go out of bounds for a boundary throw in. Hollingsworth was zooming out the back there. Kentworthy, you don't like to see that, Ryan. There was a collision coming up, and you've got to go for the ball there. Burt had his head over the footy, had the elbow up. So,
well, we're very lucky that it clearly didn't
Burt's come out okay.
The way that it could have been a lot worse.
So McGee coming through in the number 62, got his hands on the footy, stepped back into the tackle by Kentworthy, it's spilt free, and so we'll have a ball up
boundary.
Again. Josh Ward on the boundary.
Callum Turns is going through some run-throughs now. He got some strapping on his upper right leg, so he looks set to come back on soon.
Thank you, Josh. Good work down there. Grattan Stevens and Oberu go into it. McGee is around that footy, so is McConnell. They get it forward again, Surrey Park, but they need a mark and they get it. Harry Laciana has been pretty much unsighted until this. Here we go. Bit of speed from Garvin coming through the middle. High ball. Merritt's at front spot at centre forward. Does well. And then coming through, well done, Mulner. So they force it forward, Surrey Park. Parker Fox is unmarked. Should take the mark, doesn't. Can get the handball over the top. Ball! Urquhart. Beautiful tackle. Parker Fox, he was thinking about kicking the goal before he had the ball in his hands, Ryan.
Well, he had that, or he had a man just ahead of him. I think that was...
there was too much going on.
Anderson was right in front of him, so they had the options for a goal there.
So Oberu, he's been put around the ball a bit more and he's doing well. Here we go. Bit better for Surrey Park. Naidu, big fly from Urquhart. Couldn't bring it down. Play on, says the umpire. Here comes Burt. And there'll be a high. He's been impressive, Aaron Burt. It is all happening out here at Kimberley Reserve. That was an incredible fly from Kieran Urquhart. He just couldn't bring it down. He just sort of hovered a little bit there. So they go across to Urquhart again. Back out to centre wing. Nice, strong grab there from Bo Ringer. He's been impressive on that high half-forward wing roll. His kicking's let him down a little bit today, but so far it's been so good for Chirnside Park. 26 minutes gone. If they can get another one, it'll be a massive start for them. Down there towards Slattery, he's resting forward. Surrey Park defender couldn't knock it out of play. King got it back to Slattery. Kentworthy's there. Slattery handball over the top. He'll come through himself. Little soccer off the ground. He's rushed through for a behind. Well done there on the last line of defence by George Haynes. So another rush behind. 2-6-18 Chirnside Park. Will they rue missed opportunities later in this game?
Boundary.
Josh Ward.
Callum Turns has just come back on.
Good signs for the Surrey Park ruckman. Looks like he's going to centre forward though. Kentworthy, short ball. Finds his target out there in Burrell. His first kick of the day by my count. Steps around the man on the mark in Samuel King. Goes long down the line towards Oberu. And then a nice mark taken there by Bo Ringer.
Again.
Did really well. Had Blake Daniel for support, but didn't need him in the end. He'll play on. Got a little bit close to the man on the mark. Tumbled it forward to centre half forward. Coming across the mark there was Haynes for Surrey Park. Affected the spoil. And then Burrell got it forward, but it's all Chirnside Park. Grattan Stevens marks just forward to centre wing. For Chirnside. Got the rolled up sleeves in, a testament to his former teammate at South Croydon, Daniel King. Goes short to Roberts Johns. He'll pump it inside forward 50 surely in the Bedome direction. Murphy's down there as well. Big fly from the back. He's brought it down. Hollingsworth, the smallest man on the ground, has taken a contested mark 20 metres out directly in front, siren. Just on the siren. And if he kicks this, it'll be a 22-point margin for Chirnside. And to be honest, Ryan, they've been worth it.
They need it. They need the goal because they've dominated probably the last 20 minutes up besides that first few minutes.
I think Surrey Park have had maybe 30 seconds in their forward half.
And Bo Ringer's been really impressive just on that. A lot of that marks on the half-forward flank, just onto the wing. And now...
Hollingsworth is going to line up. He shanked one from the pocket earlier, the left footer. He's been lively. I didn't expect him to take the mark. Comes in 30 metres out directly in front. Little stutter steps. Kick is right off the side of the boot. So that is disappointing for Chirnside Park, but it's been all the home side here at Kimberley Reserve. 2-7-19 leading Surrey Park. The two behinds here. The goal kicker Samuel King with one from just outside the arc. And then Daniel Bedome, the big fella, took a contested grab and slotted from 20 metres out directly in front. It's quarter time here on EFNL Match of the Round, brought to you by Eastland on the SEN App EasternFM, Facebook and YouTube. We're going to a break, and on the other side of it, we'll have the second quarter.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Kimberley Reserve here for the EFNL Match of the Day, brought to you by Eastland on the SEN App, EasternFM 98.1 and the EFNL Facebook and YouTube. It's quarter time here, 2-7-19 Chirnside Park. The visitors, Surrey Park, just the 2 behinds. The goal kickers, Daniel Badome and Samuel King for Chirnside Park. Ryan, we've got a couple of around-the-ground scores that will fly through. Roeville are up 5-3 to 2 straight, and I believe Mitcham still lead East Ringwood, despite East Ringwood having most of the play at the moment. But whilst we search up a few of those, what have you noticed from this quarter so far?
Oh, well, it just as soon as probably the first 5 minutes, I thought Chirnside Park were a bit chaotic with their ball movement. They weren't really hitting targets up forward, but they just continuously press forward, and they kept entering their 50. And eventually, once you do that, you start to put Surrey Park under a bit of pressure, and you can start hitting the scoreboard. But 2-7 is just it's not an accurate reflection. A 17-point lead is not an accurate reflection of how much they've controlled the game so far.
Yeah, they should be further ahead, shouldn't they, really? Chirnside Park for their dominance. They're kicking around the ground's been poor. We're going to go down to Josh Ward, boundary side, who's with Dave Newlands.
I am with Dave Newlands. Dave, pretty impressive quarter. What do you make of it from the bench?
Yeah, I think we just rely on the wind a bit too much. I think we're taking shots from a bit too far out. So just a matter of now lowering our eyes and using the other way up against the wind and make sure we take on the shorter kicks.
Now, your defence, it was mainly in your forward half, but your defence stood tall really well. How impressed were you with them repelling any attack from Surrey?
Yeah, really good. They played a really good quarter. Just got to make sure they stay on top of this quarter, especially with the ball going to drop in long. So, hopefully we can keep that in ascendancy over them.
And what is the plan against the wind this quarter? Do you hope to lock it in to get it into your forward 50, or just?
Yeah, just make sure we get the ball on our terms and try to control the football as much as possible and keep the game going our way.
Thanks, Dave, and good luck for the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
Thanks to Josh Ward down there on the boundary. A couple of around the ground scores. Premier Division, Park Orchards 2-2, North Ringwood 2-4, Berwick 3 straight, South Croydon 4-2, Roeville 5-3 to Noble Park 2-1. And Ryan, what have you got for us?
Div 2, Ringwood lead 3-3-21 to 2-9 Mulgrave. And then in Div 3, Coldstream, Warrandyte 1-4 apiece. Donvale Scoresby 2-1 apiece. And the Waverley Blues have hit back 4-3-27. They lead Whitehorse 3-3-21.
Yeah, Division 1 a bit lax on the scores. And then we'll just jump down to Division 4. East Ringwood lead Mitcham lead East Ringwood just, but from all reports, East Ringwood have had the play. But a good start from the Tigers nonetheless. Croydon North 7-4-46, Nunawading 3-1-19. So good signs for the Kangaroos as we're up in the middle of the ground for the second quarter. Stevens won the hit out and then followed up for Chirnside Park, and they're on the cricket pitches, so I'm sure the umpires want to remove them from there as we have another stoppage. Has been a lot of stoppages as well in this game. So interesting, Dave Newlands, again, sort of didn't think his side capitalised as much on the win as they should have, so see how Surrey Park go today. So Stevens hit out, Carter coming in, the late in for Clevant. Did well, created some space and then just handballed. He probably had time to kick. Bo Ringer, been impressive. Back to Carter, back to Bo Ringer. He's got Wells there if he needed him, but this time he goes to the kick. Murphy direction, held up in the breeze. Well done by Kenworthy, got the spoil. Harper came through. Couldn't affect anything, and we'll have another stoppage. Half forward flank for Chirnside Park. They're just dominating the clearances, aren't they? And it's that advantage in the ruck. I know Turnus is back on the ground, but Grant Stevens has got so much nous, Ryan, as he wins another one with that vertical leap. Turnus got the secondary hit. It's just toe poked into the corridor. Carter doing well off the wing. Disposed of it just according to the umpire. Garvin sort of threw it forward. Umpire says play on. Johns, Stevens coming through. Slattery, look away hand pass. Stepping in and out of traffic there. Little kick around the corner by McGee. Falling as he kicked. And Surrey Park should be able to clear and run with Mitchell Gale. Low ball down the line. Here's a good one. Merritt drop. Definitely what he should have taken. Burt picks up another disposal. Little poking ball to McGee. And he finds his target there in Daniel McGee on centre wing. Once again, Surrey Park.
Well, that might be the pressure that they're under, that they're missing marks that, should just be able to take.
As it's spoiled out of bounds there by Patrick Hatch. That's twice. So Oberon in the first quarter dropped a mark he probably should have taken. Parker Fox as well dropped a mark he should have taken. And then Robert Merritt there. And that was probably their best piece of play all day, Surrey Park.
And as you said, the clearance is battle at the moment. Chirnside Park just dominating that. And I think that's due to Stevens and Puckering combo in the ruck have got the...
They've just got the advantages. Yeah. Burt steps in and out of travel, does brilliantly, gave it to Grattan Stevens, swings it wider to Slattery. Burt kept running. The league medalist handball back to the ruckman and then had to mix up his own work. He wants a free kick. Bit of a Patrick Dangerfield sort of look at me with the arms splayed as he went to ground, and we'll have a stoppage. So Chirnside maybe over-possessing slightly there because Burt had the run on. But nonetheless, Stevens, again, does well. Becoming a second midfielder. Slattery got the clearance, toe poked it forward. Brendan Murphy comes at it, does well. Kept it just below his shins. There's a lot of numbers around this football. Met. Aaron Burt came in. It was a bit of a sandwich, and the free kick would go the way of Maxwell Brotto. So it's a chance for Surrey Park once again to get some clean footy. Handball off to Mitch Gale, goes long. Got a one-on-one with Molnar. Ober is coming at the footy, got there in the end. Slattery will pick up the mess. Handball over the top to Wells. Wells beats two tacklers, gave it back to Slattery. Slattery comes in board to Stevens. Stevens is tackled by Gale. Good, strong tackle by Mitch Gale, and we'll get a stoppage. 4 to the wing for Surrey Park. So a little bit better there from the Panthers. Surrey Park, that is.
Gets involved a lot, Stevens. They like to look for him, and
I don't know if he's necessarily always been a ruck. Like, he's got a bit about him. Could be like a nice intercept defender, but he's doing so well in the ruck. And as we've mentioned multiple times this pre-season and early rounds of the year, having a strong mobile ruckman in the lower divisions is get you halfway there. So up they go again. Turnus hit down. Burt missed it. Coming through there is Burrell. Just forced it forward, and then Jimmy Wells wraps up the Surrey Park player in a tackle, and we'll have a stoppage. So I'm inside forward 50 for Surrey Park. Yet to kick a goal.
Around the grounds update, Baronia 10-3-63, lead Oakley at 1-3-9 at quarter time, so that's a big lead already.
Slattery came through, handball to Wells. Kicks it out wide to Hollingsworth, who's impressed so far today. Does well to bring it to ground. He should have the legs on his opponent there in Peters. In the end, Peters does well, locked it up, and Hollingsworth came over top and looks to have given away a free kick. And the home crowd don't like it, but it was there. So Lachlan Peters, handball to Burrell. Long ball, top of the square. 2-on-2. Overu came across, brought it to ground. Crummers, Molnar. Should have got a free kick. Does get a free kick. Advantage. Post. Is he going to bring it back? He is. Oh, that's interesting from the umpire. Fallahy took the advantage, snapped it right into the post, but the free kick's going to go to Molnar. It was there for high, but I think the advantage was there as well. But credit to him. Strong whistle.
Again, they looked at Overu. Again, he was up forward. That's their target up forward. But he hasn't been able to.
The way they're delivering it, though, like, does he want to lead at them or does he want it one-on-one? I think he needs to lead because Surrey Park do not have the height at all today. So Molnar.
Must be.
Some reward for a little bit of effort here for Surrey Park. Comes in and he's kicked it just. Umpire looked like it made him work a little bit, but Molnar gets Surrey Park's first of the day. They are 1-2-8. Chirnside Park 2-7-19. We have gone 5 minutes in this second quarter here at Kimberley Reserve on SEN, Eastern FM and EFNL, Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Eastland.
He's a reliable goal kicker. Gets in the right places and kicked 19 goals last year and kicked a couple last week. So he's a dangerous one up forward when he gets in the right spots.
Deceivingly tall too, Molnar. I think something about him, when you look from afar, he doesn't look that tall. But when he's run past or gone in a contest, he can play. I wouldn't say he's a key position player, but he's filling the void at the moment.
He does have some height in this sort of division against some of the players he's playing against. He's matched up against.
So Stevens once again wins the hit out, but it's all Surrey Park. Burrell got his kick, smothered. Nice little handball over the top. Carter fumbled and then ducked his head as Burrell came through. Handball, but it's a free kick for high. You don't mind him protecting the head. Carter takes off immediately with the mullet. Low ball. Bedome's the target. Will it get to him? No, it won't. A lot of numbers back there for Surrey Park. So Patrick Hatch, he started well this quarter. Was a bit quiet in that first one, but getting a bit of it now. Naidu marks, or should have marked, defensive side of the wing. Handball back. Brotto stepped in and out of traffic and then chipped it over the top looking for Merritt. Arms outstretched. Urquhart brought it to ground. Surrey Park Naidu came in. Burrell got a bit of hands on the footy now. Handball over top to Parker Fox. He handballs further afield to Merritt. Now coming through. Daniel. Brotto got through two tacklers, and now Surrey Park are in the clear. Oh no, that's a shocking kick. Got turf toe. Slattery picks up the stub ball. That might be a throw as well. Umpire says play on, and we should have a ball up. Or has it come free again? Once again, Burrell got it forward. Smart's down there, or Fallahy, and we're going to go out of bounds for boundary throw in. That was again probably a bit of a symbol for the day for both sides. They've done some brilliant work, and then the last ball has been, shocking. That was, I don't know exactly what was that Surrey Park player. Luckily, he's on the far side of the ground with no number showing, but almost a fresh air. And they probably should have been having a shot at goal. But Surrey Park, the wind is obviously playing a factor because they've been much more dominant in this quarter. Although Charlton Clevant gets the clearance for Chirnside Park. Has it stayed in the field of play? It has. And it's been knocked out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
And that's a kick Surrey Park are really struggling with in the first quarter. That second one outside the back 50, trying to hit a target. So it'd be interesting to see how Chirnside Park can go there with clearly what looks to be a wind advantage.
So thrown in, Stevens, handball underground looking for Slattery. Burrell came through. He's been impressive this quarter. And we'll have another ball up. Forward of centre wing for Surrey Park. They're 1-2-8, Chirnside 2-7-19. Blustery conditions at the moment here at Kimberley Reserve, but still a beautiful day for football. Stevens won it down, but another tackle this time. Kentworthy on his opponent there in the number 20, Daniel McGee for Chirnside. We can understand now why Dave Newlands was so frustrated with their goal kicking, because it's wreaking havoc at the wind in terms of kicking to the right of screen. As Grattan Stevens gets the ball forward, Hollingsworth made a contest, but it's all Surrey Park on ground level. Slattery dropped the footy. Murphy came through, showed his class. Handball was too hot for his teammate there in Harper. Goes and follows up his good work. Turnus is there. Stevens, Kentworthy now for Surrey Park. Wheels on the left, bombs it long to centre half forward. It's just sort of kept floating with the wind. No one's been able to read it really cleanly down there by any of the forwards, and Fallahy in the end is wrapped up in a tackle. And we'll have a ball up inside forward 50 for Surrey Park. Lachiana thought it was going to float onto his chest, and it went a further 10 metres. So defenders and forwards need to sit very deep left of screen or left of radio dial. Burt, been impressive for Chirnside Park, wins it forward, soccers it to space. Hollingsworth and Peters. Peters has the front spot. Hollingsworth has the closing speed. Kentworthy comes for support. And Hollingsworth wraps up Peters, and we'll have a ball up. Defensive side of the wing for Chirnside Park on the broadcast van side. Chirnside 2-7-19. Surrey Park 1-2-8.
And just
9
around
minutes
the
gone.
grounds, Fair Park 6 straight, 36, lead Glen Waverley 1-7-13. So a bit of accuracy there, and Whitehorse have jumped back in the lead 9-3-57 to 6-4-40 against Waverley Blues.
Good game there. Centre half forward for Chirnside. Slattery's forward. Little chipping ball over the top. Daniel McGee. He's got the run on. Will it set up for him? Coming off his line, doing really well there was the Surrey Park defender. I think it was Hatch. No, sorry, he's the man wearing 16. So we'll need to follow up on that, please, Josh, because he's done incredibly well. We need to shout him out for that work. Thank you, Josh. So Surrey Park do well because McGee was out there. And Slattery looks to be sort of resting forward in a bit of a Dustin Martin role. I know you're a Tigers man.
Oh, we'd like to see
Ryan,
that.
so you'd like that. Murphy in the ruck against Turnus, the 2 number 3s. Murphy got the leap over him. Kentworthy. McGee, Daniel, Slattery's around it, and then we're taking over the boundary line for a boundary throw in front of the new rooms that are, what do you reckon, a couple of years off?
Oh, they're still,
a year off?
Still at least another 2 years, I reckon.
You reckon?
Till it's completely finished.
Yeah,
maybe a year and a
absolutely.
bit.
It's good to see, though. Looks fancy. So Stevens took it out of the ruck. Handball. King kicked the opener today. Samuel got the handball off inboard. That's got to be holding the ball. Callum Harper, he knew it immediately. So Naidu. Surrey Park been a lot better this term, but they still trail by 11 points. Number 16 is Tempany, of course. Thank you, Josh. So doing well down there in defence is Riley Tempany. Coming through, Mitch Gale. Starting to get his hands on the footy. Garvin as well, left footer. Wants Oberu. Poked it out in front of him, but it's going to go to the back. Russell does well. Brings it to ground. Kennedy, 151st game for the club. Got his handball over the top looking for Merritt, who wraps up the Chirnside Park defender in a tackle. Looks like it might be Blake Daniel there. And we're going to have a ball up.
Well, that's where he was.
Trent Russell, apologies.
That was where he was very dangerous last week, Kennedy. Pushed forward a bit and was right around the stoppages that was able to kick a couple.
Well, he's got it again out of the stoppage. Swings onto the right boot. Top of the goal square. Oberu's down there. No one can take a mark. Lachiana, fresh air. And it's going to go out for a boundary throw-in, I believe.
Stuck.
Yeah, it's hit the padding there. Apologies to Riley Tempany. We did have that number. Just got to look right down the bottom of the list now for him. So thrown in deep inside forward 50 for Surrey Park. Merritt going up against Urquhart, who had that big fly in the first quarter, Kieran Urquhart. Fantastic one. Goes up again. Won the hit out down. Dangerous spot. Fella, he's there. Got a right foot kick around the body. Out of bounds on the full. It looked immediately
I thought he kicked the goal for it.
Well, that's what I mean. The crowd sort of went up the little gathering behind the goals. But in the end, no one on the ground went up. So it was out of bounds on the full. So we're going to have to wait for this ball to come back. We just want to say thank you to the Chirnside Park Football Club. Their service has been top notch.
Brilliant.
There's hot dogs, pies, pasties. Lee's coming down the ladder now. He's abandoned his camera. As the ball comes back from Anthony Drive. Chirnside Park 2-7-19. Surrey Park 1-2-8. We got any more around the ground scores? Ryan is Chirnside clear their defensive lines. It's on that far side. We're going to go out of bounds again. That wind is clearly blowing to that pocket of the ground because that's where the play's been mostly situated. What have you got for us, Ryan?
Yes, back in an update in Division 3, Coldstream have skipped ahead 3-6-24 to Warrandyte 2-5-17, so that's one to look forward to. Baronia, as we said, we're 63-9. Ringwood Mulgrave still the same, 21 each, sorry, apiece, 3-3 to 2-9. So a few sides with a similar.
A couple of surprising results as well there. Like I wouldn't have expected Mulgrave to be so close, and as you mentioned, Coldstream would have backed Warrandyte to beat them.
And obviously, Div 1 Moolbark 3-4-22 in front of Beaconsfield 1-5-11. That's just come through now.
So tapped down by Turnus for Surrey Park. So it's just been locked up on their half-forward flank, and it's pretty much where the ball's been the whole day. It's been on that far side of Kimberley Reserve. If you've ever been to Kimberley Reserve, it's that far forward flank down towards the shopping centre, and just with the wind, it's just been blown to that pocket. As coming away with it now is Surrey Park. A little goose step from the big fella there in Merritt, and it's smothered. And now Chirnside could be away through the ruckman puckering, slams it on the boot. It's a one-on-one there. McConnell, Kentworthy came across though with a good double fist, gets it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Josh Ward almost got a touch there. Our boundary right up. Chirnside Park 2-7-19 lead by 11 points. 13.5 minutes gone. Second quarter here on the EFNL Match of the Round, SEN App, EasternFM 98.1, Facebook and YouTube. Just forced forward by Surrey Park. Burt took on the tackle as he stepped in and out and then slammed it on the boot. Been incredibly hard to tackle today. McGee fell over trying to mark the ball, then clutched it to his chest. The umpire's setting himself. He's going to ping him, holding the ball. That was absolutely there, McGee. lost his footing a couple of times today. Kentworthy, who claimed the free kick, plays on immediately with that raking left foot inside forward 50. Urquhart did really well, knocked it to ground. Ober's got the ball, handball over top to Fallahy. Can he run into an open goal? Little check side, bounces through. Surrey Park get their second through Fallahy. And they jump to 2-2-14. Chirnside Park lead them by 5 points now, 2-7-19. And there's just been two behinds all day, Ryan, to the right of screen as we go down to Josh Ward on the boundary.
I've been really impressed with Kenworthy as well. He set up that goal down there. I think Chirnside Park, it did well last week against Kilsyth. Chirnside Park, I really think they need to get a defensive forward onto him. Otherwise, he's going to keep creating chances like that.
That was good stuff from Naburu, who could have blazed away at goal, but saw Fallahy was open.
He showed some poise, didn't he?
Yeah, just a bit of time to take the care and make sure they
got value for their effort there. As the hit out by Turnus, but Slattery read it best, got the handball back to the middle of the ground. Turnus got bowled by the bit of a leg spin up. Puckering's handball, too hot for his teammate, so he went and got it again. Great effort from the big fella. Daniel took on a tackler, and the umpire says we'll have it again. So we haven't really gone anywhere. 5 points the difference now. The two Panther outfits struggling to score to the right of screen. The breeze is really holding up. You've got to keep it low heading that direction. So the clearance goes the way of Chirnside Park out to this wing position. Hollingsworth, been impressive. Doesn't get much of it, but when he gets it, he does something with it. Peters, good tackle. Umpires pinged him for holding the ball. Commentators cursed there on Jake Hollingsworth. I apologise to him. He's still impressed me as Peters plays on, uses the corridor. His target over the back has to sit and wait, but it eventually got to him. Burrell plays on, onto the left foot, low, drilling ball, looking for Merritt over the top. It might bounce all the way through, Hamish Burrell. No, it's hit the top of the post padding. I've never seen that before. Stiff. He's incredibly stiff there, Hamish Burrell. He's got it behind, so Surrey Park 2-3-15. They're starting to get on top, but that just dribbled all the way through and just clipped the top of the padding, the sports cover padding. So it's back to 4 points here. 16 minutes gone. So all of a sudden, it's the tale of two quarters so far, Ryan. As Burt brings it in, hooks to that far side looking for Robert Johns. Both bald and of similar height, so apologies for confusing you two.
And that really frustrated Dave Newlands now that they couldn't capitalise in that first quarter when they did have all the play.
I thought Burt left the goal square there, but evidently not. So it's a free kick on the way of Parker Fox, who is another one of those players who's impressed when he got it. You'd like to see him get more of it. He goes long to the top of the square. That might have the journey as well. Good hand on it by Trent Russell. And now that's that kick where Parker Fox needs to either back himself to really have a shot for goal, or if he's going to aim for the top of the goal square, remember with the wind, you're better off kicking it 20 metres out in front, aren't you, Ryan?
Let the players lead into it.
Every player's been caught out by it today, and we've been going almost 45 minutes of game time. Not one player has read the wind either end.
No.
So this time it looks to be Russell bringing it out. Goes almost like the outside of the boot, looking for Slattery. If it'll hold up, it'll get there to him. It won't, but Burt picks it up from the spoil. Just kicks to space. McGee overran it. We'll have to go back. Kentworthy's there. Goes to his knees, but he'll end up with the footy, and then he'll be thrown over the boundary line. And we will have a ball up, just inside the boundary line. So
Burt's been impressive so far.
I think Burt's been Chirnside's best.
Found a lot of the ball at the half-back line.
He's playing half-back, but I wouldn't mind seeing him on the ball because he can just step in and out of the clearances and the tackles so well, and he's a strong
Very
core.
quick.
Hard to tackle as Puckering wins this hit out. Slapped forward by Surrey Park. Like Daniel got back. Just rolled into the tackle. Then Parker Fox, the two number fours. Does well. Daniel's still got the footy. He might have to ping him here, the umpire.
Taking a long time.
He's thought about it. He's called it in. He really should have pinged him, to be honest. Daniel was taken to ground and then kept hold of the ball. He said, play on. Parker Fox dragged him around like a rag doll. The young fella. Puckering wins it down. Kennedy slams it on the left boot. Who's under it? Merritt. Well done there by Matthew King, the youngster. Slaps it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So Chirnside Park defending grimly at the moment. They lead by 3 points, but all the players with Surrey Park 2-4-16. The visitors, Chirnside Park 2-7-19 yet to score this quarter. We've gone 18 and a half minutes in this second term on EFNL game day. It's going to be thrown in here at Kimberley Reserve. Ground is looking the best it's been in a while. Urquhart was in the back spot, won the hit out over Merritt. Coming through there was Oliver Anderson. He gets taken to ground. We'll have another stoppage. I'm glad you're not doing the clearance count properly here, Ryan, because you'd be running out of room.
Yeah.
Thrown up again. Urquhart down. Merritt's around this one. And Matthew King, beautiful poise from the youngster, stepped in and out of traffic and then kicked it out towards Brendan Murphy and Jack McLaren. McLaren clipped it in play in an interesting style. Picking it up now there is Daniel Smart. Now Surrey will enter forward 50 again, but no real clean possession as it's just gone to the back on the ground. Nice pick up from Slattery to Burt. Back to, looks like, is it Russell? No, it's Jimmy Wells. Left foot snap around the body's going to work. They've taken a mark at half back and they'll just need to settle and try to find some clean possession for a while here, Ryan, and it's in the hands of McGee.
I think eventually they're going to have to look to start switching the ball because every time they go out this way, it comes about right here and it's a turnover.
Well, on cue, the mark taken there by McLaren, who's been impressive as well for Surrey Park. They're kicking it in the air, both sides have, and the wind just wreaks havoc. Keep it low. Long ball, inside forward 50. Wells brought it down for Chirnside Park. At his feet, it was all Surrey Park, though. Russell got a little boot forward, though, out of the danger, and the mark is taken, this time by Robert Johns. And I really hope he doesn't just bomb it down the line. At least he kept it a little bit lower. That wind is taking it all the way to the boundary line, out of bounds on the full. So Surrey Park, they need to bring it this side. When you're attacking, you've got to open the game up, surely, Ryan.
Well, that's their problem. It's gone back and forth. It
is kick to kick.
Straight on that wing, and neither side can really find it.
So Parker Fox has run underneath it, but you get the crumbs, slammed on the boot. Good pressure from Chirnside Park, from Johns, meant they couldn't get it forward. And then a little bit laissez-faire from McGee. Oberu came through, and then wrapped up the defender, and we'll have another ball up. So Oberu has impressed this quarter.
You're right, Matt, though. Someone does need one side needs to open this game up a bit.
It's to be Surrey Park this quarter. When you're kicking with the wind, you've got to bring it to this side. Make a bit of space because Chirnside Park are happy to just keep defending where there's heaps of numbers. If someone takes a pack mark, so be it. But with their height advantage, Chirnside Park, they're probably going to take more of those pack marks than Surrey Park as we get another stoppage. So, yeah, I think...
Well, you're right.
Dave Jensen will be pulling his beautiful grey hair out. A very distinguished man, David Jensen. I enjoy his look, but he'll be pulling his hair out because they've had all the dominance. Kent Worthy showed the way, used the corridor. I know he's a left footer, so it helped him, but used the corridor to create that advantage. So just forward of the centre wing for Surrey Park. Kennedy came through, dropped it, and then McGee came through and dropped it. The umpire said play on, and now Harper's wrapped up a Surrey Park midfielder and we'll have a ball up. 20 minutes gone. We're ticked into time on. It won't be a particularly long quarter, this one. On EFNL game day, Chirnside 2-7-19, Surrey Park 2-4-16. Heavily contested game. Stevens and Oberu. Stevens does well again. Tapped it to himself. And Charlton Clevant couldn't take it cleanly. And we'll go up again. Any around the ground scores of note for us, Ryan?
Not too many updates. Warrandyte back in front against Coldstream, 4-5-29 to 3-7-25.
As the ball comes inside forward 50 from Surrey Park, long ball to the top of the square. Molnar's got the sit, but doing well there is Burt once again for Chirnside Park, knocking it through for a rush behind. And the kicker for Surrey Park is taking a while to get back up there. Josh will keep an eye on that, no doubt. He is really struggling to get up. He looks like a little bit of a cork there. It might have been Oliver Anderson. So 2-5-17 Surrey Park, Chirnside 2-7-19. The kicker in wants to stop in the game, and we'll get that stop. So around the grounds while we can, Ryan.
Croydon North 8-9-57 to Nuttawading 4-6-30. Still no update on Kilsyth and Forest Hill. Anyone else? We got the... Yeah, that's just about it for the moment.
No stretch at the moment, which is a good sign. At the moment... it just looks like he's just copped an ankle tap as he's gone to kick. So he's coming off the ground now. Oliver Anderson, I believe.
No stretcher.
Believe it's Oliver Anderson, and I'm sure if we are incorrect, Josh will update us. So this game at the moment, it's hard to sort of be bullish on someone because of the fact that both sides, it's pretty much been identical quarters. Surrey Park defended grimly, got lucky with some inaccurate goal kicking. Now this quarter, Chirnside Park have probably defended a bit better.
I think they have.
But Surrey Park have attacked probably slightly more frustratingly and haven't been unlucky with their goal kicking. It's just been more their delivery because they've actually been cleaner once they've had their opportunities. So Chirnside Park will once again go to that defensive side. All numbers with Surrey Park, and Turnus uses his height advantage.
I think they're happy to play this out to the quarter if they can just keep this play. Yes.
So Turnus puts it to a better position. Merritt's underneath it, and he might take the mark. Dropped it on the second attempt. Coming through there was Jimmy Wells. Got his handball away. Laciana, one of his few touches so far this game, is wrapped up in a tackle. And we'll have a stoppage inside forward 50 for Surrey Park. They have to make the most of this one. But there's just so many numbers around the ball. No one's got any width around the contest. Stevens slaps it forward for Chirnside Park. Naidu should get there first. Hits it at speed. Couldn't take it cleanly. And it's out of bounds for a boundary throw. It's almost like it's wet. The players, no one's been able to really just juke it.
Well, that might have been their best chance there with Molnar. Not so far on the wing, not so far on the flank. That was more of an inbound kick.
Yeah, it was a better kick from Turnus. Thrown in. Stevens wins it down. Johns took on the first tackle, got the handball to Bo Ringer. Has been quiet this quarter, but gets his kick away long down the line. Really should have taken the mark there, Hatch. Now it's pinballing around. Murphy tried to slap it forward. Harper came in, or McConnell, sorry. And then we're going to have a ball up as Harper is wrapped up into tackle. So the 39 and 79 for Chirnside Park. Working hard. So this is an opportunity for Chirnside because Stevens has been dominating the ruck. If they can get a clearance, their best opportunity. Comes out back to Samuel King. Slams it on the boot. Goes forward. We should get another stoppage here for Chirnside. This time on half forward. So it's been 24 minutes this quarter, and I reckon 22 of them have been parked between centre wing and Surrey Park's half forward line. We're now on Chirnside Park's half forward flank.
And just around the grounds of Premier Division, Rowville 8-3-51, lead Noble Park 6-2-38.
Bit of a comeback from Noble. Chaz Clevant, long ball to the top of the square. Surrey Park underneath it. Good mark taken back there by Haynes. Now, really should come to this side of the ground, but he goes short. The kick will just get there to the man on the bounce here, Daniel Smart. Really good pick-up. Went down the line looking for Turners, and then Robert Johns came across, got a good side fist to the ball. Burt and Slattery there. Burt's got it. He'll want to give it to Slattery. No, comes inside. Got his kick smothered, and now it's all Surrey Park. Long ball to the top of the centre half forward. Floats inside forward 50. Fallahy couldn't trap it. Coming through, Matthew King did well. Stepped in and out of traffic. Gave it to Blake Daniel. Wrapped up by Oberu. Umpire said he goes handball to it. Oberu goes back and gets his footy. Then he gets wrapped up, holding the ball. Good second effort there. Looks like Jimmy Wells. And once again, Chirnside Park come out of that unscathed. Carry on around the grounds, Ryan.
Also, King's been a very important player down back as well, being able to get a few intercepts. Berwick, they trail South Croydon 3-3-21 to 7-3-45. Doncaster 0-4 to Norwood 2-3. And Park Orchards 2-2-14 to North Ringwood's 2-4-16.
Yeah, that hasn't been updated in a while, but some interesting games around the grounds. If you have got any scores, let us know. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Message us if you've got our contacts. Let us know as it's gone to centre wing. Chaz Clevant kicks it down the line. It's all Lachlan Peters here. Has he kept it in? Van Rapper says he has. And then really, in hindsight, he should have let it go out because he's given the ball away. Free kick. Dead on centre wing, going the way of Chirnside Park for out of bounds on the full. It'll go to Ben Slattery. Obviously won the league medal last year. Played plenty of football and plenty of different places at Croydon and Mooroolbark in the upper divisions of the Eastern Football Netball League. He's played a bit of Eastern Rangers as well in his time. Not the only player out there, of course, with VFL experience for Chirnside. As I mentioned, Brendan Murphy, back in 2003, 4 and 5. So Slattery runs around and then kicks towards the corridor. It won't get to Stevens. He'll get a run and jump at it. Came across about 3 or 4 deep. Then kicks smothered. And now it's coming out there. Smith just slams it on the boot towards Oberu down there, just forward of the wing. The bounce goes towards the centre corridor. Picking up his Lachiana. Good tackle by Jimmy Wells, who hasn't had much of the footy, but he's been worth every dollar of what they're paying him, Chirnside Park, as a defender today. We go up again. Can't be long left in this quarter. 26 and a half minutes gone. Lachiana went up. Burrell been around it a bit more this quarter. Floated inboard. Urquhart attacked it and then backpedaled. And then Matthew King and Renan Fallahy watch it go over the line for a boundary throw. And it looks like he's the deepest forward at the moment. No, there's one. There's Russell down
boundary
there. As we go to Josh Ward on the boundary side.
Ollie Anderson's out for the rest of the game. It's a hamstring injury, so it's a bit of a blow for Surrey.
Disappointing for Anderson. He is out for the day with a hamstring. Thank you once again to Josh Ward down there on the boundary line. Thrown in. Coming through. Kicking and goaling. Surrey Park. They've hit the front. Dominance all this quarter. Beautiful work there. It looks to be
Mitchell Gale,
who I don't think he touched the ball in the first quarter, but he just burst through the pack there at the stoppage. Chirnside Park lacks at the stoppage. They've been dominant all day at that sort of point, Ryan. So it's disappointing to concede a goal direct from it. Came through, slammed it on the boot and kicked it straight, which has been pretty hard to do today. They're 3-5-23, Chirnside 2-7-19. 4 points the difference, just about ticked over 28 minutes here in the second quarter. And well done to Surrey Park, they've fought their way back.
And if they are to get up today, they're going to be looking at people like Mitchell Gale and Kennedy. Those are the ones last week against Kilsyth, especially in that second half when they really stormed ahead. They were dominant, coming in the midfield, but also then pushing forward and being dangerous as he was just there.
So Oberu did well, tapped it down and then won it off the ground. They can pitch another one here. Merritt couldn't get his hands to the footy. Lachiana came through. Russell pokes it out wide towards McGee and Jimmy Wells. It might set up for Brotto coming through. We've got good spin from Jimmy Wells. Got the handball forward. His teammate wasn't quite expecting it. And in the end, Surrey Park will probably take that after Wells spun around. And we'll have a ball up just defensive side of centre wing. So Chirnside, after dominating the first quarter, really should have kicked 4 or 5 goals from some of the opportunities they have there. 2-7-19, Surrey Park will lead at half-time, 3-5-23, thanks to that late goal from Mitchell Gale, who's impressed in the second quarter after a quiet first term. It's half-time here on EFNL Match of the Round, brought to you by Eastland on SEN Eastern FM 98.1, EFNL Facebook and YouTube. Chirnside 2-7-19, the Surrey Park 3-5-23.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Kimberley Reserve here for EFNL Eastland Match of the Day. It's Chirnside Park, 2-7-19, trailing Surrey Park 3-5-23. Matthew Fodia here in the hot seat with Ryan Long and Josh Ward. Gentlemen, as we eat our beautiful lunch provided by the Chirnside Park Football Netball Club, what's your read on the game, Ryan? I've heard plenty of you, so I'll go to Josh first. Josh, you've been on the boundary. You're obviously close to the play because the play keeps staying on that side of the ground. Do you agree with Ryan and I that the attacking side, who's got the win, key left of screen, needs to somehow open the game up and use the corridor as much as possible?
It definitely does. It's been very much a scrap down on that side. So yeah, whether it's Chirnside, whether it's Surrey, they need to go towards this broadcast side. I've been impressed with both teams' defence. You know, yes, it's been mainly down that end of the ground, but they've still had to stop a couple of attacks, and they've done really well. Surrey Park's marshalled by James, the 2 number 9s actually both marshalling their defence, Kenworthy and Kieran Urquhart. I've been really impressed by those two. But yeah, it's this game, if it wants to open up, they need to come towards this side, because yeah, it's going nowhere if you're kicking towards the far side.
And I think that last goal hurts them, because other than that, I think Chirnside Park had probably been the far better side. And that first quarter, they probably should have been 3 or 4 goals up. But in that second quarter, I think they were happy to just let them stay on that side of the field. Every time they were going forward, I think Chirnside Park got a bit more height than Surrey Park do in Surrey Park's forward line. So if it was just really that last couple of minutes where they started to look inboard a little bit more, and they'll be able to get Gal involved and around the clearances. Kennedy did a bit earlier in that quarter. But this is a big quarter now. This third quarter, they've got to be.
Well, you'd be nervous.
3 or 4 goals up.
A lot of there's already pressure on Chirnside Park. So that opening quarter, they were excited. They had the play. I was really impressed with them. But now, knowing that Surrey Park can do the same thing with the wind, there's almost pressure on them. You've got to capitalise. They can't go in 3/4 time only a goal ahead.
No.
I think both sides, though, refusing to risk it and spread. The spread's been more disappointing from Surrey Park, because we know that was their strength last year. They had the big ground. And like Coldstream, they got out of the stoppage and they spread and they moved the ball. And, they didn't have a lot of goals with blokes coming out of the goal square marking it. And they still won't this year. They don't have a key forward that's going to take the game apart. They're going to kick a lot of goals with small forwards like Fallahy and that, running onto the ball, kicking goals, running into open goals. But they're not spreading. And yes, it's hard because Chirnside got numbers behind the play. But you've got to spread the defence. Like you said, Chirnside Park are happy to have 10 players in that back pocket, kick it high in the air. If you clunk it, good on you, because it's a tough spot to kick from. They've got to spread those defenders out. If you can spread them out, it creates more gaps for either players to run and have a shot at a goal like a Kentworthy or a Gale, who can kick it quite a distance, Josh. Or it allows Obu, Molnar to lead at the footy, or even Lachiana, because they can't just keep kicking it high. Because Chirnside have all the height. There's only one player in the ground that's taller than a Chirnside player, and it's Callum Turners.
And if they don't, that's exactly what the point I was going to make. Just lower the eyes, which I don't think they didn't look like they lowered the eyes too much that quarter when they really needed to, especially with the ball on that side of the ground. But it's they need to either side, they need to lower the eyes when they're going into attacking 50, or not just bomb it long, particularly Surrey Park, because they've got such a very small forward line. But it will be. This quarter is massive, and it will be interesting to see if either of them lower the eyes and take advantage of the win.
The player that's really impressed me from Chirnside Park the most, there's been numbers, like Urquhart's been impressive in both quarters. Hollingsworth impressed me when the ball's been in his area. Jimmy Wells is another one behind the ball. We've already spoken about Matthew King, but Aaron Burt so far is probably the front runner for our player of the day, I would say. Ryan, his way that it's been so hard to tackle him when he has got the footy. And then not only that, it looks like he's got quite a penetrating kick, and to be honest, if he had his time back again, he'd probably put the ball on the boot a bit more in that first quarter when he was running through the centre corridor.
And I think he's that perfect sort of player in that quarter when Surrey Park do have all the momentum to have on a half-back to be able to steady the ship. And as soon as he gets the ball, you're confident with him that he skills that he's going to make the right decisions. But as you did mention in that second quarter, do you put him in the middle of the ground? Like when I'm assuming this quarter they'll probably
maybe when they're
more of the play
win.
This quarter. So maybe you do look to push him up the ground just a little bit to hopefully be able to open the game up a bit and find some targets forward.
Lean with me here. Chirnside Park kicking with the win. Now, rather than just keeping their same structure, do you roll a lot of your forwards up the ground and leave Badome and maybe one more, maybe Hollingsworth deep, and allow a lot of your play to come from half-back and run? Because I think there's just it's actually quite a small area, that forward line, and when you've got all the play down there, you need to clear out some room. That's one thing Chirnside Park will have. They might also rest Puckering. Has he been coming to the bench, Josh? The ruckman, have they been swapping on and off the bench?
Yeah, they've been swapping on.
I wouldn't be surprised if you threw a Stevens or a Puckering forward to give them another marking target if a lot of the play is just going to be Surrey Park defenders plugging up the hole.
Well, the dome works best for Chirnside Park when he's got that space that he can lead into. So at the moment, if that's the sort of play that he's going to be getting in the third quarter, he's not going to be really able to have much of an option. You don't want to bomb it on top of his head. You don't want to give that, and that gives a chance to Surrey Park's defence, a few of their defenders, to come back and spoil him. And they did that in the first quarter. They had, I think they had Hatch down their back who would float in front of him. So
Hatch and McLaren had about 30 touches in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, so if you're going to look for him, I think you open up that forward 50. Maybe push the half forwards up a bit, give him that space to lead into, and hopefully get him involved in that third quarter.
Who are the key players? We've got a couple of minutes before the break. Who are the key players, Josh, first for you, that can swing the game for Surrey Park or Chirnside?
I reckon for Surrey Park, James Kenworthy. He did have some of the ball, especially in that first quarter, but I think with his raking left foot and his composure down back, I think he can marshal the troops and kickstart an attack. I think he'll be a key player for Chirnside Park. I'm actually going to go with the other number 9, Kieran Urquhart. I think he can do the exact same as Kenworthy. So, those will be two key players for these last couple of quarters.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Bo Ringer up forward in that first quarter was quite dominant, so I think he's the one to watch in this third quarter. And also, I do like King down back. I don't think
poise.
He's got a bit of poise, and I think he was quite good in that second quarter when they were stemming the flow. But I'd also, for Surrey Park, I'd like to see Kennedy get involved more. He was very good last week, and he might be a key in the middle.
You want him to have more clean possessions. He's had a bit of it, but he's always under pressure. We're going to go to a break here on EFNL Match of the Day, and when we come back, it'll be the second half between Chirnside Park and Surrey Park.
Trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing kickboxing personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Kimberley Reserve. Perfect timing on our part. The second half is just about to get underway in this Panther off in Division 4. It's Chirnside Park 2-7-19, the hosts against Surrey Park 3-5-23. Matthew Fodia in the hot seat with Ryan Long. And Ryan, before the second half kicks off, what have you got for us around the grounds?
A couple around the grounds. Berwick trailing South Croydon 4-3-27 to 8-3-51. Park Orchards 4-6-30, lead North Ringwood 4-4-28. I'm assuming that needs to be updated still. Norwood 6-12-48 to Doncaster 2-8-20. Haven't got an update on Roval Noble Park yet. In Division 2, Bronya have skipped out to a 101-point lead at half-time. 123 to 22. So it's a big lead over the Oakley district. East Burwood 7-4-46 lead Templestowe 4-3-27, and Ringwood Mulgrave 5-4-34 to 5-2-32.
Back in the middle of the ground now, Aaron Burt. That man, he's been put on the ball and he takes the first centre clearance. A Mungle inside forward 50. Naidu tackled almost immediately as he grabbed it in the air. Ball comes free. Brendan Murphy bursts away, shows a turn of pace, then hooks it to the top of the square. Hollingsworth bounces over the top of the him and will go through for a behind. So Chirnside Park start off with a behind, and by all reports, Doncaster is held goalless by Vermont in the first quarter, so a few big calls on the Lions might be going down south to start. We haven't heard from Ben Warren Smith, so that's a good sign for Vermont fans as Kentworthy plays on immediately, brings it out to this commentary side. Interesting that Surrey Park and Kentworthy, as the ball's punched over the line for a boundary throw-in, have tried to come this side when defending the ground.
But didn't... Yeah, well, that's interesting when...
I would do the opposite.
Yeah, they needed to. And they wasted about 15 minutes on the other side in that second quarter. So
yeah, well, I'm saying, but now Surrey Park are defending as Turnus didn't win the hit out and thought I better do the roving, and he's been wrapped up by Bo Ringer.
Because really, if they can keep Chirnside Park to 2 goals or less in that quarter, they're going to...
How about this, Ryan? The winner will be the person who kicks a goal to the right of screen. Yeah. It has been... I don't know why those people are hanging behind the goals down there. As Bo Ringer takes it from the clearance, kick went straight into Gale, his opposite number. And we'll have a boundary throw in. That... I get what I think Chirnside is the team that needs to play this side of the ground because it leaves that pocket, leaves where the space is, where the wind's going to go. Surrey Park, I would have thought, hug that boundary line for dear life. But at the moment, what would I know? Sitting in here in the van. As Stevens wins yet another hit out. Harper, handball. McGee, boundary line, fence, crowd. Can't do that in South Australia. That'd be quarantine. It's been over the fence there, touching the unwashed out here at Kimberley Reserve. EFNL match of the day. 2 minutes gone, third term. Panther off. Stevens, Turnus. Into the corridor. Murphy locking arms with his opponent. Made some room for Daniel McGee to get his hands on it. Bird is wrapped up by Laciano, who just dropped it. Ryan Kennedy, your man, got the handball away. And now they're coming through Surrey Park, but great pressure. And it'll come back through Slattery of Chirnside Park. Nice kick looking for Hollingsworth. Can Peters get there? He can. And he'll gather his own spoil and just slam it on the boot. Burrell, will he get there in time? Got there on the half volley, knocked into space. Parker Fox needs to support him. The handball from Burrell's out in front. He'll chase up his own footy, kept forcing it forward, and eventually it goes over the line for a boundary throw-in. So great work from Lachlan Peters there because Slattery's kick was low, Ryan. That's what we've been calling for, but it held up long enough for Peters to get the fist in.
And they switch across the other side of the field too. I know we've been saying it's all about the other way around, but with the ball on this side, there's a pack of numbers every time.
Absolutely. So Burt got the clearance up to Stevens' hit down, kicked it on to Kentworthy, who slammed it on his boot high in the air, and a good mark taken by Callum Harker. That should be 50, and it is 50. That is silly by Bitchell Gale. He's careful not to give away 25 metres and then not give away a 50 by getting too close to the man on the mark. So Callum Harper now wants his right boot, then his left, and now he might have put himself in a knot. Kicks it high to the pocket. Badome gets to the front spot. Good spoil by Tempany, but crumbing and goaling is McGee. That's Daniel. Great goal for Chirnside Park. They're back in front, 3-8-26. Surrey Park 3-5-23, and that's probably the goal of the day, Ryan.
It has to be, and that's what you need to have around Badome. He's obviously got 1 or 2 on him at all times, and if you can get in front of him, just be able to crumb the ball from him and set yourself up for an opportunity for goal, and that's exactly what they've done there with a good stuff by McGee.
And one under Harper tied himself in a knot, but it was still quick. And I think that's the disappointing thing about that 25-metre penalty is the fact that Harper had marked it, literally, he may as well have been boundary riding for us. And there was no way to kick goal from where he had it. 25-metre, the defence can't set up and get their numbers back. And under Badome, he didn't get his hands on it, but he created a contest. And Tempany spoil went straight into the hands of McGee. So we're back in the middle again. Stevens taps it down. Callum Harper wraps up this Surrey Park midfielder. So Surrey Park are 1 down, of course, with Oliver Anderson with a hamstring. Stevens and Turner. Stevens taps it. Slattery. Stevens' hit out to advantage is incredibly high, Ryan.
It is, and it's just so handy that you've got him there. That not only in the hit outs that he's dominating every single one, he can also rove pretty much to himself.
Burt smothered Kennedy's kick and then got the rebound and low drilling ball. Peters got the front spot. Brendan Murphy roved it, gave it to Charlie Clevant. Or Charlton. Chaz, left foot ball around the body, could fall onto the chest of a Chirnside Park player, and it does. And an important kick here for Chirnside Park because they had similar opportunities in the first quarter and couldn't make them pay. And it is McGee again. Lachlan McGee. Sorry, Daniel McGee. Apologies. It was Daniel lining up for his second. There's 2 of them and they've both changed jumpers, so bear with me. But he kicked a nice snapping, roving goal before and then was in the right place at the right time from that Charlton Clevant snap. So it comes in, little stutter step, kicks through it, kicks straight. 2 in a minute for Chirnside Park. They jump out to 4-8-32. Surrey Park 3-5-23. And all of a sudden, it's game on for Chirnside.
Well, how big a difference when you start converting your shots, and that's what they need to do in that first quarter. But this is a good opportunity now. They're obviously back on top in the clearances, and this is where you can get it, because once the ball gets trapped over there, that's where it's hard to find scores. But from the centre clearances, it's a bit wider open, and that's where McGee was able to lead up and take the mark then.
And they're moving it quickly, Chirnside. Burt obviously got it on the boot quickly under pressure, but the way that Murphy and Clevant, there was none of this trying to find the perfect pass. It's not that day for it. So ball in the middle of the ground. Stevens is dominating in the middle. Turnus won that hit out and then had to rove it himself. Needs a handball. In the end, decided to go around all his options and slam it on the boot. Puts it out to half-forward flank. Burrell, been impressive for Surrey Park. Got the handball inboard to Mitch Gale. Slams it high on the boot. Kennedy's underneath. This should mark and does. So could we have our first genuine shot at goal to the right of screen here? I don't think he's going to have the journey. The breeze is blowing right through the window here at the broadcast van. Yeah, he is a good set shot, though. He did kick a couple last week, I think, from set shots. But still, I don't know if it's a tough ask. So he's going to kick it from, you'd say, just on 40, maybe a little bit further out, right into this breeze. So it's not, he doesn't have to hang it out anywhere. He's just got to get the journey. So Ryan Kennedy, for one, right against the run of play. And for the first goal to the right of screen, just crosses the line, hooked it to the top of the square. Is it going to come back? Top of the square it is. And there's a grab! All's well that ends well for Surrey Park. I think Kennedy's going to claim it. And it's Mitchell Molnar who's taken the grab, and he should convert from 10 metres out directly in front. Well, those are the ones that really are coach killer, that you don't have anyone fly up for the ball. I think Stevens was there at the back, but other than that, Mullen just came in. Well, the wind wreaked havoc. It looked like... It did, yes. I agree with you. Stevens looked like he was going to swallow it, and then it just dropped. And Molnar, as you said, read it best. He's already kicked one today, is Mitchell Molnar, from a similar situation at the other end of the ground. It's still a difficult kick with this breeze swirling. Just kick through it, Mitchell. Comes in, stabbed at it, and he's missed. The second person to not heed my advice, Ryan, and he's paid the price. That is going to hurt. They are the only team to score to the right of screen today, but they've scored 3 behinds. Even one of those goes through, and it's a different ball game. 3-6-24 to 4-8-32. Chirnside in front. And Trent Russell bring it back in. So this is the side that you'd like to see him go to? Chirnside, definitely, because you can bring it through the corridor. Urquhart flies. Brought it down. Slattery crumbs. Handball back to Urquhart. His left footer. Kicked it. High up and under. Will it stay in the field of play? Kentworthy's underneath it. Does well to get his hands to it. Might have got a shove. Umpire says nothing doing. And we'll have a ball in dead on centre wing. I think it just opens up the game with the wind bringing the ball towards the corridor rather than the boundary line. Especially when the young boundary umpire throws it in. Lovely little melee. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks like a young Jet Carter. Thrown in. Stevens, Turner. Stevens won the hit out and then roved it himself. Got the handball in a unique style to Slattery. Then on his hands and knees, flicked it out again to Blake Daniel. Wrapped up in a strong tackle, and the umpire says, give it to me. Good tackle there from Daniel Smart. That's a nice... Daniel Smart. It's a champion's name, isn't it? So Turner slapped it forward, bit of territory. Can Barrel get there ahead of Slattery? Can. Toe pokes it forward. Nice mark taken down there. Shane Hall, one of his few touches, swings it immediately to the far side. Jimmy Wells brought it to ground. McGee, Lachlan pokes it out wide. Got Hollingsworth, takes the mark. Will he play on immediately? Little short ball, might have been Samuel King even. Apologies. Dropped mark at centre half forward. The toe puck comes out wide. It was Hollingsworth. Got his handball. Missed McGee, and now comes Lachlan Peters storming off half back. Handball spilt again by Smith. Back into the middle to Kentworthy. Got a kick on him, but he gave it off to a runner. Mitch Gale, booming ball, one-on-one. Urquhart, no brew. Urquhart does well. Couldn't bring it down. Molnar's there. So is it Lachiana. Obrew now picks it up. Handball back to Gale, who went and followed up his good kick before. Obrew picks it up. Second attempt, third attempt, finally gets clean possession. Handball back. The fend off by Merritt was good on Slattery. Doesn't want his left foot. Pokes it to the pocket. Won't be far enough. And the umpire has paid a mark, although he has, to Urquhart. He did very well back there. Once again, Surrey Park, they had so many numbers. Merritt gave the fend off and then went onto his wrong boot. Well, that's one. Urquhart 2-on-1 then. Just did well just to be able to keep the ball away from them and keep it alive. It's coming back though. Surrey Park on top at the moment. Peters, high ball to centre half forward, but great mark. Aaron Burt running back with the flight. Takes an intercept mark and immediately plays on. The game's opening up a bit, Ryan. This is good. Out to Hall. Little chipping ball down the line. Is looking for McGee, who kicked those 2 goals in a minute. goes out of bounds. So just ticked over 10 minutes here in this third quarter. The game is starting to open up, Ryan. It's 3-6-24 Surrey Park, Chirnside 4-8-32.
It's good just to see some ball movement up to the right end especially to the right end of the screen. Since it's been pretty much...
Stevens wins another clearance off his own ruck work. Mitch Gale came through. Been impressive since quarter time. Handball comes into Bo Ringer's hands. His kicking has let him down today, but not on that instance. It hit King on the chest. He dropped the mark. He wants his left boot. Comes back onto it. Got the handball inboard. Harper slams it, but there's only Surrey Park down there. And then Haynes... I think he tried to take the mark and then at the last second just bailed out and knocked it through for a rush behind. Interesting decision. Yeah, but you can still mark it, Bruce. But yes, you got a headset on, Bruce. You can plug it in. But I agree. He saw the other player coming, but can still catch it. So, nonetheless, 4-9-33 Chirnside. 3-6-24 Surrey Park. Tempany takes the mark in the back pocket. Welcome to the broadcast, Bruce. So Tempany now for Surrey Park. They're just going to bomb it down the line. It's just going to hold up in the breeze. All Chirnside. Urquhart flew, brought it in. Getting his hands on the footy like Josh Ward wanted him to. What can he do? Just forward to centre wing, the left footer. He'll put it to the fat side. Badome's down there. He's got the height advantage. Will it fall into his lap? Good spoil. But it's all the Panthers at ground level. Chirnside Park, that is, and Clevant is taken high and will line up 15 metres out directly in front to put Chirnside out to a 15-point lead.
It's almost the same thing as that McGee first goal in the third quarter there. Just was able to... Badome's probably had one or two on him almost all day.
Creating a contest, though, isn't he?
Well, that's all you need to do, just get it down to ground, and that's where these sort of players, like Clevant, are dangerous.
Absolutely. Clevant, this would hurt Surrey Park because they've had a little bit of play, and they definitely missed one open opportunity. Probably should have kicked another. From 25 metres out, directly in front. His brother's at home with COVID, but the younger one pokes at it, might have curled it back in. No, just missed to the far side. So 4-10-34 Chirnside. Surrey Park 3-6-24. The good thing about that kick from Urquhart was that, yes, he was penned in on that side of the ground, but he kicked it to the fat side.
Yes.
So at least if the ball hit the ground, there was a round, whereas before, Surrey Park were bombing into that pocket. When it hit the ground, it was going out of bounds. So Kentworthy brings it back into play. Ober is the target. He played on, so that shouldn't be a free kick. It is a throw-in, a very flamboyant throw-in from the umpire. So Kentworthy took the ground, so it will be a throw-in. He play on. His target was Ober, who just didn't execute. And Oberu, the aforementioned, will go up against Puckering. So the two resting ruckmen. Oberu does well, but Johns is there. Coming through Garvin. Handball to a man under pressure in Burrell. Had a fresh airy. And then Clevant wraps up in a second tackle. And we'll have a stoppage. So
there'll be a free kick to Surrey Park in the back.
Must have been in the back. I still like Clevant's pressure this quarter. He's been impressive in this third term.
He stepped up.
So Burrell, been one of Surrey Park's best. Up the line, Smith. Worked his way to the front, did really well. Couldn't bring it down. Now Puckering has a chance. Gave the handball to Slattery. Always a good idea. Carter. Handball into the middle. Daniel. Off to the runner Hall. Bit of candy. Might have been an ankle tap. Umpire says play on. Puckering. Handball. Daniel. Left foot ball inside 450. Clevant's down there and so is. It looks to be King. Samuel King, who opened the scoring today from a similar position, maybe a bit further out, has taken the mark, and it looks like there's a more open forward line, Ryan.
Well, that's the thing. How much easier is it there to have the scoring shots when you open it up, and you can have some one-on-one battles rather than just packs of players there.
So Samuel King to kick his second to put Chirnside out by 16 points. Stutters in, bit of a Josh Kennedy about it. Left footer, looks good off the boot. He loves it off the boot. One of the better celebrators in this Chirnside Park side. They are 5-10-40. Surrey Park 3-6-24. But one thing I will say for Surrey Park's sake, the game seems to have opened up with the heat starting to take effect, and it's a bit more exciting for us.
Well, that gives you a chance, and especially we talked about down boundary side to Josh Ward.
Sorry about that, Ryan. And yeah, on your point about it opening up, Matt, the wind has slightly died off a little bit. There is still a bit of a breeze heading towards this side and to the left of your screens and radio dials, but it is slowly dying down.
Thank you for that, Josh.
Well, we did say at halftime Chirnside Park would probably need to be at least 3 or 4 goals ahead, so maybe to be confident to win. So maybe this gives them a bit more chance, especially if they can open this game up more.
Only been 15 minutes gone in this quarter as well, so a whole lot happening. 5-10 to 3-6, and we'll have a secondary stoppage. It's probably been, I think, Chirnside's tendency to want to move the ball quickly. Both sides have looked to move a bit more quickly this quarter, but definitely Chirnside. And to be honest, if they'd been a little bit cleaner, they could have had a lot more. Yeah. So Puckering and Oberu does well, and then gathers his own footy. A bit of an extra midfielder in there. Burt little grubber through to Slattery, hit him in the shin. Then Johns gave it back to Slattery and said, here you go. And he handballs off to Daniel, running through the cricket pitch. Little chipping ball towards Badome. King was there. Great work. I think it was McLaren coming across for Surrey Park. A courageous spoil. And then Clevant wraps up the Surrey Park defender in the back pocket. It seemed like a big hit. I don't think anyone actually collided. It was a nice little chipping ball from Daniel to King on the lead. But well done to Jack McLaren. Saved a goal. Could Daniel have had a shot for goal? Ryan, that's a question for later. So we throw it up. Puckering won it down, bounced off the head of Murphy, and then Puckering went again. Smith just grabbed it and check-sided it to the wing. Will it bounce? It does bounce. Hall came through. Couldn't take clean possession. Garvin socketed into Hall's face. Slattery. Hands and knees. Parker Fox being quiet but does stuff when he gets it. Long ball down the line. Merritt takes his first contested mark. He's got to go quickly. The lead's on in Turnus. He wants to pop it over the top to Parker Fox. Way too cute by half. Burt came through. Left it behind. So did Kennedy. Burt got it again. Slattery to Urquhart. Wants his left foot. Handballs over his shoulder towards Burt, who just slaps it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
The second effort there from Burt was nice. He could have just given up then, but they were able to keep control of the ball.
What is Merritt doing?
What are we looking at?
Just the little cute kick. I know what he was trying to do, but put your boot through it, son. Thrown in, Puckering, one it down. Gale, Garvin, got time, space, poking ball. Turnus! Couldn't bring it in. Well done by Russell. Kept it in front of him, the big Chirnside defender, and then he comes to this side. Carter's the target with Brotto. Brotto, hands in the back. Umpire says that's a mark. Maxwell Brotto. Not as bad as Tom Hawkins last night, let me tell you. Down the line looking for Merritt. Well done by Burt. Got in the hole. Free kick. No, mark paid. And Aaron Burt has been everywhere. Been very impressive.
I love the defence of Chirnside Park, especially on the half-back.
A kick into the middle. That's an aggressive kick, but no, the umpire's telling him to take it back. Even though it's a mark, so you should be able to play on. But nonetheless, it was a nice kick straight to McGee.
Merritt and Urquhart then, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. Urquhart, from go to woe today, has been keen to let the other players know when they've made a mistake. But so far, been far and away the best player on the ground.
He's in reason to do it. He's played well this second half.
Urquhart has been good. So Burt, he's got leads on. He's going to go into the corridor. It's a nice kick to Carter. Hits him on the chest. Will he get on the second go? No, he won't. Naidu got a slap to it. Parker Fox slaps it forward. Urquhart's there. Coming up was Ryan Kennedy. Took on the tackler. Got his handball. Umpire said play on. Brotto, little shin. Into the corridor. Carter's there again. Got his handball away, but Smith intercepted it. Flicked it over the top to Parker Fox. Will he get there? He does on the second go. Handball wide. Looking for a runner, and Peters left him behind, but the bounce works out for Molnar. And then Gale slammed it on the boot. Merritt's backing back. Will he get there? He does, and takes the mark. If he kicks this, he'll no doubt give it to the crowd, Ryan. He's a long way away from them, Robert Merritt, but he's been in the play the last couple of minutes. And I think Mitch Gale's telling him, for God's sake, put your boot through this one. 15 metres out, 25-degree angle.
Just hard to tell with the wind if it's going to...
Yeah, first goal to the right of screen coming up. If Surrey Park's Robert Merritt can put it through, he pokes at it. He might not even have the journey, but it's there. He loves it. One arm in the air, Stephen Pym style. And we've got a game on our hands here at Surrey Park 4-6-30, Chirnside Park 5-10-40, 18 minutes gone, third quarter.
And they've been able to open up the game a bit more, and that's both ends of the ground, and especially if they're under height in the forward line, but they still, if they options like that, Molnar, Merritt, once they can get their hands on the footy, they're pretty dangerous.
And like you said, the game's opened up, which means there's more, and obviously the wind's died down, so there's a bit more even around the ground, but they're using this side of the ground more, both sides. But also, how crucial that goal. Chirnside did not score when they defended the wind in the second quarter. Surrey Park have kicked 1-3 so far to that end. So Stevens straight down to Slatter, who's wrapped up by Oberu and his teammate there in Smart. And we'll go again. Mitch Gale is, again, I don't think he touched it in the first quarter, Ryan, but he's been impressive since then. He can get depth on his kick.
Well, he just needs a bit of space. Him and Kennedy, that's credit to Chirnside Park. They've been quite good with not giving them much.
So Smart cleared up from the McLaren tackle and then got it to half forward. Kennedy made a contest with Hall, who stepped around Molnar, who added pressure, and then goes up the line again. McLaren couldn't grab it on the third take, got his handball forward. And nice little bit of work here from Bo Ringer, but he runs out of room. Boundary throw-in. Molnar's been impressive when he's got near it. From South Australia, played a couple of games for the Nelg under-19s a few years back. Kicked 19 goals last year in 11 games for Surrey Park. Stevens and Oberu. Oberu does well despite being undersized. Smart. Probably dropped that. But umpire says play on, then Oberu follows up. He's been impressive more as a ruckman than a forward. Bombs it to centre-half forward. Urquhart couldn't quite get there on the bounce, but mopping up was Daniel with 2 L's. He bombs it to centre wing. Bo Ringer takes the mark. He hasn't had a man all day. It's Jaden Bo Ringer. Hopes it over the top. Sitting up for McConnell, was it? No, ran out of room. And once again, that's been the story of the day for both sides. Every time they're out, they seem to just try something too cute by half and stuff up an open chance at getting it into their forward line clean.
You're right. No, I actually do like Surrey Park's move to put Oberu in the ruck, and he's wearing number 23 now, so he's had to change the jumpers. But obviously, he gives up a bit of height to Stevens, but I think he's agile, he's a bit quicker.
Added a bit around the ball as Slattery burst away from that clearance, then kicked it to the pocket, but the wind's taken it out of bounds and out on the full. So bringing it back into play will be George Haynes, who was under pressure in that first quarter, but stood up under it. So 10 points the difference here. Surrey Park would take that given the way they dominated the second term, but the wind has died down here at Kimberley Reserve. Haynes takes his full meterage and then goes long to the wind. Bo Ringer pulls it down, couldn't clunk it. And will go out of bounds for a boundary throw in. He's been another one who's impressed, Jaden Bo Ringer. Again, I'd like to see him a bit more cleaner by foot, but gets his hands on the footy.
Does find it plenty.
Bit of Trent Cochin about the kick. Doesn't go over 30. And Koch has been a little bit more penetrative with that, but nonetheless smart.
As soon as he hits
roved it. Garvin wants his left foot, but handballs into the corridor. Nice spin from Hatch, and then goes out to that wing. Just poked it in the air. Umpire pay a mark to Smith, who's had a bit of it as well. Peters is on in the corridor. Smith played on, saw him, and then ignored him, and then went long. The target is Lachiana, knocks Russell under the footy and jukes it. Beautiful use of the body. You're right there, Ryan Long. Lachiana marks 40 metres out, directly in front. He wanted to have a shot, gave it off to Kennedy, who goes long. Merritt's down there. So is Urquhart. Ball hits the deck, bounces over their heads. Urquhart slaps it to Hall, and Chirnside Park should repel. Short little kick finds Wells on the half-back flank. So Surrey Park starting to look pretty good into the wind.
I think that comes a little bit with the tiredness of some of the players.
Shocking kick from Wells. So, right, speaking of tiredness, that came off the instep. Peters has been impressive in this third term. Got his handball into the corridor, though. Bowringer, handball towards Stevens, who had to wait for it. Took on the tackler. Handball again. Under pressure. Harper. Surrey Park have gone up a notch here. And we'll have a boundary throw in. The Chirnside faithful want a free kick for Shane Hall, but nothing doing. Chirnside Park might be tiring a little bit. Surrey Park seem to have lifted.
Well, that pressure in the that first half now, blokes like Gale are able to get a bit more space, and I mean that's going to be crucial in the last quarter if they can pull off a win.
So Stevens took it out of the ruck and Obery brought him down, but he got the ball forward, and now going inside forward 50 with a little chipping ball was Clevant.
Stevens been still down.
He's still down, but taking the mark is McConnell. Josh McConnell, he's tied into the pocket, and this is where the boys would have shots from training, surely. Next to the light tower, where the arc meets the boundary line. But it was a beautiful kick there from Charlie Clevant. He's shown poise everywhere, literally, in front until he had that shot at goal. He's looked the most skillful player on the Chirnside side as McConnell has had a shot. He missed to the near side. So
they're creating opportunities, though.
5-11 to 4-6, and they did kick inaccurately in the third quarter last week, Chirnside Park. They weren't made to pay by Forest Hill, but Surrey Park are a different outfit.
Do you feel like if they're within a couple of goals, this is a big win for Surrey Park?
Absolutely. So the Panthers, they'll go the defensive side. The wind has definitely died down. The trees aren't moving as much. And well done by McLaren. Got rid of his man and took the mark for Surrey Park on the back flank. He's got options inboard. He'll go to Peters. Chipping ball. Badome is coming. That's not a man you want closing in on you, I'll tell you that much. No. Big Daniel Badome. Peters switches it. Dangerous kick, but it'll get to Hatch. That could be 50... or 25, and the umpire says it will be. So Hatch is going to take off. He can take off here and take the ground as quick as he can.
And he won't.
His teammates telling him to, but he didn't do so. Now the handball goes to the runner. McLaren, poking ball. Finds Mitch Gale. He's got a leg on him. Will he use it? Turney's is making his move to the half-forward flank. Gale goes short to Kentworthy. You're hot. Carter's closing in. Kentworthy got the kick away just in time. Who's got the sit? Big fly, bringing it down. Coming through. Parker Fox spoiled his teammate there. In Fallahy.
He stole it from him.
He did. He would have got that on the third go. Parker Fox came through. I'll tell you what, I don't like that Oberu was the man crumbing Fallahy, who's 160 centimetres. Urquhart got the tap down. Matt King, handball. Beautiful. Clevant. Little poking ball is smothered. Beautifully done by Garvin. Will he keep it in? No, well done by Clevant. Mopped up. Second effort. 24 minutes gone. Third term. Chirnside by 11 points. 5-11 to 4-6. If Surrey Park can pinch another one here, you almost can't see them losing.
No.
Although, as we've said multiple times this quarter, the wind has died down as the game's opened up. Urquhart didn't really get as much connection as he wanted. Kennedy got the crumb. Left foot ball, top of the sort of 30 metres out. Smith couldn't pull it in. I was about to say top of the square, but it held up in the wind. Burt, left foot ball out wide. Bohinger should get there. Does, but dropped the mark. Got it on the second attempt. Took a bounce way too early. Peters cleaned him up. And we'll have a boundary throw in. A bit in it between the two of those. Lachlan Peters has impressed me this quarter off half-back. And there's now been a free kick paid for a high. They come inboard to Hall. Hall, back flank. Deep into time on, but there's been a few more goals this quarter. 3 to Chirnside and 1 to Surrey Park. Slattery marks on centre wing. Yes, Josh?
Grant Stevens walked off a little bit gingerly just before, so there might still be a bit of an injury concern for him down here.
Yeah, still sucking him in as the chipping ball goes up to Puckering, his replacement, who marks 65 from home. Got to go back quickly. Bedome's down there. He's got 2 on him, Tempany and Haynes. But they'll still go in that direction. The wind will bring it back towards the corridor as Haynes gets across, though, and punches it over line. No free kick! Holding the man going to Daniel Bedome.
He had an arm around the neck, or at least around the shoulder there, and had one in front of him.
Have a look at the replay. I think the free kick is, it's against Tempany. He definitely had his arms on Bedome. And the faithful here at Chirnside Park love it. This would hurt Surrey Park because they've done so well to even things up this quarter. Bedome will want to run around, you'd suspect. He's shaping up to do that. Runs around onto the left, 2 steps, 3 steps. Caught the belly of the ball.
Skyrocketed it.
He's kicked it. The club umpire just didn't give us much, but it's through. Bedome's kicked his second. He's only had about 3 touches today. And Chirnside Park are 6-11-47. There's a bit of a dispute here by the Surrey Park defenders, but this field umpire has said it's the goal umpire's decision. So Chirnside...
That shows you how worried about that.
Jump into a 17-point lead. Carry on.
It just shows you how worried about them that they have so many numbers. Obviously, when someone's got an arm around your shoulder, you're worried about how
they're giving up so much height and weight.
So
really.
and that's the thing. And if Chirnside Park can just keep giving him those chances, and with the players around him to crumb, they're going to keep scoring.
So up they go in the middle soon again. Like we said, 17-point lead now for Chirnside Park. That was a big goal by Daniel Bedome. Just to give that 3-goal buffer. Like you said, a key forward like that, he might only touch it 40 times this year, but he might kick 35 goals. Puckering got the hit out and then had to get it his own footy. Kick on the boot. Murphy will lead the race as it spills towards centre wing. Good pick up by the veteran. Wheeled around, got the handball back to Harper. Kick around the corner, sits up in the air. Don't want to be under it, but well done there. Was Hollingsworth, couldn't bring it down. And now Kentworthy's got it. Being chased by Clevant, got his kick away just in time. And it'll hit the boundary line. And out of bounds for a throw-in. Just in front of the Surrey Park bench, they're forward 50, or just outside it. They trail by 17 points, 6-11-47 Chirnside Park. Surrey Park 4-6-30.
Well within reach.
And if they can get another one here, it'll be really exciting last quarter. Puckering. Clevant wrapped up by Gale. And we'll have another stoppage. 27.5 minutes gone third term. Thanks for joining us on the SEN app, crystal clear, Eastern FM 98.1, or the FNL Facebook and YouTube as Turney's the hit out down. Went and got it again, handball over the top. Mitch Gale could get there and does, but he's under pressure from Harper and then just escorting it over the line. To be one of the McGee boys.
It's the first time any side going to the right-hand side of the screen has really taken the game on.
Well, and has looked like scoring.
And looked like scoring, and that's what Surrey Park have been able to do. And Chirnside Park will be looking at as...
Turney's nice hit out. Sorry to interrupt there, Ryan. Smart came through. Couldn't quite take possession. Did Burt take him without the footy? Umpire says no. Smart went back and got it. And then King picked up. Wells picked up. How did he dispose of that? The umpire said cleanly. Parker Fox came in. Turney smother. Sits up for McGee. Can Chirnside get one on the hop now? McGee. He's got a runner out wide. And he'll chip it to Slattery. One on by McLaren.
Good mark.
That's going to be a mark in the end, will it? On the second grab, I thought McLaren got a fist to it. Slattery, can he go quickly? Parker Fox is working back because Hall's out in the corridor, but Slattery plays on and then heads in that direction. Bedome's behind them. The ball beats all of them. There's a free man out the back. Bowringer wheels onto the right. Great smother. Riley Tempany puckering the ruckman of one step. It's there! The big fella picked it up and in one foul swoop put through their seventh. 23 points the difference. Chirnside 7-11-53. Surrey Park 4-6-30. That one hurts, Ryan.
That does, and well, that's the thing with Stevens coming off. You look at Puckering and to stand up in the middle, and obviously that's a big recruitment over the off season to have him there, and he's still got so much.
What a finish from the big fella! Well, he just grabbed it, slapped it on the boot.
Didn't even need a step. Did he step
exactly.
there?
I don't think he did. Just standing start from the big man.
He's got a big roost on, isn't it?
That was a great kick, and after Surrey Park had that chance, maybe you could dispute a free kick. Great rebounding play. Slattery again using the corridor. Nice to see. And they're just not reading it. So tapped down by Puckering again. He's a fan favourite in front of us here in the broadcast van. pinballing around on the ground, coming through. Nice collision, but puckering again. Got his kick out to space. He's been good.
We stepped up since Stevens come off.
Bowringer leads the race. Let it go to Wells, though. Then Wells's kick is up and under. Sitting under it is one of the McGee's. It's Lachlan. So it's not. It's Daniel who kicked two. I will get them wrong every time. So
they can't afford one more.
Daniel McGee, if he kicks this, you almost call it. And he's going to have a ping. He's... What? He'll kick from 42, you reckon, Ryan? I'm making that up. He's just outside the arc.
Just outside the arc.
Tough kick for a right footer. Stutters. Good connection. On the siren! It's there! That's a great goal! He's kicked 3 in the term and has turned this game on its head. 2 goals in the last minute for Chirnside Park mean they go in at three-quarter time. 29-point leaders here on EFNL Match of the Day. 8-11-59, leading Surrey Park 4-6-30. And after the first 20 minutes of that quarter, we thought Surrey Park had done a mountain of work to keep themselves right in the hunt heading into the last. But 2 late goals, one through McGee and one through the big man Aaron Puckering. See the Panthers up by 29 points going into three-quarter time. We'll go to a break on the other side of this, the last quarter.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Kimberley Reserve. It's Old Chirnside Park in those last 5 minutes, with the Panthers kicking 3 goals to finish the term to jump out to a 29-point lead. They lead 8-11-59 to Surrey Park 4-6-30. The goal kickers, all singles for Surrey Park. Molnar, he had a chance as well in the third term. He should have kicked, but we won't talk about that now. He's got 1. Robert Merritt's got 1. Singles to Renan Falahi and Mitchell Gale, who's been impressive since quarter time. For Chirnside Park, there's 2 to Daniel Badome, 2 to Samuel King, 3 to Daniel McGee, and a single to Aaron Puckering, the big ruck ruckman, who just off one step after gathering the ball ankle height, Ryan, went bang after Surrey Park had sort of wrestled momentum back.
That was big for the big man, and we were saying probably about 5 minutes before that Chirnside Park looked like they were starting to run out of legs a little bit, and the midfield and Surrey Park, guys like Gale and Kennedy were starting to get a bit more space and they were getting more opportunities up forward, but they went bang, 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 and they kicked the last 3 goals of the game and now stretched that out to what Surrey Park now need 5 goals when they've only kicked 4. But in saying that, we were here last week at Batterham where Ringwood pulled it out of nowhere. So they're certainly still in this, but they're going to have to.
Everything's got to go right, doesn't it?
Everything's got to go right.
They probably can't. You'd say
Boundary.
1 goal into the breeze will be good enough for Chirnside Park. Well, speaking of Surrey Park and their coach, Josh Ward is with David Jensen.
I am. David, it was a much more open third quarter. What were your thoughts on it?
It was... Oh, it's hard to judge. We were sort of managing a lot of injuries. We're down to 1 player on the bench, so it was a lot of that to key players as well. But it opened up for them a little bit. I still think that we're a big chance. It's in our court now. We've just got to go forward and win.
Were you impressed with the effort the guys put in during that whole quarter, even with only 1 on the bench?
Oh, absolutely. Their fighting effort is just out there for all to see. They're brilliant. Their effort, it can't be faulted.
And what will be the keys for you guys for this final quarter?
Just go forward, take a risk. We've got nothing to lose. Let's just go.
Thank you very much, David. Good luck for the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you to Josh Ward down there. If they're going to take risks, it's going to be exciting. If Josh could just chase up, who are those other 2 players out? We know Oliver Anderson's out, and I'm sure Josh will chase that up for us and let the listeners know. Ryan, it's all to play for here at Kimberley Reserve. It's a big game for Chirnside because, like I said, many of us expected Surrey Park to be one of the top 2 this year, and if the Panthers can knock them and Forest Hill off to go 2-0, it'll be a big one when they take on Sylvan later in the year. Yeah, it builds momentum, and you can start to hear in that third quarter the crowd getting a bit vocal behind them, so just wait until you get the grandstand there as well. And down to Josh Ward quickly.
It's Max Brotto and Sam Naidu who are the other 2 that are injured for Surrey.
So Brotto and Naidu out, as well as Oliver Anderson, as we go up in the middle, and straight away it's Johns bursting out of the middle for Chirnside Park, inside forward 50. Brendan Murphy gathers, spins, handball, intercepted, McLaren, Garvin, handball to Gale, left it behind. Murphy slaps it forward for Chirnside, but now the Surrey Park Panthers, they resist once more. Parker Fox, will this ball sit up for him? He's been beaten by Hall here. Really well done by Hall. Took it to the boundary line, out for a throw-in on centre wing, and we'll get some around-the-ground scores as well when we can. We know Roval are up by 7 points, 76 to 69 at three-quarter time, and Noble are down to just 1 on the bench. East Ringwood leading by 6 goals over Mitcham with a similar situation, though, so if Mitcham can take advantage of it, as there's a free kick in the ruck going to Oberu. He's been good. Been impressed with him.
I've liked him more once I've moved him up the ground.
Around the ball. He's not overly tall, so he's more of a half-forward flanker than a centre-half forward.
It's coming back,
and there's going to be a free kick against, it's a reversal against Parker Fox, going the way of Shane Hall, and the free kicks, but it's going to be taken by Ben Slattery on the wing. So a bit of confusion here. As we've, so in the end, the ball will come back to Ben Slattery on centre wing for Chirnside. Handball to Hall eventually, who came running past. He kicks up in the Murphy direction. There'll be a big fly from the back. Spoil came over from Surrey Park defenders. Garvin can't quite pick it up. Jack Carter, the late in, is taken in and tackled by Callum Garvin. You've got to remember as well, Chirnside have had a couple of late outs as well. I know David Jensen has talked about, players missing and so on, but Chirnside have got a few missing as well.
Was a big loss.
And Clavan on the eve at Oberu slapped it forward. Will it sit for Wells? He's been impressive across half-back as well. Hall. Dangerous kick to the corridor, but it might work out. Puckering's there again, the big ruckman. He gathered it, took on the defender, went to his knees, and he's eventually wrapped up, and the umpire sets himself holding the ball. So Surrey Park have got to kick the first one.
It's going to be hard to kick 5 when Chirnside Park's defence has been good all afternoon.
They have. Peters is going to go sideways. He's got a man out there in Tempany. He goes short and finds Parker Fox. Got to take it. Take the space while you can. He goes high and long to centre-half forward. The target is Merritt. Johns will get down there with Russell. John spoiled it. Molnar picks up, wheels around, got a handball into the corridor. Daniel Smart got to kick this for Surrey Park. Little chipping ball, looking for Kennedy, who gets there on the bounce. Right foot, steadies, took on the tacklers. Handball, Merritt, Smart, right foot ball is there. Surrey Park get the first. 5-6-36, Chirnside 8-11-59.
Boundary.
They took their time, Ryan. They made it hard, but they got there in the end. Josh Ward on the boundary line.
There is a massive injury concern now for Grant Stevens. Looks like he's holding his ankle, but hopefully he comes on for Chirnside Park, but it's not looking too good.
Yeah, boots are off behind you there, Josh. So let's see if they're trying to tape it and send him back out there. The margin back to 23 points, Ryan. 3 minutes gone.
Puts the pressure on Puckering back in the middle, but he's done well, the young man. And just that smart. He's probably been a bit quiet this afternoon. So he's one if you can start to get the game a bit open.
Well, they're opening it up. They've got leg speed, Surrey Park. They just need to get their hands on the footy. Slattery got the kick. Big fly from Garvin over Carter. Brought it to ground and then ended up with the footy in his hands. And then went bang inside forward 50. Russell's down there. Johns, good mark. Trent Russell. Pack mark in front of Harry Laciana. And he'll steady things for Chirnside Park and switch the play. Dangerous kick, but it's a good one to Urquhart. Took a bit of a dive. The umpire said, yep, get up, take your kick. He's got a booming left foot, Urquhart, so I don't know why he's wasting his time asking for a 50. He can just kick it that far. And he does. Down the line, Slattery's the target. Oberou's coming, but Slattery got front position. Well done by Oberou. Brought it to ground. And then the Churney players are swarmed upon. There's a free kick holding the man. Go the way of Chirnside Park. Harper to Slattery, but Gale intercepted. Beautiful mark running back. Garvin is already cramping in this last quarter. This not a good sign for him out here on this far wing. Gale's taking the mark for Surrey Park. If they can get another one quickly, Ryan, the pressure will be on Chirnside. He goes down the line. Oberou's down there, so is Russell for Chirnside, and bringing it to ground was Merritt. Molnar's around this footy. It came out the back for Surrey Park. If Merritt can get rid of it, he can't though. Holding the ball.
Pressure.
Great tackle. And there's a bit going on here around it. It'll be Urquhart again, no doubt. No, Robert Johns. A couple of Churney blokes just don't mind letting the Surrey Park players know, do they? Hopefully for them, it won't come back and bite them on the behind as Johns looks to go corridor. And then in the end, hooks his kick. Tom Smith's under it. Big fly. He's been paid the mark. No, free kick. Free kick going the way of Puckering for a hold.
Still with a 4-goal lead, I think they're going to be happy to return to that sort of second quarter and just keep the ball on that side of the field. They don't really need to take the game on as such.
No. So it's Slattery actually with the free kick. Oh, low ball went straight in the shins of Oberou and now it's bounced. Bit of chaos. What can Laciana do? He can gather and give it to Kennedy, who gives it off to Garvin. Will the ball sit for him? It will. He comes back in on Carter. Left foot ball, hooked it wide, had a target, shocking kick. Wells takes the mark and steadies. This game has a bit of chaos going on. He chips it out wide. Matthew King on the bounce, picks it up. Parker Fox closes on him, but he poised again. We've mentioned it all day. Came inboard, stepped around his man and hit up Johns, who took a strong mark in front of Smith. This game has gone up a notch. Surrey Park, they can't afford to make these mistakes like Garvin did there.
They've got to take every opportunity, don't they?
Exactly right. So John's short. He's got a man in the middle and Daniel. He marks and plays on. Little chipping ball is a shocker into the middle. It might work out because Bert's there. And everything Bert's done today has worked out. His handball, will it sit for Brendan Murphy? It will. Murphy's handball goes back. Missed hole. But he's got time and space, although Kentworthy closes down on him. He gave it back to Murphy. Kentworthy kept closing. Little chipping ball. Won't get there in the end to McGee, who kicked 3 in that third term. Hooked it over the body. King's there. Kicked 2 today. Kenworthy got it. Little handball off. Now can Surrey Park rebound. Peters comes back into the corridor. Chipping ball over the top. Laciana should get there on the bounce and gathers it. He wanted right boot. Uses the opposite. To what's that for? Downfield. Turners has got the mark anyway, but it'll be downfield. And he can have a shot for goal. He wants someone in the corridor. He's going to go a chipping ball. Will it get to Burrell? It will. Takes the marks. Plays on. Runs in. Open goal. 2 in a row for Surrey Park. They're 7-6-48. Or 6-6-42, apologies. Or 7-6-48, I'm not exactly sure. There's 2 scoreboards that are contradicting. I think the Chirnside Park one was so quick. 6-6-42, it's back to 17 points. Josh Ward, boundary side.
Grant Stevens got the ice bath on his 2 ankles. He's out for the day, fellas.
Got the ice bath on. No, great work down there, Joshy. Ice bags. Well done. So Grant Stevens done. So big job for Aaron Puckering. What is that now? Players across the game. I think we've got 5. We've got 5 players across both sides that are out for the day or something like that. Margin back to 17 points.
Big turn.
The game's opening up.
The Slattery was wide open inside 50. Couldn't see him, and that's understandable, but they were quick on the rebound, and that hurts.
So Hamish Burrell has been impressive as well for Surrey Park. One of their bets. Oberou up in the middle. Slattery. Can the big man stand up? He's been impressive today. Ducking the head was Burrell. Just kicked that goal. It was one of those kicks from Turnus that if it had been turned over, you'd probably look back and go take the shot, but it was weighted perfectly in the end. So Puckering won it down. McGee, handball, intercepted by Parker Fox. Dangerous tackle. Umpire says no, ball it up. Parker Fox on ball. Good move. He looks like he's got potential.
Yeah. I've liked him much more here.
A little bit more petulant. So Oberou and Puckering. Oberou taps it down despite his severe disadvantage in the air. Gale, hands and knees. Obery taps it forward. Burt socketed off the ground. Slattery will get there first. Burrell is pushing hard. Slattery knocks it to the wing. Good shepherd from McGee. Peters is there. Does well. And takes last year's best and fairest to the boundary line.
I think even with the domination of Stevens and puckering in the ruck, I still think Surrey Park have done quite well.
They have.
Roving to them.
Absolutely. So Puckering wins this hit out into space. Parker Fox is there. Just swung his boot at it. Liked to get him go with the hands. McGee grabbed it and then was pushed and then was tackled, and then a handball came out to Puckering, tried to burst through. Surrey Parker got the momentum at the moment. It comes free to Burrell, the last goal kicker. Handball to Peters, under pressure, gone! McGee's kicked 3, and then wrapped up Peters, who was blindsided. And can he go quickly? He's got a lead in the pocket, and then he's got Bedome streaming at him. Hollingsworth wants it long. That's the direction it goes in. Bedome's there as well. Flyers come from everywhere. Surrey Park defender got a fist to it. King steadies. Left foot snap! It's a goal! That's his 3rd! Against the run of play, and that has to be a dagger in the heart of Surrey Park fans, Ryan.
Yeah, that one hurts. And again, every time they go up to Bedome, and I reckon 3 or 4 players jump up, and it leaves them outnumbered around the ball, just on the ground, and that's when King was being able to pick it up and kick an incredible goal from there.
Yeah. Dubious. I think it'd go to the arc, but I think it was a goal in the end. Taller goalpost would have helped maybe with that decision. We'll give it to him, but
have to.
A great kick under pressure. Surrey Park tackle just didn't stick, and again, that's a real steadier because Surrey Park were coming.
They did have the momentum.
That's deflating.
Still plenty of time. It's still
9-11-65 to 6-6-42. 9 minutes gone. I think this quarter will go a while if it's going to be goal for goal like this. Off the ground, Burt from that centre clearance is going to sit up for Hollingsworth, who's been quiet since quarter time. Stepped his man in Hatch. Did he? Got the handball away eventually. Toe poke came in from Harper, but it ends up going Surrey Park's way through Smith. Wheels back into traffic, gave the ball off to Gale, slapped it on the boot. Merritt's coming at it, got it on the bounce, hit his shin. Slattery, he's been everywhere in this last quarter. Merritt gets a little kick forward. Jimmy Wells should mark. Umpire says play on. Molnar hasn't heard it. Either is Wells, who eventually plays on for safety. Kicks up the line. Smith's under it, got there, took the mark. They've got to just keep going, Surrey Park. Got to lose by 40 rather than 10. Goes long. In the Turnus direction, big fly. Everyone went up for Chirnside Park. And then the ball goes over the line for a boundary throw-in. So just ticked over 10 minutes gone on EFNL match of the round. It's Chirnside Park 9-11-65, Surrey Park 6-6-42. So we need a Tobin Brothers goal of the day here for Surrey Park to get the momentum back. Aaron Burt's been spectacular. One of the players of the day for Chirnside. Hamish Burrell's been good for Surrey Park. Kent Worthy's been good till probably this late in the third term, and then this quarter hasn't been as much in it. Players are out on their feet here. 20 scoring shots to 12 probably shows that Chirnside had good value for their win. But Merritt got a little kick forward. Umpire will say play on. Didn't go far enough, and now Chirnside get the clearance to the centre circles. But taking the intercept mark. Well done there. Is McLaren. He goes wide. He's got Parker Fox. Couldn't bring it down. Matthew King, beautifully well done. Intercept, then got the handball. Now McGee's got it after an underground handball from the other McGee. Lachlan, this is. Drilling ball. Obery will get there. Good spoil. Well it'll work out McLaren and McConnell. McLaren got there. Got his handball to Obery. Left it behind. King ducked the hand. Umpire says ball up. How's his head? You love that one at the local footy. Have we got any around the ground scores, Ryan?
We do. Fair Park 10-9-69. They lead Glen Waverley 7-15-57. So inaccurate. They could be 2-0.
Molnar kick smothered. Quick kick from Bowringer. Inside forward 50. Over the head of Haynes. Over the head of Bedome. Hollingsworth's there. Gathers. Little kick around the corner. Bouncing out of bounds.
Waverley Blues 13-9-87. They're back in control against Whitehorse 9-5-59. Donvale look like they'll walk away with a win 15-4-94. Scoresby 8-7-55.
Long kick down the line from Surrey Park in the Smith direction. Big fly from Johns. It's out the back. Will it sit for Molnar? It will. He takes it. Takes the space and goes long immediately. Coming out at it is Fallahay. Good work from Matt King. Brought it down to ground. The youngster for Chirnside Park. Merritt should get there first. Pushed off it by Daniel. Little grubber kick is taken out of bounds. Just by the Surrey Park defenders, or is that Mitch Gale out of the air? In the end, he has taken it out of bounds. Wait, there's a whistle. So there's a bit of confusion going on here. Is it out of bounds on the full or behind? I think it's out of bounds on the full. So it'll be a Chirnside Park free kick in the back pocket. They lead by 23 points here. 12 minutes gone in this final term. Any other scores around the grounds?
Coldstream also 8-12-60 lead Warrandyte 6-11-47. That could be their first win in Division 3.
And an
would be
upset
nice
against the minor premier from last year. Long ball from Urquhart. Slattery flew, brought it to ground, and then Merritt was wrapped up. He's had a lot of it, Merritt. He just hasn't been very clean today.
You're right.
Brucey just cracking another one off air. Slap down. And then another tackle, another stoppage. What else have you got for us?
East Burwood 13.987. That's quite impressive over Templestowe 5.535.
That's a big win for the Rams.
That says something about the Rams, how they're going to go this.
Well, maybe they do have that outside run. Or maybe they were just too physical for the Dockers. So it's a free kick to Johns. Robert Johns had a bit of it today. Been serviceable. Long kick down the line. Tom Smith, been one of Surrey Park's better ones. Got his hands on the footy and he'll get it back again. He just bursts out of the pack. That's really well done. And got a kick towards centre half forward. Russell's down there for Chirnside Park. Got a fist to it. Gathered it. Got support and Matt King doesn't need it. Good smother by Falley. King got it. Handball away just in time. Johns should gather and does. And they got his little kick towards the boundary line. That is out of bounds on the full. That's just blatantly going out of bounds on the full. Merritt wanted the free kick despite being nowhere near it. So Kennedy plays on immediately. Surrey Park have to do this. Long ball. Turnus is the target. Top of the square. Fell over the back. Got a little scrubber on it. Goal.
Keeps him in it.
Surrey Park just stay alive. 7-6-48. Chirnside Park 9-11-65. That's his second as well. Renan Fallahai. He's kicked 4 in 2 weeks. And they stay alive. What about Division 4 around the grounds?
We've got a couple of interesting results. Forest Hill 8-7-55. They trail Kilsyth 9-10-64.
Here we go.
So that's
Here we go, Bruce.
That makes this division quite interesting. And also Nuttawading 10-10-70 lead Croydon North 9-11-65. We did have that score a while ago, so we assume that's been updated since. But that'd also be a bit of an upset as well.
We'll get some Premier Division, Division 1 and Division 2 in a second. But 17 points the difference here, 14 minutes gone. This has been an exciting last quarter. Why didn't they play like this from the start? I guess we've already got 4 injuries. We probably have 9 if we kept going like this. Puckering, Oberu picked it from his feet, gave it off to Burrell. Intercept from Burt was impressive, and we'll have another ball up.
Premier Division, Rowville still lead, 13-6-84 to Noble Park 10-10-70. Norwood 10-17-77 lead Doncaster 6-8-44. Walk away with a win there. South Croydon 12-10-82 to Berwick 9-9-63.
Burrell's kick went straight into Burt's face, and then Burrell went back and got it this time on the right boot. Got it inside forward 50. Merritt will lead the man to it. Lachiana's there. Well done by Daniel. Kick was smothered by Fallahai at the last second. Now Garvin and Carter chase after it. Carter got a little shove in the side by Garvin, who couldn't pick it up cleanly. Slapped it forward. And now there's a free kick. It's going the way of Surrey Park to Garvin in the forward pocket. He wants a little ball short. He goes short and finds a target in Molnar, the skipper. And he'll line up from 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle to bring it back to 11 points.
And kicks this. It's well and truly alive.
Well, the game has opened up massively.
I mean, how much does that hurt with Stevens out? I know Puckering's been all right in this second half, but he was very dominant, not just in the ruck, just being able to find the footy.
So Molnar, we've got a perfect view of this, Ryan. He trots in from about 30 metres out. Kick looked pretty good off the boot. Hasn't missed. He's got his second. Surrey Park have got their third of the term. They are 8-6-54. They trail by 11 points. Chirnside 9-11-65. Josh Ward, what is the feeling down there on boundary side? Surely it's pandemonium. He's not got his headset on. I'm throwing down to you, Joshy. Still nothing. Ryan, what's your feeling down here in the box?
Well, it's gone a bit quiet because all the Chirnside Park down the other end haven't had much to cheer about in this last 5 minutes. But look, the next couple of minutes, I feel like all that Chirnside Park need is the centre clearance to go their way.
Or just the next goal would still kill it.
Goal, and you can sort of ice the game from there. But right now, they still need to attack. They can't defend this for another.
Oh, absolutely.
For another 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Exactly. Brucey coming in with the special comments. I like it. Handball forward from Boa Ringer. He's been quiet this quarter. Smart. Got the thing rolling in this last quarter for Surrey Park. It goes in 5-4-50. Good pick up by Lachiana Molnar of one step. It's across the face.
He starts to very dangerous.
It's getting dangerous. It's getting dangerous for Chirnside Park fans. So 10 points the difference. About 15 minutes left.
Would be a big win if they, considering the injuries that they've got on the bench right now, 3 down. I know Chirnside Park also do have a couple as well, but...
So Chirnside Park to bring it back into play. It looks like Russell didn't quite look like he stubbed his toe a little bit there when he kicked it. Puckering was the target, brought it to ground. Mitch Gale slapped it on the boot. Russell's underneath this. Parker Fox had to over the back. Umpires paid it. He sort of did the blocking motion, but the free kick's going to Chirnside Park. So the free kick was there, but he didn't use his hands. I thought it was realistic.
I think when you do that and you don't touch the ball,
I do have to apologise to Josh Ward as well. He said ice bucket, and he's correct because Graydon Stevens is just dipping his feet in an ice bucket. They're not ice bags on them. As Tom Smith come across with the spoil there for Surrey Park, he's been impressive as well. Josh, have you got your headset on now? What's the feeling like boundary side, Josh?
Yes, I do, and yeah, it's very intense. A lot of screaming going on down here, so it is a very tense atmosphere down here.
So thrown in, puckering, and Oberon has been impressive, rucking this whole last quarter. This might be holding the ball. The umpire's got to set himself. No, stoppage. So forward flank for Surrey Park. 17.5 minutes gone on the EFNL Eastland match of the day here. It's Chirnside 9-11-65 leading by 10 points. 8-7-55 Surrey Park. McGee underneath that. Coming at it is Mitch Gale. Handball to Kentworthy. Handball over the top to Garvin. The left footer runs to 50. He's hooked it. It won't get the journey. It will just, but he just hooked it a little bit. There's a bit of push and shove. So it's all Surrey Park at the moment.
And Garvin's really starting to get into it. Just in this last quarter.
So Ben Masters just kicked a goal to bring it back to 77-86 out at Noble Park. So Roeville leading there. That would be a bit of a boil over the Hawks. So 8-8-56 here. We're concentrating here though, aren't we, Ryan?
We are.
So
it's still well and truly open.
10 points the difference. Long ball. Chirnside are just kicking long. There's a bit of Donvale Frenchigali from last year about this, Ryan, where they're just panicking. There's plenty of time left. Take the game on, Stu. Oberu came through. Might have been held without it. Handball over the top to Slattery. Was cheating a little bit out the back. Took the tackler on. Got his handball away just in time, but it should suit Surrey Park. McLaren slapped it on the boot. Down the line. Turnus is underneath it. Comes out the back. Wells should get there first, but he's under pressure from Tom Smith, who came in and affected it. And then knocked over the line for a boundary throw in. Forward flank for Surrey Park.
Who's there? Billy McCormack, Surrey Park.
Well, Turnus is down there. He has not clunked one all day. You would have to say...
I think Molnar's most dangerous.
Yeah, Molnar. Laciana has been quiet, but he's in the right spots. So Turnus in the ruck. Ober is going forward for a little bit. Puckering and Turnus. Turnus won the hit out down. Wells roved it. He's got a bit of time and space, so he takes it and goes corridor. Kick is looking for King. Drop the mark. Picking up Brendan Murphy. Great pick up from the big fella. Little kick to space from Bo Ringer. He's going to have to chip and chase. He gets knocked off it. Well done by Garvin. Kentworthy has time to pick it up and handball over the top to Peters, who slapped it back towards Kentworthy. Nice little piece of play. Kept flicking it forward. Parker Fox is there. Daniel. Kick. Down the line. It's all Surrey Park. But if it goes out of bounds, surely deliberate. Umpire says, throw it in. Right in front of us. Just about to tick into time on here last quarter. Chirnside Park by 9 points. You'd say, what, 7 minutes left, Ryan? Give or take?
It can't be too much longer.
Puckering. Turnus. Puckering got the hit out down. Clevance around it. Does well to keep it out in front of himself and gain 10 metres. Can he pick it up? He's gained 15 now. He'll gain 20. Left it behind, but King got it. Puckering. Went the torp. Munged it inside 450. Bedome's down there. Tempety gives away a lot of height and weight, but does well. Picking up his hatch in the back pocket. Goes for space. Kicks it. Has it bounced inside? It hasn't. Out of bounds on the full.
It was well done by Tempety. One-on-one, he doesn't lose too many, Bedome.
So, forward flank. McGee. One of them. I think it's Lachlan. The one who hasn't kicked goals. Kick smothered off the boot. And now Kennedy's got it for Surrey Park. And he stepped the two tacklers. Has space. Chips down the line to Parker Fox. Left it behind. Trent Russell took on the tackler and won. And then he went down the line. Has a target. And he's kicked it to the Surrey Park bench. So the free kick will come back all the way to Kennedy. They got away with that one. Did Surrey Park. Goes up to Oberu. Good strong hands from the big fella. So Oberu now. Inside forward 50. Laciana's got the sit, bodied his man under it, dropped the mark, fell high, handball over top. Will it sit for Laciana? And Will, left foot step. Is a goal! It's game on, Ryan. 9-8-62, Surrey Park. Chirnside Park 9-11-65. What a handball from Renan Falahy. Apologies.
Boundary.
It's a funny thing, momentum. Boundary side to Josh Ward.
Oburu is down here on the boundary side, just looks like a bit of cramp, but it's starting to get a bit quiet over here on the Chirnside Park side. Surrey Park are really up and about here.
Don't speak too loudly, Josh. They're above you, mate. You're a sitting target down there. Don't get too excited. We carry on, Ryan. The momentum is always Surrey Park, but Renan Falahy, he's had about 9 or 10 touches, but he's done something nice with all of them. That was a great over-the-shoulder hand pass to Laciana. He's there. Billy McCormack, is he? Jimmy Wells got the clearance, got it back to Urquhart, slammed on the boot. Murphy's there, beats him, bounces all the way through to Hollingsworth, hit his shins. Murphy gathers, runs to about 55, pumps it long, high, but Dome's underneath it. It won't get to him. He'll come through. Can the mark be taken? Hits the Grec, and McLaren's going to sit on the umpire, says, give it to me. 25 metres out from Chirnside goal. They're 9-11-65. They lead Surrey Park 9-8-62. 22 minutes gone here in the final quarter. Puckering. Sorry, Ryan.
I'll be looking at Callum Garvin, if you're going to find a hero.
You reckon? You're liking Garvin. We're just naming blokes now. Urquhart, he got beaten by Molnar. Umpire said play on, though. Molnar claimed the mark. Chipped it down the line, out of bounds on the full. And Urquhart once again loves following up after some good efforts.
So, not to kick the goal, Garvin, but just to to set it up.
Just to get involved.
Yes.
To get involved, Ryan. Been an exciting day out here at Kimberley Reserve. It's been great service by the Chirnside Park Football Netball Club. They've provided us with snacks and drinks and a great game of football and some nice atmosphere. So the kick will come into play. Oh, Jet Carter is just off the side of the boot, straight into the hands of Hamish Burrell. Surrey Park only have one player on the bench, but they've got all the momentum. Burrell plays on, long ball, down the line. Russell does well, bodied his man out under it in Merritt, but the ball went out the back. Matt King came off the line and gathered. Valley stayed in the goal square, and King came off the line, handball to Carter. And he spills over line boundary throw, but Matt King once again, for a young player under the age of 20, 21, has been super impressive.
He's just the composure, just to be able to steady there, and obviously the handball didn't work out the way he probably wanted to, but just to be able to clear it out of defence was nice.
So thrown in once again. We've picked two close ones this year so far. Urquhart in the ruck, couldn't win it down. Merritt's there with him. Slap third by Urquhart. Kennedy's around it. He's been really impressive in this last quarter. Carter has kept trying all day. Great handball to Urquhart. Slapped it on the left boot. Peters is there. Ball beats him out the back. Coming back to help out is Haynes. He's got a man open in the middle in Hatch. Murphy's chasing, but Hatch does well to Kentworthy. He's got the journey from here. He winds up, chips it low, and sitting back in the hole is Slattery, and he's almost cramped as he's landed there. Could Kentworthy have just wound up and had a shot? 24 minutes gone. Or just about to be in this last quarter. Slattery out wide. Hatch has got the sit and the height. Kentworthy came back. Well done by Hollingsworth. Brought it to ground. Bowringer. Handball over the top to Hall. Under pressure from Hatch. Comes around. Little chipping ball. Looking for Puckering. And he finds him. Good kick. The ruckman. 24 minutes gone. 3 points the difference.
They did well there. Surrey Park had all the numbers.
How much time left, you reckon, Ryan? Give us a guess.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Long ball down the line. There has been a few goals this quarter. The ball's spilled out of bounds for a boundary thrown right in front of us.
He's still got plenty of time.
Not many have gone down that little hill, though, down into the grass patch. 2 minutes we hear from the canteen. And we're going to take that as gospel. Thrown in. Puckering down. Bowring has got a bit of time and space. He's under pressure, though, from Kennedy. Got the handball over the top. Garvin has to sit underneath it. Does well. Got his handball back to Gale. Handball over the top towards Smart. Good shepherd from Kentworthy. Pick up by Molnar. Kick into the shins of Urquhart. It'll sit up for Clevant. Can he pick it up? Does well. That was a throw. Umpire was blindsided. And go Jimmy Wells. Takes a bounce. Runs to 50. Off the side of the boot. McGee's already got 3. He takes the mark. The umpire's paid it. He missed the throw right in front of us. He was blindsided. And Jimmy Wells took a bounce, cramped as he kicked, and then found the man down there in Daniel McGee. He kicked 3 goals in the third term. And if he kicks this one, it'll be 4 for the game, and it'll ice it. It's been hard to kick goals at this end. A little bit of a hush over the crowd here, Bruce. No.
Well, we'll know if he's kicked it by the boys behind the goals.
Exactly right. Daniel McGee, 25 metres out directly in front to extend it to a 9-point lead. It's there.
It says it all.
Chirnside, get that steadier. There can't be long left. 25 and a half minutes gone here. 10-11-71 to the visitors. Surrey Park 9-8-62. I think that was the correct decision. That wasn't a push in the back. The one that was missed was the throw right in front of us, but the umpire was very much blindsided. So good on Charlton Clevant for quick thinking.
No, there's no way you could see that from an umpire point of view. So you're all good there. And they've been the better side, I think, today, Chirnside Park. They've had more opportunities up forward. They probably should have been up more at quarter time. And despite a late comeback from Surrey Park, they should be able to hold on here, which is pretty impressive. They'll be 2-0.
Never say never, though.
Well, I won't call
Don
it yet.
Bell, Ferntree Gully. It all happened in a minute. So we're up in the middle of the ground again. Turnison Puckering, been really impressive without his leader out there with him. Burrell, he's been good for Surrey Park too. Kennedy's going to claim the mark. Umpire has paid it. So Kennedy's about 65-70 from home. There's a lead from Merritt. He just pops it over the top of him. Fallahai loves a fly, and he does that. Can he bring it down? Slattery Robes. He's recovered from that cramp. Got the handball over the top to Callum Harper. Got a bit of space down the line towards Puckering. Well done by McLaren. Got it over the line for a boundary throw in. Centre wing. Chirnside by 9 points. There'll be about, a minute left, if that.
That's been the highlight for me. They're on the half-back line, Chirnside Park. They've had so many people there, and then Wells is one of them that just have stood up all afternoon.
Bert's been quiet because he was a wrap for the Nina and Pasadena Player of the Day, and he's been a bit quiet in this last quarter, so we might have to have a little bit of a think. What have we got? We're under a minute now. I reckon Chirnside are home here. 9 points the difference. Turner spin the hit out, and then slap forward by Puckering. He's been mightily impressive, the young ruckman. McLaren just knocks McConnell over the line, boundary thrown. So Chirnside look like they're going to go 2-0 and be clear on top of the ladder, Ryan.
And if Stevens is out for a while, isn't that
what a great recruitment of Puckering.
Puckering,
It's
absolutely.
just-
So Harper's following it. Parker Fox, handball over the top. Smart slapped it forward. Burrell should win the race, but the boundary line might beat them all. And it does eventually. So if Chirnside go 2-0, they'll be clear on top of the ladder. For the first time in donkey's years, they'll have done that. It looks like Kilsyth might have upset Forest Hill. And then the Nuttawading Croydon North game is goal for goal at the moment. So thrown in, that'll be just up the road too. We can almost hear the screams. Coming off the line there was Kennedy, got it off. Kentworthy slapped it inside forward 50. Is there still a twist in the tail? Parker Fox didn't grab it out of the air. Tom Smith tried to as well. It's pinballing around. Little kick around the corner there from Jimmy Wells. And it's marked by King. Why did he play on? Umpire said touch. Kicks it out to centre wing. Badome's there. Gets his hands to it and marks it. That has to be it, Daniel Badome. Siren must be imminent. Take your time, Daniel. Pops it over the top. That's his shortest kick of his career. And the mark's taken by Callum Harper right in front of the faithful there in the Panther Super Box. And there's a siren! Surrey Park came late, but in the end, Chirnside too good. 10-11-71, defeating Surrey Park 9-8-62 to go 2-0 for the first time in a long time. The goal kickers, Daniel McGee kicked 4, all in the second half, including the sealer just before. Samuel King kicked 3, including a nice little left foot bender in that last quarter. Daniel Badome with 2 from about 5 touches, and Aaron Puckering kicked 1, the big ruckman, off 1 step late in the third quarter. Drinks on ice down here at Kimberley Reserve. We'll get to that in a second. The goals for Surrey Park. 2 to Molnar, including 1 in the last quarter. 2 to Renan Fallahy, and he was impressive despite having limited touches. Mitchell Gale singles, Hamish Burrell, Harry Laciana, and Robert Merritt. Josh Ward's going to try and get us an interview with one of the players from Chirnside Park while he's down there. He'll let us know. Ryan, before Josh grabs someone, and a really high-quality game of football outside of probably that first, 5 minutes?
EFL Saturday.
Yeah, the second half was much better footy from both sides. I think once the game started to open up, that second quarter, it just could not get out of that pocket, and from that pocket to the wing on the far side of the oval, just couldn't get it out there. And I think Chirnside Park were happy to leave it there. And then as soon as the game opened up, I've just loved a few of the names of Chirnside Park on the halfback. King's one of them. I thought Wells stood up in the second half. Urquhart was really good in that third quarter when Surrey Park had a few opportunities to go forward inside 50. So, look, I think the better side won on the day. Surrey Park were okay, and I guess with the injuries, the 3 on the bench, that hurts. But I think it's a good time to be at Chirnside Park right now. You've knocked off Forest Hill, Surrey Park, 2 sides you couldn't beat last year, and now it's
and 2 sides that were expected to make the finals too. It's not like they're 2-0 having beaten Croydon North and Nuttawading. They're 2-0 and they've only got 4 sides to come, or 3 sides to come that they're expected to beat, and well. So.
And they do have players to come back in. So a lot of their recruits over the off-season, a lot of them aren't out here right now. So when you add that to the list as well.
Well, Josh Clevant's watching at home. Obviously, you've got Austin Sutherland out with an injury. Yep. So there's players watching. And for Surrey Park, one thing you've got to be impressed with was their fight. If they'd won that game, that would have been probably the win that they build their momentum in their season off. To have only 1 on the bench with, 9 players out already, and to kick, 5 goals in the last quarter or 4 goals in the last quarter. Just momentum. Hamish Burrell was super impressive as well. He was his intensity after quarter time. He had a lot of the footy. Tom Smith was good on the wing. I was really impressed by him. And Tempany, giving away about 30 kilos and half a metre, did incredibly well.
And they did. And I think that's probably the tough thing when you've got someone like Badome who's just such a big figure up forward. How do you sort of solve that? And I think their options were, they wanted to put as many numbers as they could and just not let him mark the ball, which is what they did. But in a couple of times that they did that, it left them vulnerable at the ground. And that's when Chirnside Park were able to score.
So it looks like Josh Ward is going to have Aaron Burt in just about a second. We'll throw down to Josh as soon as he gets the headset on. There's a bit of, he's just got the hands full here, Joshy Ward. He's going to talk to Aaron Burt, who was spectacular today.
Impressive first
wasn't he, Ryan?
Really,
he's getting a lot of love from the Chirnside Park faithful. He was really impressive today, Aaron Burt. Was impressive off the half-back line when Chirnside were defending against the wind, and when they had the wind, he went into the centre and provided penetration with by foot, and also just with his bullocking work. Incredibly hard to tackle. So we're looking forward to having a chat to him. Grattan Stevens is hobbling, which is not good news, but we're going to go boundary side. Josh Ward with Aaron Burt.
Aaron, what a win for you guys. How happy are you to get the win against Surrey Park?
Oh, ecstatic, mate. I've been through all the tough times, and being in this squad, we got the real belief that this is a year, and this is just a proving point to everyone.
You came back into the side today as well, your first game of 2022. What do you make of your own performance?
Look, I felt like I started well, faded out a bit, but the third quarter I think I really put my stamp on the game and sort of got it back on our terms.
Were there any other players in particular from Chirnside that impressed you?
Look, I'm going to name individuals. We're a team here. We do everything as a team. That's it, plain and simple.
Fellas, I'll hand it over to you.
Aaron, incredible game today, mate. Your role sort of changed each quarter, didn't it? Every time you guys were defending against the wing, you sat a bit further behind the ball and made sure that Surrey Park couldn't really get a run on. And then I was really impressed with your ability to just break tackles all day as well. You must be the hardest bloke to tackle at training.
Nah, the funniest thing is I'm the easiest bloke to tackle at training. Nah, look, yeah, I'm a natural backman. Nuggets tried me in the midfield today. A few injuries and he sort of put me in there as a bit of a go. So, and look, it's all worked out. We got the win on the board. That's the main thing.
Aaron, I thought you were challenged a lot by Surrey Park at certain times of the game, and especially that half-back line really held up strong. You and a lot of the others, like Urquhart, especially in the third quarter as well. How proud are you of you and your backmen down there that just to be able to hold up under the pressure, because they came hard?
Look, to be honest, through all the rough times, our back six was always the strongest. Now, our 22 is the strongest. There's no... We pride ourselves on our defensive pressure, and I think we really bought it today, especially when the heat was on. We never sort of threw our heads back, threw our heads down, and we just kept fighting and getting the game back on our terms when it needed to be.
Well, Aaron, you and Chirnside definitely put on a show, mate, for the Medi team in the Eastern Football Netball League. Congratulations on the win, and enjoy whatever comes tonight.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
Aaron Burt there from Chirnside Park, and when Josh puts heads on, Josh, stay on the line, mate, if you can, because we've got to wrap up in a little bit. While you're wandering over, let's do our 3-2-1s for the Nina and Pasadena Player of the Day. Of course, that Nina and Pasadena is at Eastland, our major sponsor. Ryan, I'll start with you. Your 3-2-1.
I'll give one to Parkering for his second half after Stevens went down. I thought he really stood up, so I'll give him one. Daniel McGee in that second half, that third quarter, he was just dominant on. Was able to, one of the players that was actually able to find a bit of space, was able to crumb underneath Bedome and be able to hit the scoreboard. And in a tight tussle at that stage, he was one that was able to break through and get them a bit of a lead. And I will go with Aaron Burt as the best on, mainly for his first half performance and in that third quarter. Maybe a bit quieter in the last quarter, but when the game was there to be won, he stood up.
Joshy Ward, give it to us, mate.
All right, so for my one vote, I'm going to go with Hamish Bowl from Surrey Park. I was really impressed with his work through midfield. Number two was Daniel McGee. I was really impressed with those four crucial goals. The last one of the game, which sealed the game for Chirnside Park. I thought he played really well, and yeah, my 3 votes, Aaron Burr. He was just everywhere today, and I thought he performed superbly. So yeah, those are my 3-2-1s.
I think it was such a consistent effort from Chirnside across the board that actually 2 of my votes go to Surrey Park players. So 1 vote goes to Lachlan Peters across half back. I think he stood up early when they were under pressure, and then in the second half he provided some run and dash off half back. So he was really impressive. 2 votes I'm going to give to Hamish Burrell. I don't think he touched it in the first quarter, but after that he was dominant, kicked a goal, had plenty of clearances, and when they only had 1 on the bench, that's a pretty impressive effort from a bloke who I don't think would have done a big pre-season playing Premier cricket with Camberwell. But 3 votes, Aaron Burt. It just shows that his quality early on was so good, and then after half time it was a team effort from Chirnside Park. So really impressed by both these Panther outfits. But now Chirnside Park are they're 2-0, Ryan. And as we've mentioned, if we think Kilsyth have won against Forest Hill, or definitely close if you're checking up on that one. And then you've also got the fact that Sylvan had the break, so they'll be top of the ladder, Chirnside Park. And for a club that, and yes, I know it's only round 2, but for a club that didn't win a game for 2 years, and then didn't play footy for obviously another year, so they went 3 years without a win, and now to be 2-0, the place is a bit of a buzz. That building, if that gets completed in the next 6 months or a year, it'll be a massive time for them.
It's a belief, I think, and that's been a key thing that Dave Newlands has been talking about over the off-season. Last year was sort of the building year. They just had to break the drought and start getting some wins on the board just to get some confidence in, and now they've spent another year together. I mean, this is the year that they can make something happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Right now, yeah.
Goal of the day, who are we giving it to? I think it has to go to Sam King, and we could pick... I think it's the left foot banana.
Yeah, King, and then
maybe Daniel McGee.
Shout out to
Parkering. Actually, Parkering might be a chance as well. We're going to have to talk about that.
I reckon you go King, and that pretty much was the one.
Yeah, right in front of the crowd too. Got the crowd up about. Although Aaron Parkering, he seemed a bit of a crowd favourite. 4 workers again, Eastland, workmen of the day, who just put their head down and work hard from go to woe and didn't stop working the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a hard one, isn't it? There's a number of Surrey Park players that did that. Obviously, Ben Slattery was impressive all day. I like the work of Jimmy Wells across halfback. He was impressive. Aaron Puckering was another one in the ruck. Plenty of ones. Have you any names that jump off the list?
I would have said Wells or Puckering. I think Puckering, just with Stevens going down in that second half, if they didn't have him there, that could have been an opportunity for Surrey Park to expose them there. So
Trent Russell was good. Matthew King as well.
I could give it to anyone in there.
Any one of those. Josh, workman of the day. What have you got for us?
To be honest, now he had to work hard.
When it was down in his area, he had to work hard a little bit, and that's my boy Jackie McLaren. He's an old friend of mine, and I thought he worked.
You can't let people know you're being biased, Josh.
Well,
he was good.
You can't come out and say that he's your friend.
I like being biased. Thank you very much. Especially, I thought he worked hard.
Kept him in there early.
Did keep them in there early. So.
All right. Well, gentlemen. It's been a small crew today, but it's been an impressive game of footy and an impressive call. Josh Ward, thank you for your work on the boundary today, but you got the best of the conditions compared to Ryan last week. But thanks for the pre-game as well. Ryan, well done in special and hosting pre-game, mate. Spectacular once again. Hopefully for your sake, the Dogs only win by 5 or 6 goals tonight against the Tigers.
Putting money on it.
Bruce, again. Beautiful work. Even joined the call for a little period there. A rare foray into on-air work from Brucey. Fabulous work again. And he's already packing up because he's got a